At the beginning of the story, Fiance, who was about to give birth, was facing the darkest moment of her life. Jingying, the man she loved deeply, showed up at the delivery room with Xiaoqie. A love letter found in Moza's possession became evidence of her adultery with another man. To protect her innocent unborn child, she desperately pleaded with them. But the vicious concubine, feigning a headache, demanded the lives of both mother and child. The once loving memories didn't earn her even a bit of sympathy from the man. Instead, he was about to push her into an abyss of no return. Before losing consciousness, she made a vicious curse. The unjustly deceased soul would return to seek revenge on them. With a clap of thunder, Fiance ended her short and tragic life. When she woke up again, she found herself lying in a familiar bed. Everything around her was so familiar. Fiance looked at her own slender arms in disbelief. Could it be that the heavens had shown mercy and allowed her to return to a time before everything began? Past events flashed before her eyes. Her family's feud, the betrayal of her beloved. This time, she would repay them bit by bit. Fiance didn't have time to think too much. She quickly got dressed and went to check on her mother. At this moment, a figure flashed past the window. A masked man clenched his fists. "Siyue, I failed you last time. Since the heavens have given me, Feng Yanzeng, a chance to start over, this time, I will protect you." The cold moonlight spilled onto the paths of Chengxiang Manor, making Fiance's memories of her mother clearer. Back then, her mother was the esteemed granddaughter of Ranguigong, holding an unshakable position as the mistress of Chengxiang Manor. But ever since her father's concubine, Xiao Inyang, arrived, her mother had lost control of the household, and she had become estranged from her mother since then, rarely visiting her. Later, her mother fell ill from grief. Just as Fiance was reminiscing, a maidservant with golden hair ornaments blocked her path. She seemed surprised by her arrival, but Fiance, eager to see her mother, ignored her obstruction and pushed her aside. When she saw the pale and thin woman lying in bed, Fiance's eyes welled up. It was hard for her to imagine that this frail woman was her beloved mother. The nanny told her that her mother, in order to save her from the nightmare of her marriage, had secretly gone to Tanglong Manor and begged Ranguigong for the emperor's bestowed 1,000-year ginseng. After returning, she fell gravely ill. Hearing this, Fiance couldn't hold back her emotions any longer. She threw herself into her mother's arms, tears streaming down her face. At this moment, the maidservant from before walked in, holding a bowl of freshly brewed medicinal soup. Just as she was about to hand the soup to Fiance's mother with trembling hands, Fiance snatched it away. Beads of cold sweat trickled down the maidservant's face. This subtle detail was caught by Fiance. She thought that her mother's death in her previous life was definitely not as simple as it seemed. To verify her suspicion, she pretended to discipline the servant and knocked the bowl of medicine to the floor. Although her mother was puzzled by her actions, she didn't say much, until Fiance repeated the method from her previous life and washed the medicinal residue. Everyone realized something was wrong. In the medicine prescribed by Lu Daifu for Nanny Ju, there was unexpectedly an added ingredient. Jingying Hua and Yu Yang were inherently conflicting herbs. This was the reason why her mother's condition hadn't improved but worsened instead. Just as everyone was wondering who wanted to harm her mother, Fiance already had an answer in her mind. If she guessed correctly, that woman was likely the mastermind behind it all. And what was her motive? It was hard to imagine. This was a competition between two scheming individuals. The daughter, in order to become empress, falsely accused and harmed her elder sister, Lian Peng, on the day of her wedding, leading to her tragic death. And her mother, in order to secure her position as the mistress, bribed the maidservant, Ya Huan, to poison her benefactor. Just now, Fiance, to confirm her suspicions, brought her mother and Nanny Ju to the kitchen and caught Ya Huan red-handed poisoning the medicine. But guilt makes people stubborn. Faced with Fiance's questioning, she still refused to confess, insisting that she acted alone. At this time, Fiance ordered Nanny Ju to bring a cage containing a rat that had been starved for 10 days. If she still refused to tell the truth, she would put her fingers in the cage to feed the rat, and the crime of poisoning the mistress would be solely hers to bear. Finally, under Fiance's pressure, Ya Huan's psychological defenses completely crumbled. She confessed everything. Xiao Inyang, Chengxiang Manor's concubine, had always coveted the position of mistress. She bribed Ya Huan to poison the soup, hoping to murder Madame Chengxiang unnoticed. Xiao Inyang was originally a servant girl. Years ago, because Fiance's mother pitied her, she took her in and later treated her like a younger sister. Unexpectedly, today, she committed such an ungrateful act. It was truly heartbreaking. Lian Siyue couldn't bear to see her mother so heartbroken and comforted her, saying that she would handle everything. The debts owed by their mother and daughter would be repaid bit by bit. At this moment, Nanny Ju suddenly reported that Xiao Inyang was coming to pay her respects with gifts. Lian Siyue calmed her mother's agitated emotions, and instructed Nanny Ju not to spread the news about the poison soup. Then she went to the front hall alone. She couldn't wait to meet this vicious woman. Xiao Inyang didn't know that the Lian Siyue she was meeting now was no longer the timid girl from before. Although she didn't know how Lian Siyue appeared there, she still greeted her with a fawning smile. Just as she was about to enter with the so-called gifts, Lian Siyue stopped her. The aura emanating from a 14-year-old girl truly startled Xiao Inyang. Although she gritted her teeth in hatred, she couldn't take another step inside. But Xiao Inyang was not one to give up easily. Failing to achieve her goal this time, she would definitely come up with other poisonous schemes in the future. To prevent her mother from being harmed again, Lian Siyue quickly whispered a few words to Nanny Ju, and left after bidding farewell to her mother. On her way back, Qingxiang Manor's second miss, Lian Nianxin, had been waiting for her for a long time. She said she wanted to give her a gift, but how could Lian Siyue not know that Lian Nianxin was the one who pushed her into the pond a few days ago, ruining her marriage? So she played along and took the gift box. Upon opening it, it turned out to be a venomous snake. Lian Nianxin thought her wicked scheme had succeeded, but Lian Siyue simply played with the snake, and even dangled it in front of Lian Nianxin's face, scaring her witless. At this moment, this dramatic scene was witnessed by Lian Xia, who was approaching from afar. Who dares to cause trouble at old madam's doorstep? It turns out to be my dear sisters. Lian Xia's nonchalant voice interrupted Lian Siyue's playful act. The faces of those who had harmed her in her previous life flashed through her mind. Lian Xia, you've come at the right time. Although she cursed Lian Nianxin's stupidity in her heart, when she saw Lian Xia, she still put on a fawning smile. How could Lian Siyue forget this familiar voice? In her past life, it was Lian Xia, this two-faced woman, who had driven her to a dead end. Since they met again in this life, she couldn't blame her for being ruthless. Lian Siyue harbored immense hatred for her in her heart, but she turned around and greeted her innocently. Third sister, look, this is a gift second sister gave me. It's so cute. Without waiting for Lian Xia's reply, she lunged towards Lian Xia with the snake. By the time Lian Xia reacted, Lian Siyue had tripped over a stone. They both fell to the ground. But what Lian Xia didn't know was that Lian Siyue had taken the opportunity to secretly stuff the snake into her clothes. Watching her panicked reaction, Lian Siyue felt immensely satisfied. While everyone was busy catching the snake, Ye Huan's action caught Lian Siyue's attention. Could it be that the people around her had also been bought? Lian Siyue didn't have time to verify her suspicion and quickly ordered Qing Dai to take the snake catcher away. She whispered a few words to Ye Huan and let her leave discreetly. Lian Nianxin was unconvinced and threatened to report her to their grandmother. Lian Xia worried that the matter would escalate. If it was discovered that she was behind the snake incident, it wouldn't end well. So she quickly calmed Lian Nianxin down, but Lian Nianxin was stubborn. Instead of backing down, she pointed at Lian Siyue and cursed, calling her a slut and saying she should have drowned in the pond that day. The current humiliation, coupled with the previous attempted murder, made Lian Xia lose control of her emotions. She slapped Lian Nianxin across the face. This shocked everyone. In Qingxiang Manor, everyone knew the eldest miss was timid and gentle. They never expected her to show such a strong side today. Before Lian Nianxin could react, Lian Siyue said to her sternly, "You vicious woman. You deliberately brought a venomous snake today, clearly intending to harm me and third sister. Let's see who will be scared later in front of grandmother." With that, she pulled Lian Xia's hand and headed towards their grandmother's place to seek justice. Just now, Lian Nianxin had deliberately used the snake to harm Lian Siyue. Unexpectedly, her plan was foiled by Lian Xia. In the struggle, Lian Siyue slapped her hard. Lian Nianxin, who was used to being pampered, couldn't stand this humiliation. In a fit of rage, she ran to her grandmother's room to complain first. She exaggerated and falsely accused Lian Siyue of releasing a venomous snake to harm her. At this time, Lian Nianxin's mother also rushed over and hugged her precious daughter, comforting her. Usually, you just endure a little grievance. Why bother going to complain and embarrassing yourself? Watching the mother-daughter duo's dramatic performance, Lian Siyue wanted to speak, but decided against it. Life is unpredictable. She had thought the esteemed old madam would clarify the matter, but unexpectedly, she scolded Lian Siyue without distinguishing right from wrong. This scene was witnessed by Lian Yanqing, who came to pay his respects. Lian Siyue couldn't remember how long it had been since she last saw this so-called father. In her previous life, to protect Xiao Yinyang's daughter, he had personally pushed her into a desperate situation. Since he never treated her as his daughter back then, she wouldn't seek his forgiveness now. Faced with Lian Yanqing's questioning, Lian Siyue readily admitted that she had slapped Lian Yanqing, but that slap was well-deserved. She bullied third sister. It's only right for me to teach her a lesson. Lian Siyue's voice was firm. Xiao Yinyang and her daughter, who were initially gloating, instantly changed their expressions. Old Madam also looked surprised and asked her to explain what happened. Lian Siyue calmly explained that she was about to return to her room, when second sister suddenly threw a venomous snake at third sister. If she hadn't intervened in time, third sister's life would have been in danger. Upon hearing this, Old Madam was shocked, and was about to punish Lian Yanqing. Xiao Yinyang defended her daughter, claiming it was just a fake snake. Anyway, there was no evidence now. Even if Lian Siyue insisted, it was useless. However, Lian Siyue had anticipated their denial, and had secretly instructed Qing Dai to save the snake. Now, the evidence was irrefutable. Lian Yanqing still insisted that Lian Siyue had deliberately brought the snake to frame her. But this Yun Quan snake was a species unique to the south. It wouldn't make sense to go to such lengths to frame someone. Seeing her lie exposed, Lian Yanqing flew into a rage, and pointed at Lian Siyue, yelling, "You bitch! You're just holding a grudge against me for pushing you into the pond. What about my brother, that bastard who drowned my brother? What are you going to do about that?" Hearing this, Lian Yanqing, who had been silent for a long time, finally lost his temper. He slammed the table, sending the dishes flying. This matter had always been a sore spot for him. He wouldn't allow anyone to mention it. Lian Niangxin's words had obviously touched a nerve. In his fury, he ordered Lian Yanqing to be confined to her room, and not allowed to leave without his permission. Xiao Yinyang naturally knew why he was angry. Lian Yanqing was most afraid of being accused of mismanaging his household, so she quickly stopped Lian Yanqing, who was about to retort, and whispered to her, "Endure this for now. Revenge is a dish best served cold. One day, we'll make Lian Siyue pay for what happened to Qin Yu." With that, she quickly took Lian Yanqing away. Lian Siyue, however, noticed something odd in her father's expression. He didn't seem afraid of being accused. It was more like he was covering something up. Could it be that there was more to the incident? Years ago, thinking of this, Lian Siyue bid farewell to Old Madam, and decided to investigate. On her way back, Lian Siyue ran into Uncle Lian Ju. She immediately told him about the doubts she had about the incident years ago. Lian Siyue suspected that Lian Rendang's drowning wasn't so simple. The two young masters of the Lian family fell into the water, but there were no witnesses. The only witness was Lian Xia. Was this a coincidence or a deliberate act? Just as Lian Siyue was lost in thought, she vaguely heard servants gossiping that the Su family was coming to visit Old Madam. Su Rong, the young master of the Su family, was not a decent person. It was best to avoid him. Su Rong, what a familiar name. In her previous life, it was he who ruined her reputation and subjected her to endless humiliation. This time, she would return all the humiliation she suffered. Meanwhile, Lian Xia told her mother, Xiao Shi, about what happened. She didn't expect her carefully planned scheme to be foiled by Lian Siyue. Seeing Lian Xia's frustrated expression, an idea sparked in her mind. A vicious plan began to form. She asked a servant to bring her a brush, and quickly wrote a letter. She instructed the servant to deliver the letter to Yun Yinyang of the Su family. Although Lian Xia didn't understand what her mother was doing, she could tell from her eyes that Lian Siyue was about to face another disaster. A few days later, Su Quan brought Su Rong and Yun Yinyang to Chengxiang Manor to visit Old Madam. After exchanging pleasantries, Xiao Shi approached Yun Yinyang and started a conversation. Through their subtle exchange, Yun Yinyang quickly understood Xiao Shi's intentions, so she found an excuse to lead Su Rong outside. As expected, Su Rong was a notorious playboy, his eyes fixated on Ye Huan. Coincidentally, Lian Siyu's stunning beauty also caught Su Rong's eye. Without thinking, he rushed towards her, and grabbed Lian Siyu's hand. Although he greeted Lian Siyue politely, he was already harboring indecent thoughts. But this was exactly what Lian Siyue wanted. Insulting the daughter of Chengxiang Manor would give her the perfect opportunity for revenge. Before Su Rong could finish speaking, Lian Siyue slapped him across the face. Su Rong, startled, was about to question her, when Lian Siyue cut him off. "I am the esteemed daughter of Chengxiang Manor. How dare you act so presumptuously? If you don't leave immediately, I will make you impotent. Su Rong didn't expect to encounter such resistance. Angered, he stormed back to his room. Xiangdang told Yan Yinyang about the knowledge and skills happening in the garden. Who knew that Yan Yinyang, instead of showing any gratitude, even wanted her to go out and create a scene. She wanted to help him bring Lian Siyue into the Su residence so that today's humiliation could be easily avenged. Listening to Yan Yinyang's plan, a sinister smile appeared on Su Rong's face. A moment later, Yan Yinyang called Jiang Xiang to discuss the strategy. Tomorrow at noon, she would instruct someone to drug Lian Siyue's food. When the effects kick in, they would lead everyone to the rockery in the garden. At that time, she would ruin Lian Siyue's reputation. Lian Siyue wasn't an easy woman to deal with. Who could administer the drug without arousing her suspicion? Jiang Xiang spoke up. A person slowly walked out from behind the screen. It was Lian Siyue's personal maid, Jiang Xiang. This woman was lying disheveled by the rockery, and waiting for her was a man with a wicked smile. Just now, Lian Siyue suddenly heard footsteps. Looking up, she saw Jiang Xiang carrying a bowl of soup and walking towards her. She remembered that on this day in her past life, it was Su Rong who ruined her reputation. It seemed that a good show was destined to unfold today. Lian Siyue knew about Jiang Xiang's cruel methods. Lian Siyue hatched a new plan. She could use this opportunity to expose the truly despicable people, and let that mother and daughter pair suffer. So she had Jiang Xiang switch the drug intended for her with Yan Yinyang's, and have Yan Yinyang take her place at the rockery, waiting for today's main character to arrive. A moment later, Su Rong indeed arrived. He muttered to himself, while tearing open Yan Yinyang's clothes. But to his surprise, the person was not Lian Siyue, but his stepmother. Just as he cried out in shock, unexpectedly, a masked man dressed in dark robes, tall and imposing, arrived. Before Su Rong could say anything, he started hitting Yan Yinyang, and this scene happened to be witnessed by Lian Siyue, who had just arrived. He left a single sentence. I'm here to help you. We will meet again if fate allows. The bewildered Lian Siyue stood rooted to the spot, lost in thought. Carefully recalling the events of her past life, she didn't seem to remember this man, but she felt an inexplicable familiarity with him. What was going on? Before she could think further, the voices of Yang Yanqing and Xiao Yinyang were already approaching. Lian Siyue had barely left when a large group of people barged in. Lian Xie didn't miss the opportunity to add fuel to the fire, slandering Lian Siyue, saying that she must have been overwhelmed by lust to do such a shameful thing. This further enraged Lian Yanqing. He ordered them to beat this shameless woman to death. Just then, Lian Siyue suddenly appeared. She walked to her father's side and innocently asked who he was going to beat to death. Her wide, innocent eyes stared at Lian Yanqing, making him suddenly feel guilty. After all, she was his daughter, and he had just thought the person inside was her and wanted her dead. This made Lian Yanqing feel rather awkward. On the other side, Xiao Yinyang, seeing Lian Siyue still standing there safe and sound, knew things had gone wrong. She hurried over and rolled over the woman lying beside Su Rong. To everyone's astonishment, it was Yan Yinyang. Everyone gasped in surprise. At this moment, Yan Yinyang slowly woke up. Seeing herself disheveled, she tried to cover herself with her clothes, but it was too late. The moment Su Quan saw Yan Yinyang, his eyes were filled with rage. What could be more infuriating than having outsiders see his woman lying with his son, especially in public? Where would he put his face? Su Quan strode over and slapped Su Rong hard. He even wanted to divorce Yan Yinyang on the spot. Yan Yinyang naturally refused to admit it and insisted that Lian Siyue had drugged her. But Lian Siyue had anticipated this. She calmly walked to the center. I don't even know Yan Yinyang. Why would I harm her? The surrounding people began to murmur. This was clearly a scandal within the Su family, yet they were trying to drag the Chengsheng residents into it. Master Su had become a laughingstock. Furious, he ordered the mother and son to get out of the Su residence immediately. Siyue stepped forward and said, this matter may not be so simple. She wanted Master Su to investigate this thoroughly. Then Xiao Yinyang would definitely be exposed. So Su Rong immediately said that the Su family's matters should be resolved internally. But Siyue wouldn't let this opportunity slip. She beckoned, and Jiang Xiang emerged from the crowd. She also produced a letter written in Yan Yinyang's handwriting. It detailed the plan to drug Lian Siyue and let Su Rong ruin her innocence. Cheng Xiang looked at the letter and, enraged, threw everything at Xiao Yinyang. It was indeed her. He hadn't expected this woman to be so vicious. The reputation she had painstakingly built in the Chengsheng residence over the years was ruined. But she refused to admit defeat. The woman cried hysterically, insisting that Siyue had framed her. Cheng Xiang was already prejudiced against his eldest daughter. He immediately told Siyue to drop it, not wanting the matter to escalate. Siyu's face darkened. Her father truly wouldn't speak up for her. Suddenly, Siyu's mother appeared in the garden. Her complexion was rosy, and she possessed an elegant demeanor. Her noble aura made the crowd gasp. Xiao Yinyang was shocked to see this woman. She hadn't expected this sickly woman to be able to come out. The madam nodded slightly to Cheng Xiang. Master, if my father knew that his granddaughter was being bullied like this and the matter was left unresolved, he would be very angry. The madam came from the wrong Wangfu. Even Cheng Xiang had to show her respect. Cheng Xiang's expression changed instantly. He turned and slapped Xiao Yinyang to the ground. Siyue seized the opportunity. This time, Xiao Yinyang almost ruined the Chengsheng residence's reputation. She deserves 20 lashes across the buttocks. Without the beating, she won't learn her lesson. A light beating will only break the skin. A heavy one could cause internal injuries. Seeing the madam's expression, Cheng Xiang could only nod. Fine. The formidable and cold prince had transformed into a skilled fighter. This pairing is truly delightful. Seeing someone trying to bully his future wife, Feng Yunzeng righteously grabbed Xiao Yinyang. The woman was furious. She hadn't expected the ninth prince to protect this wretch. She was about to retaliate when Siyue slapped her with a diagnosis. Third miss is suffering from hysteria. Quickly confine her and treat her illness. Feng Yunzeng nodded with approval and ordered his guards to escort Xiao Yinyang to the ancestral hall. He took Lian Xia to his own courtyard and forbade them from seeing each other, preventing further harm. Lian Xia stared at him hatefully. You set me up. Siyue understood the situation clearly. Xia was afraid it had something to do with Feng Yunzeng, so she invited the ninth prince to the Guanyue pavilion for tea. Inside the Guanyue pavilion, they were alone. Feng Yunzeng admitted directly that he had set Xia up. He could only target Xiao Yinyang. Cheng Xiang, now concerned about the family's reputation, would definitely not favor Siyue anymore. He was truly concerned for her. Xia was truly a skilled actress. Was her fate also orchestrated by her? Feng Yunzeng gently stroked Siyu's hair. No matter what Siyu's fate is, I will ensure her well-being. The atmosphere between them was warming up, when a piercing scream interrupted them. Lian Xia, with bloodshot eyes, stood at the entrance. She rushed forward and tugged at Feng Yunzeng's clothes. I have no grievances with the ninth prince. Why are you harming me for no reason? Feng Yunzeng coldly pushed her away. Anyone who was Siyu's enemy was his enemy. Hearing this, the usually self-satisfied Lian Xia completely broke down. She was clearly the most beautiful woman in the world, so why did the princes all like that wretch? Feng Yunzeng found her words unbearable, and ordered his subordinate, Yefeng, to teach her a lesson. Lian Xia panicked. I'm the third miss of the Chengsheng residence. How dare you hit me? I'm hitting you precisely because you're the third miss saying that. He began to slap her. Cheng Xiang rushed over to apologize to the prince, and was about to take the third miss back to her courtyard, when he saw Lian Xia's swollen face. Even Lian Xia's maid was startled. Siyue covered her mouth dramatically. It seems third sister's hysteria is even more severe. She must be strictly monitored. Lian Xia yelled as she was dragged away. Being with a useless ninth prince, you are the shame of the Chengsheng residence. Feng Yunzeng snorted. As expected, that woman was simply not worth mentioning. With the matter settled, he bid farewell to Siyue, hoping to see her again at the autumn hunting festival. The man raised his hand, wanting to wipe away Siyu's tears. He seemed as cold and distant as a Qianshan snow lotus. Just as Feng Yunzheng's hand was about to touch Siyu's face, she quickly dodged, intercepting his hand and letting it hang in the air. The man felt a little displeased. It was clearly this woman who cried first. Siyue bowed to him and walked past him, down the stone bridge. Watching her slender back, a flicker of interest arose in the man's heart. So, the eldest daughter of the Chengsheng residence was not as bland and tasteless as rumored. If he could make her his own, his dull life would become much more interesting. Finally snapping out of it, Siyue breathed a sigh of relief, finally suppressing the palpitations in her heart. She would make them pay the price, step by step. Elsewhere in the Guanyue pavilion, Xiao Yinyang found a male servant, nicknamed Shuang Laoban. Ostensibly, she was inquiring about the old madam's health. Her true purpose was to slip him a letter for the male performer, inviting him to meet at the Guanyue pavilion after the banquet. Seeing Xiao Yinyang being so secretive, Jiang Xiang hurried to inform Siyue. A sinister smile appeared on Lian Xia's lips. With such a foolproof plan, she'd like to see how Lian Siyue could escape this. But before that, She needed to show off her dancing skills at the banquet, and win the recognition of the guests, and the old madam for her virtuous and gentle demeanor. That would truly be a wonderful thing. Having both beauty and talent, even the old madam was fond of this gentle and elegant young lady. The guests also felt that the third miss was truly outstanding. At that moment, the servant loudly announced the arrival of the eldest miss. A series of clear zither sounds drifted in. Siue, dressed in a light-colored gown, entered. Her aura was cold and noble, but her smile was warm and gentle. The jade pendant on her waist chimed melodiously. The rarely seen eldest miss of the Chengsheng residence was indeed a beauty. Seeing her limelight being completely stolen, Lian Xia was extremely jealous. But what was even more surprising was the painting Siue had personally made as a gift. The long scroll depicted 1,000 cranes, stunning the onlookers. The old madam was overjoyed. "My dear granddaughter, your filial piety is commendable." Beaming, she had Siue sit beside her. Lian Xia tightly gripped her daughter's hand, telling her to endure, to not cause a scene. Just as Siue took her seat, several princes entered the pavilion. Siue bowed along with the others, inadvertently recalling Feng Qianyu from her past life. He had offended almost all the princes, yet he was still the esteemed Qin Wang in everyone's eyes. Suddenly, a pair of blood-red eyes stopped before her. "What's your name?" The useless eldest daughter of the Chengsheng residence had actually caught the attention of the 8th prince. The man even leaned closer to whisper in her ear, "I remember your kindness in saving me from the assassins last time." Seeing Siue interacting so easily with the princes, Lian Xia was so jealous she could gnash her teeth. At that moment, the male performer began his act. The performer stared at the eldest miss below, his mind filled with lewd thoughts. Siue noticed the man's ill intentions. Just then, wine was served. She swapped her glass with his, thinking, "Let's see what you're up to." Halfway through the performance, someone started causing a scene upstairs, claiming that Lian Zhu was drunk and making trouble in the Guanyue pavilion. Taking advantage of the commotion, Siue slipped out. Feeling dizzy, she held onto the corridor railing. A young servant suddenly appeared and told her that Lian Zhu was causing trouble in the Guanyue pavilion. She immediately had Jiang Xiang take her to find her sister. As she turned around, a sinister smile appeared on Lian Xia's lips. There was no sign of Lian Zhu in the Guanyue pavilion. Jiang Xiang led Siue to a secluded courtyard and left her there. Just as she was about to give chase, she saw the performer standing behind her. Shuang Laoban looked lecherous as he reached for her. Before Siue could react, the masked man appeared again. With a flick of his wrist, Shuang Laoban went flying. He then handed a secret letter from the performer to Siue. Looking closely, Siu's blood ran cold. Xiao Inyang had forged her name to invite the performer and planned to have him ruin her reputation. The masked man instructed her to proceed as planned. He would ensure her victory. Siue wanted to know who this masked man was. Why did he help her repeatedly? And why did her heart race whenever she was near him? Suddenly, Siue heard a noise and decided to check it out. Back at the banquet, Mrs. Hu suddenly stood up and announced that she would take the old madam and the guests to the Guanyue pavilion to witness a good show. Lian Xia's eyes gleamed with excitement. The useless eldest miss was doomed this time. Everyone arrived at the Guanyue pavilion. There was excrement scattered on the floor. Upon closer inspection, some of the guests immediately backed away in disgust. Madam Hu impatiently asked, "Who is it?" Lian Xia immediately replied, "Elder sister hasn't been seen since she left the banquet." Her words sparked speculation. Could it be the eldest miss inside with a man? Xiao Inyang remained silent, a smug look on her face. Madam Hu was about to order someone to break down the door, when Siue appeared amidst the crowd, smiling faintly. Lian Xia was stunned. It wasn't her. Madam Hu forcefully pushed open the door, and saw a disheveled man and woman lying on the floor. Then she froze. The woman with the performer was her own daughter, Lian Nianxin. The crowd murmured, the second miss of the Chengsheng residence was ruined. Mrs. Hu pulled her daughter into her arms, both ashamed and angry. Her body trembled. Seeing Lian Nianxin's flushed face, she knew her daughter had been drugged. She glared at Siue hatefully. "It was you who harmed Nianxin. I will avenge her." Lian Zhu immediately grabbed her hand. If she dared touch Siue again, he would break her hand. Siue smiled innocently. "What does second sister being with the performer have to do with me? I was merely framing someone else." A moment ago, Lian Nianxin had wanted to personally witness Siue being ruined by the performer. Hiding behind a pillar, she had been discovered. Siue looked at her with innocent eyes. Jiang Yanxi made demands on the beast. Feng Jian combined other things. so that he could lightly experience Sai Hui's thoughts. This is the warmth of family affection that Lian Rixin couldn't bear to talk about. Turned around and wanted to jump into the river. It wasn't because of being pulled back from death. Sai Yu kindly reminded him that this matter wasn't Jiu Li's fault, but the mastermind watched the secret door and discussed it. At this time, Wuxi was like a mad dog. He wanted all the men and women to cultivate their daughters. So he wanted to reveal the truth in front of everyone. Seeing that things were getting out of hand, he wanted to slap him to stop him. But Wuxi shook his head and denied the relationship with Xilin, Xie, and Yao Yu. He was the one who drugged the eldest miss, but he didn't know how it harmed the connection. He also handed over the medicine bag to Deng Yixia. Sai Yu and Ma Han's tearful eyes met, looking more distressed than anyone else. Third sister, why did you harm me? Every year, pressure is put on France on April th. He knew it was hard to back down now. He quickly put on a pitiful look, hoping that this way, he could fight for himself. The first to speak was the fourth prince, suggesting a private investigation to clear San Xiaojie's name. Sai Yu thought to herself, regardless of past or present life, Feng Qianyu and Lian Xie are truly a natural match. But the emperor hoped to investigate the matter on the spot, to give the victim an explanation. Among the princes, Lian Xie loved the eighth prince the most. Unexpectedly, he was helping Lian Xiyu, that bitch. She wanted to argue with her father, but after a few appropriate words from she went back. Finally, an order was given to Zhongxing and Shizi for Jiang, who she and Lian Xie were officially sentenced to 10 days of confinement. Sai Yu watched coldly, feeling relieved. 10 days of confinement for them was a deserved punishment, and after this incident, it would be difficult for Lian Xie to act recklessly. What made the fourth prince break his virtuous facade, and even try to kill a woman? The guards invited Cheng Xiaofu into the room. The guests had to leave. Sai Yu stood in the garden, relaxed. She had just seen off the eighth prince. She had cleared her name and they were even, but there was still one person to deal with, the one hiding in the cold. It was Feng Qianyuan. The man looked at her with interest. You have too many wives. Did you know us before? Sai Yu suppressed her burning killing intent, the words escaping through gritted teeth. No, I've never known you. But her hostility was clear to the man. The woman's eyes were full of prejudice. Sai Yu then put on an innocent expression. Your Highness and I have never met. If you weren't guilty, you wouldn't be trying to slander me. Feng Qianyu grabbed Sai Yu's hand. How dare you? Sai Yu pulled her hand away, coldly reminding her, a fox's tail must be hidden well. If others knew that the fourth prince coveted a woman, it would be a scandalous crime. No one could see through the man's thoughts. Several emotions flickered in his eyes, emotions a woman shouldn't possess. But as the man's hand reached for Sai Yu's neck, a black figure flashed by, turning into a black bear. The masked man appeared again. He blocked the attack aimed at Feng Qianyu. The fourth prince knew. He wasn't the man's opponent, and could only flee. Sai Yu looked at her savior with starry eyes, but the masked man reminded her not to get too close to Feng Qianyu. But Sai Yu had made up her mind. Since she was on the path of revenge, future confrontations with this man were unavoidable. Looking at her calm and determined eyes, the masked man gently stroked the girl's long hair. She was different now. Just as Sai Yu was about to ask his identity, he covered her mouth with his finger. Hearing someone approaching, the man jumped onto the wall like the wind. He didn't leave until he saw Sai Yu blush and close her eyes. The young man was overjoyed. He was alive again. Last time, Feng Qianyu used Sai Yu's name to threaten him. He had handed over the Bingquan and admitted defeat. But after Feng Qianyu got the throne, he killed him, killed the woman who loved him most. This time, he would make him pay. Suddenly, a man and a woman appeared, startling the young man. Send assassins to Cheng Xiaofu. Pretend to be mad dogs, secretly protecting Sai Yu. Order the man to collect evidence of the fourth prince's crimes. In fact, it's to make Feng Qianyu suffer eternal damnation. Have you ever seen such a cool rebirth plot? Both the male and female leads are reborn, holding the script, manipulating everything, against the heavens, rewriting our lives. Together, we will walk the path of destiny. Sai Yu dealt with Lian Xie, and was leisurely drinking tea in her courtyard. Ping Suo said that Xiao Inyang was kneeling at the study door, hoping Cheng Xiang would forgive her daughter. Since they insisted on this drama, Sai Yu decided to watch. At the study door, Xiao Inyang was kneeling with disheveled hair, being laughed at by the passing servants. Sai Yu put a cloak on the woman and kindly advised, Inyang, you mustn't catch a cold. If you get sick, you won't be able to see Furen. Dao Peng happened to see Xiao Inyang making a scene. He screamed at Sai Yu, Lian Sai Yu, stop pretending to be nice. Wasn't it you who tried to harm someone last night? Qingdai opened her mouth to defend herself, but was slapped hard. Sayu sneered inwardly. They clearly had a tryst last night, but claimed it was someone else's scheme. Qingdai's face swelled up. Wuxi, what did I do wrong? Why are you treating me like this? Being talked back to by a servant, Xiao Inyang lost her temper and kicked Qingdai. Sayu pretended to pull them apart, but the woman had already stumbled and fell to the ground. In fact, Xiao Inyang wasn't really hurt. It was all an act. Cheng Xiang finally came out, looking furious. He returned. Xiao Inyang immediately went forward and cried. Cheng Xiang slapped her. You tried to harm someone and now you're framing Da Fang's daughter. I'm so disappointed in you. Lock her in her courtyard. I don't want to see her again. Jibing and Xiao Sai dragged her away. Xiao Inyang kept calling for Cheng Hai Yanwang, but Cheng Xiang didn't react. Sayu thought, this is what you get. Qingdai carefully checked her mistress, afraid she was hurt from the fall. Looking at her worried face, Sayu felt a pang of guilt. But Qingdai was happy to do anything for her mistress. Qingdai, come with me to see mother. Rong Furen's health was deteriorating. Sayu took the opportunity to suggest that her mother should take back control of the household. Otherwise, once Xiao Inyang recovered, she would definitely make things difficult for them. But Rong Furen hesitated. Xiao Inyang was punished but not stripped of her authority. But Sayu had a plan. As long as her mother firmly demanded her authority back, everything would fall into place. Lian Shiwei was thrown into the deserted courtyard overnight. Cheng Xiang heard screams in the middle of the night. Sayu sent Fang Hua and Xiao Sai back to Xiao Yinyang's courtyard. Lian Shiwei almost fainted from fright. Xiao Inyang couldn't figure out what was going on, but these two dead couldn't be discovered. The best way was to bury them in her own courtyard. In Ziyan Yuan, LG asked, are we just going to let Xiao Inyang go? Sayu didn't want to force them to jump the wall yet. Besides, there was no evidence this time, so she could still deny it. She put down the teacup and smiled. Lao Gui, what's your real name? Ya Huan was shocked. Had Xiaojie seen through his identity, he didn't continue to pretend and admitted that his name was Lao Gui. He was sent to protect Xiaojie, but couldn't reveal his master's identity. Sayu didn't press him, only suspecting it was Ba Huangzi. Finally, things quieted down. Zumu told them about Princess Angguo's banquet during their morning greetings. Everyone had to attend. Lian Shiwei was interested. She heard the banquet was luxurious, with all the nobles attending. Zumu reminded her sternly to behave and not offend the princess. Sayu added, it's easy for unclean things to appear at night. Third sister, be careful of vengeful spirits. Lian Shiwei shivered, immediately thinking of the bodies in her courtyard. She forced a smile and retreated. Zumu looked at her uneasy expression and thought San Sun Enyu was becoming more and more unpresentable after the incident. But Xiao Inyang still wanted her daughter to shine at the banquet. Hearing that the princess liked parrots, she prepared one and greeted the princess. As long as she could get close to the princess, who cared about that bitch Sayu? Lian Shiwei was determined to stand out at the banquet. Back in Ziyan Yuan, Sayu was embroidering. Suddenly, she heard a commotion. Qingdai said San Xiaojie had a talking parrot, and everyone was rushing to see it. A cold smile appeared on Sayu's lips. She brought out an orange cat from somewhere. She also went to watch the fun. Taking advantage of the crowd, she released the orange cat and let it eat something. The parrot saw the orange cat and flew over. The two animals started fighting. A moment later, Ya Huan ran to Lian Shiwei. It's bad. The parrot is gone. There are only feathers left on the ground now. Lian Shiwei knocked Ya Huan over. You useless thing. How can I please the princess without the parrot? An uninvited guest appeared at Princess Angguo's banquet. Xiao Taijian announced the arrival of the 9th prince. Feng Qian Yu knocked over his wine cup. He's here too. Sayu saw the familiar 9th prince, and couldn't help but sneer inwardly. He died for her last time. This time, she wouldn't help him ascend the throne. Then, Princess Anguo announced the start of the banquet games. Ya Huan brought out her dragon stone bow, and asked all the girls to wear flowers in their hair. Whoever the arrow hit would perform on stage. Many young ladies knelt on the ground, begging to be spared. They didn't dare to be targets. Only Sayu and Lian Shiwei were still standing. Seeing Sayu's bravery, the second prince, Feng Yunzeng, decided to help her. He took the bow from the princess. The two looked at each other, both with smiles in their eyes. He accurately hit the flower on Sayu's head. The flower petals scattered like butterflies. The crowd gasped. It was so beautiful. Lian Shiwei was furious. She wished the prince had aimed at her. The princess was very pleased with Sayu's performance and asked her to perform. Sayu walked towards the princess generously and performed a sword dance. Lian Shiye didn't believe Sayu could dance well, but as Sayu danced, the hall was filled with the sounds of galloping horses. The ninth prince took out his jade flute and played along with Sayu's dance. Their fates intertwined once again. Feng Qianyu's heart bled. Why did they have such chemistry? He muttered, this part was arranged by me. Suddenly, Sayu held a dagger to his neck. Was she going to kill him now? But Sayu simply said, I will never forgive you. The crowd didn't hear this. The next moment, Sayu put away the dagger and finished her performance. The princess admired her spirit. Seeing Lian Sayu steal the limelight again, Lian Shiye gritted her teeth, but could do nothing. Suddenly, someone quietly entered with a birdcage. It was Xiao Inyang. She had found the parrot and brought it to the princess. She hurriedly presented the cage to the princess. This bird can talk. It's a gift for you, your highness. She pointed at the parrot's head, urging it to speak. The parrot remained silent. The princess grew impatient. Can this bird talk or not? Lian Shiye was sweating profusely and nervously patted the cage. The parrot suddenly started cursing and pecked the princess' head. Ba Huangzi and Ji Huangzi tried to stop it, but the princess was already furious. Sayu almost burst out laughing. The dignified princess was humiliated by a bird. She pointed at Xiao Inyang and roared, tie this insolent creature up. Lian Shiye tried to plead for mercy, but the princess glared at her, rendering her speechless. The princess looked at her coldly. Someone, take her away and kill her. Lian Shiye desperately looked at Feng Qianyu for help. He had spoken for her before. Would he save her now? But the fourth prince just sipped his tea, thinking how stupid this woman was. Sayu knew this man well. Now that Lian Shiye was no longer useful, Feng Qianyu wouldn't even look at her. Lian Shiye thought she was doomed. At the critical moment, Zumu stood up with a dark expression. She slapped Lian Shiye and ordered her to apologize to the princess. She then knelt down and begged for mercy from the princess. Seeing the situation change, Sayu quickly knelt beside Zumu. Princess Angwa spared Lian Xia for her grandmother's sake, but she forbade her from ever entering the princess mansion again. The woman's face was utterly lost this time. Xiyu had been by Lian Xia's side for 14 months, trying to please the princess. Lian Inwu hadn't noticed anything amiss. Lian Xia finally reacted, it's you, this treacherous ghost. Xiyu's expression was icy, in my past life, you killed my child. This is all your fault. Without waiting for Lian Xia to respond, Feng Qianyu rushed in, Your Highness, he has a confession. Upon hearing this from Feng Qianyu, Lian Zhu immediately stood in front of Feng Qianyu. The fourth prince impatiently said, Are you afraid that I will set him up? Xiyu patted Lian Zhu's shoulder, telling him to go play with the sixth prince first, and that she would be fine. Seeing his sister being taken away by the fourth prince, Lian Zhu clenched his fists unwillingly. His sister's world had so many people. He had to grow up quickly to be able to stand by her side. In the royal garden, Feng Qianyu wanted to know what Xiyu had said to him during the dance. He had to figure out what that sentence meant, but Xiyu said she didn't remember anything. Annoyed, Feng Qianyu grabbed her chin, warning her not to provoke him and be careful with her life. Unexpectedly, Xiyu wasn't afraid at all. If he wanted her life, he could take it anytime. Feng Qianyu gritted his teeth. Suddenly, a hand pulled them apart. The ninth prince shielded Xiyu behind him, and reminded the fourth prince that his loss of composure had been witnessed by the imperial guards. The surrounding crowd began to whisper. The fourth prince usually appeared gentle and elegant. Was it all an act? Feng Qianyu, with a burning expression, quickly left. Xiyu thanked the ninth prince. Feng Yanzeng lowered his voice, Don't provoke him. My fourth brother must be feeling frustrated lately. Xiyu was surprised. She didn't expect him to start so early. The eighth prince's ruby was actually a deadly weapon. Xiyu pulled the eighth prince's string of beads apart. The ruby in the middle suddenly fell apart, and a small worm rolled out. She picked it up and showed it to the eighth prince. It must be a maid in his mansion who secretly kept this Jiyu worm. In her past life, Xiyu had overheard Feng Qianyu mentioning the ruby. Today, seeing the eighth prince wearing it, she connected the two. As for whether this worm was indeed poisonous, and whether they could trace it back to Feng Qianyu depended on the eighth prince himself. Feng Yanzeng, the ninth prince, stood aside and commented that Xiyu was really putting in a lot of effort for the throne. Xiyu smiled bitterly. He was willing to bear everything for the throne. Feng Yanzeng saw an inexplicable sadness on Xiyu's face, and couldn't help but want to get closer. But Xiyu stopped him. Before leaving, he turned around and asked, among the brothers, why did you choose to help me? Feng Yunzheng smiled playfully, leaving you to others. Don't worry. The warmth in the young man's eyes made Shiyu's heart skip a beat. She could only blush and watch him leave. Feng Yunzheng's expression returned to calmness. He guessed Shiyu might also be reborn. If so, they should work together. At the gate of Princess Angguo's mansion, Lian Zhu saw his sister coming out. He quickly went up to her, afraid that Feng Qianyu would bully her. Shiyu pulled him into the carriage. Lian Zhu felt guilty and determined to do more for his sister to stay by her side. Shiyu relaxed against Lian Zhu's shoulder. In this life, she only hoped for her family's safety, and that her brother could live a peaceful life. But at the mention of clarifying, Lian Zhu angrily refused. He would never clarify. Shiyu then realized that her brother already had different thoughts. The carriage was returning to the Prime Minister's mansion. Shiyu asked her brother to go to her mother's place. She didn't expect Lian Xia to suddenly rush out and grab her. Lian Shiyu, my madness, it was all you're doing, wasn't it? Lian Shiyu. My madness, it was all you're doing, wasn't it? Shiyu dodged the crazy woman and said coldly, you need evidence for your accusations. Seeing her like this, Lian Xia was furious. She rushed forward to hit Shiyu. A crisp slap echoed, and Lian Xia fell to the ground. It was LVG, who had stood in front of Shiyu and slapped Lian Xia. Seeing her precious daughter on the ground, Concubine Xiao brought her servants and cried, someone hit my daughter. Lian Xia immediately started crying theatrically. Hearing that someone had dared to hit his master's daughter, Prime Minister Lian was about to kill LVG. Shiyu stood there coldly, emanating a powerful aura. She wanted to see who dared touch LVG today. The Prime Minister's men rushed towards LVG, and a series of cries followed. Within 10 minutes, those servants were all lying on the ground, severely injured. LVG brushed her hair back, without a single scratch. Seeing that she couldn't gain any advantage, Concubine Xiao took her daughter and left angrily. Shiyu praised LVG for her good work and told her to rest. Judging by Concubine Xiao's personality, she wouldn't let this go. His guess was right. The woman dragged Lian Xia to the study. She first falsely accused Shiyu of trying to harm Lian Yinwu, then said Shiyu had slapped Lian Xia. Cheng Xiang had been suspicious of Shiyu. Hearing this, he immediately believed it. He took the mother and daughter to seek justice. Shiyu hadn't even had a sip of tea when she returned to her room. Before Cheng Xiang came to reprimand her, he immediately ordered LVG to be imprisoned. This slave dared to hit my daughter. She must be punished. Shiyu asked back, what if my younger sister framed her older sister? What would father do? Lian Xia hurriedly denied it, but Shiyu exposed her lies. My younger sister was confined in Princess Angguo's mansion, and still tried to slander me. Father, you listened to their one-sided story today. It's truly disheartening. She then pretended to cry. Seeing Cheng Xiang soften, Concubine Xiao immediately pleaded, preventing the matter from being easily resolved. She knew how to manipulate Cheng Xiang's favoritism towards his younger daughter. Finally, Cheng Xiang ordered LVG to be given 40 lashes and expelled from the Prime Minister's mansion. Shiyu stood firmly in front of LVG. If you want to touch her, you'll have to go through me first. The two women were about to fight, when Old Madam suddenly appeared and stopped the chaos. She comforted Shiyu, and then scolded Lian Xia, you little beast. You caused such trouble and even dared to frame your older sister. Not only did you misbehave in front of the princes, but you also dared to disrupt the family's peace. Concubine Xiao and her daughter defended themselves, but Old Madam slapped them to the ground. She wanted to kick this mother and daughter out of Xian courtyard. Cheng Xiang didn't dare disobey his mother, and reluctantly agreed to banish them to the remote courtyard. He then apologized to Shiyu for the misunderstanding, but his suspicion of Shiyu didn't disappear. Shiyu thanked her grandmother for saving LVG. Old Madam held her hand and told Shiyu to prepare to visit the injured princess with her. 2 days later, Shiyu arrived at the princess mansion in a carriage. She saw Feng Qianyu again. Princess Angguo was choosing fabrics for him. Seeing Shiyu, she beckoned her over. It felt so good to have the script flipped. The bullied, transparent girl became the big devil. Lian Xia received 40 lashes, and would suffer a terrible fate after death. Old Madam overheard this in the courtyard and chased after them. Shiyu's eyes were full of fire. You killed my child and harmed my friend. These punishments are far from enough. Lian Xia looked at her like she was crazy, not understanding what she was saying. But Shiyu didn't care about her anymore. She had already made arrangements in the west courtyard. As long as Concubine Xiao entered, she would definitely be taken care of. She looked forward to Concubine Xiao's despair. Lian Xia was completely hopeless this time, but Shiyu calmly shook her head. With her brother, Xiao Zhan, still around, this woman won't be quiet for long. General Xiao has achieved great victories in the remote east and will soon return to the capital. Meanwhile, in the west courtyard, LVG called out Concubine Xiao. Xiao Shi pushed Concubine Xiao in. The women who had been bullied by her before rushed forward, beating Concubine Xiao mercilessly. Xiao Shi pulled her out, fearing they would kill her. Concubine Xiao lay on the ground, disheveled. LVG stood triumphantly in front of her, advising her to be obedient in the future. Now, this mansion is under eldest Miss control. Concubine Xiao gritted her teeth. When her time came, she would make these servants suffer a terrible death. At this time, Shiyu was enjoying the sounds of the zither in the courtyard. Qingdai asked, "How did the poison Jiyu worm get in?" Shiyu put down the teacup. To get rid of someone, one must be ruthless and thorough. Qingdai suddenly felt a chill down her spine. Shiyu looked at the sky and sighed. In this life, she was destined to be stained with blood. After dealing with Concubine Xiao, she returned to the 9th Prince's mansion to report. There were 3 beauties in the hall, but Feng Yunzeng wasn't interested at all. He sent them all to the west courtyard. These dancers and singers were all sent to him by the queen. He ordered his subordinates not to let these women leave the courtyard and told the queen that he liked them. This was his way of handling things. Feng Yunzeng was questioning Shiyu. When he heard that Shiyu was suspected by Cheng Xiang, he couldn't help but curse. That old man is blind. I need to teach him a lesson. Sui Feng, standing beside him, reminded him, Miss Shiyu doesn't know your true identity yet. If someone uses this opportunity to harm her. Feng Yunzeng, who was just furious, immediately changed his act. Who dared to steal my people? LVG quickly reported, I saw the 8th Prince's carriage heading towards Cheng Xiang's mansion. I'm afraid he's going to find Miss Shiyu. Upon hearing this, Feng Yunzeng couldn't sit still. He had to go to Cheng Xiang's mansion. 2 handsome princes, who to choose? First up, was the 8th Prince, Feng Yi, renowned for his unparalleled handsomeness. He brought a small box and invited Shiyu to appreciate the jade inside. However, the box contained poison, the same one found at Princess Yang's banquet. The poison would take effect after 3 years, and this year happened to be the 3rd. Shiyu was now his lifesaver. Feng Yi held her hand, creating a seemingly intimate atmosphere. But Shiyu immediately pulled away. After all, the 8th Prince was Lian Xia's favorite. The 8th Prince, hearing Lian Xia's name, shuddered. That woman was too scheming. He didn't dare to mess with her. Every time he saw her, he wanted to stay far away. And Lian Xia was eavesdropping outside the window. She had liked the 8th Prince for a long time and came to see him today. Unexpectedly, he treated her like this. It must be Lian Xiyu, who said bad things about me. How could he not like a beauty like me? The 8th Prince naturally didn't care about her. He reached for Shiyu's hand again, but a burning sensation stopped him. The 9th Prince seemed to be with her. Before he could finish, a large hand grabbed him. The silver-masked man appeared again, throwing the 8th Prince aside and shielding Shiyu behind him. Feng Yi was furious, but the man ignored him, refusing to budge. Seeing the situation escalating, Shiyu had to step forward and explain, the masked man is my friend. The 8th Prince was skeptical. How come he didn't know the Prime Minister's mansion had such a friend? But the masked man retorted, of course you don't know, because Lian Shiyu and you are not close at all. The 8th Prince left angrily, cursing the two of them. Shiyu predicted his temper and said, there will be more excitement. Looking at the girl's complicated expression, the masked man asked, do you like someone? Shiyu coldly replied, it's none of your business. Could it be, you really like someone else? The masked man's eyes narrowed. He jumped onto the stone bridge, blocking Shiyu's path. I won't allow you to like someone else. This domineering declaration made Shiyu blush. How could he say he wouldn't allow it? She didn't even know who he was. Might as well take this opportunity to see his face. Shiyu turned around, and slipped, falling off the bridge. The masked man naturally jumped down to save her. The moment he caught her, Shiyu pulled off his white mask. A familiar face appeared before her eyes. They had only met a few times. Why did this man treat her so well? Because in his past life, he couldn't protect his beloved. In this life, he would give Shiyu everything she wanted. The identity of the silver-masked man was revealed. The 9th Prince followed Shiyu back to the study. She asked him why he helped her. The 9th Prince changed the subject. Since we have the same understanding, then we are allies. Hearing this, Shi Yu understood. If the ninth prince wanted the throne, she would fully support him. But to get the throne, there was one more person they had to be wary of, and that was the fourth prince, Feng Qianyu. At the mention of this name, Shi Yu's grip on the teacup tightened. She looked into the ninth prince's eyes and said word by word, "I will make him wish he were dead." The ninth prince held the fragile girl in his arms, letting her vent her emotions. Shi Yu cried in his arms. Realizing her gaffe, she quickly pulled away. Her expression quickly returned to normal, and she reminded the prince to seize the opportunity of the autumn hunt. Whether he could regain the throne depended on this time. The ninth prince said he understood. Shi Yu personally escorted the prince out and jokingly suggested that since their relationship was just an alliance, there was no need to be so courteous in the future. She then playfully closed the door. The ninth prince was a little excited. Could it be that Shi Yu didn't fall for him in this life either? Thinking of Shi Yu's complex emotions, he was a little lost. Back in his mansion, Feng Qianyu was drinking in the shadows. He stared at the chessboard in front of him, his grip tightening. Everything he had done was disrupted by Shi Yu. What was this woman thinking? Why did she treat him with such hostility? After a few drinks, Feng Qianyu finished the conversation. He walked up to Yu Ji. He found this woman's beauty was somewhat similar to Lian Xiyu. To satisfy the desire in his heart, he hugged the woman casually. "Please forgive me." The next morning, Xiyu was playing with Xiaodong in the garden. Ya Huan rushed over. He heard Ya Huan's anxious tone. "A few days ago, I heard that eldest miss suffered a relapse and went crazy again, even hurting her servant. Now, she is actually fine and is with you." Xiyu faced Ya Huan's bottomless flattery. Who can compare to the fourth prince? Dong Qianyu pulled Xiyu. "Woman, you have successfully attracted my attention, but I like the gentle type." Xiyu immediately showed an unnatural expression. "Even if all the men in the world died, I wouldn't like him." Seeing the woman's back, Dong Qianyu's desire to conquer was thoroughly aroused. "One day you will be mine." Another incident happened in the Cheng manor. Ya Huan rushed over. "Not good. Third miss has relapsed." It turned out that Lian Shiye saw that the eighth prince liked Xiyu and became jealous, causing her relapse. Her mother, Xiaoyan Yang, could only find a way to suppress her temporarily. But this time, the servants came up with a perfect solution. As long as things go well, Lian Xiyu's position will be unstable. A Taoist priest, Shi Tai, ran into the Cheng manor in a hurry. Ya Huan's shouts alerted Madame Cheng. Xiyu was also at the scene. The woman was having a seizure, constantly shouting. Ya Huan guessed that third miss must have relapsed. She knew this was Xiaoyan Yang's trick again, and when Lian Xiyu saw Xiyu, he loudly shouted, "I want to kill you." As a result, he was beaten and thrown out by a group of guards. Lian Shiye, pretending to be crazy, could only intensify her act. Madame Cheng could only send someone to invite the Taoist priest, Shi Tai, to the Cheng manor to perform an exorcism. At this time, Xiyu stepped forward. She also knew a little about acupuncture, and decided to give it a try. Madame Cheng nodded. Xiyu revealed a sly smile, and LG handed her the acupuncture needles. "Itty," but Xiyu stopped her. "These needles are for me. Third miss has to endure it." Then, Xiyu quickly showed her youthful acupuncture skills. The pain made Lian Shiye yell, "Lian Xiyu, you bitch." But this made the servants feel that eldest miss method was effective, as third miss could recognize people. Lian Shiye, in order to gain Madame Cheng's favor, had to endure the pain and continue to shout deliriously. On the other side, someone gave Shi Tai a secret letter, which contained Xiaoyan Yang's plan for him. He was to tell the Cheng family that Xiyu was a jinx, and would bring misfortune to the family. Once Madame Cheng heard this, she would definitely dislike her. Shi Tai held the secret letter and sneered, but he was intercepted halfway. After the assassins knocked Shi Tai unconscious and took him off the carriage, Feng Yanzeng suddenly appeared. He warned Shi Tai, "You can go to the Cheng manor, but you must do as I say. If anything goes wrong, you won't live to see the next morning." Shi Tai's life was in someone else's hands, so he could only agree. Feng Yanzeng had someone put him back into the carriage, and sent him to the Cheng manor without delay. "I have something to do. I need to go visit Cheng Xiang." Isn't this obviously going to see Xiyu? Cheng Xiang really was a scumbag. 1 second, he was doting on someone. The next second, he said she was a jinx. A strange thing happened in the Cheng manor. Feng Yanzeng specially brought Shi Tai to perform an exorcism for third miss. As soon as the handsome prince entered the door, the maids blushed. Even the crazy Lian Shiye was moved, thinking that the prince was concerned about her. This level of narcissism was truly impressive. Xiyu noticed his arrival, but this show had to go on. Shi Tai pretended to perform the ritual. and even stuck a talisman on Lian Shiya's forehead. Lian Shiya seized the opportunity to pretend to regain consciousness. As long as Shitai said the lines in the plan, Lian Xiaoyu would be doomed. The next second, Shitai pointed at Xiaoyu. How dare this young lady? I think there is something unclean on eldest miss. Madame Cheng also felt uneasy, but Xiaoyu wasn't afraid at all. She asked Shitai what he meant. Shitai was stunned for a moment, then looked at Xiaoyu's talisman and exclaimed, my goodness. You truly have the most blessed fate I've ever seen. Simply blessed by the heavens. This plot twist came too suddenly. The gossiping onlookers looked at Xiaoyu like she was a goddess. Even Madame Cheng held Xiaoyu's hand, wanting to. The betrayed Lian Shiya was about to explode with anger. She wondered if Shitai had made a mistake. But Shitai said that if it weren't for eldest miss blessed fate, third miss would have been taken away by ghosts long ago. He even seriously said that Xiaoyu had a blessed fate. Everyone believed him. Wasn't this exposing Xiaoyan Nyang's identity? Lian Shiya couldn't pretend anymore. She knelt down and begged her grandmother to believe that her mother was definitely not a jinx. Xiaoyu immediately added, if she isn't a jinx, how do you explain third miss relapse? Hearing this, Madame Cheng ordered someone to bring Xiaoyan Nyang over. As soon as Xiaoyan Nyang entered, she was slapped. She then realized that it was Xiaoyu who had hit her. Cheng Xiang was also called in. Seeing his beloved concubine being humiliated, he was about to get angry when he heard Madame Cheng say, this woman is a jinx. She even brought bad luck to third miss. Xiaoyan Nyang immediately grabbed Cheng Xiang's clothes and acted pitiful. These tricks had always worked, but Cheng Xiang pushed her away this time, afraid of getting bad luck on himself. Lian Shiya was also furious. She angrily scolded Xiaoyan Nyang. Xiaoyu slapped Shitai again, using a living person as a scapegoat. Who's really the jinx? After some time, Xiaoyu angrily packed her things and prepared to leave. Madame Cheng was very reluctant to see her go. Madame Rong also came to see her off. She held Xiaoyu's hand tightly, feeling reluctant. Cheng Xiang promised to take good care of Xiaoyu, and only then did the two leave the Cheng manor. In the carriage, Xiaoyu thought to herself, all the princes are at the Qiulai this time. Something might happen. Suddenly, the carriage stopped. It turned out they had encountered the fourth prince and General Shao. She didn't expect to meet Feng Qi so soon. In her past life, Xiaoyu had worked for him. She even got injured while saving him, and he wanted to marry Xiaoyu. These memories made Xiaoyu feel a little dizzy. The man who caused her death in her past life was now right in front of her. Feng Qianyu deliberately raised his chin to look at Xiaoyu. Now, he had become even colder. He ordered his guards to surround the carriage. Eighth Prince, Feng Yi, also stood in front of Xiaoyu. The two stared at each other, neither willing to give in. Fortunately, Xiao Zhenghai's daughter, Xiao Ru, appeared. She interrupted the confrontation. She had admired Feng Yi for a long time, and deliberately came out to see him. But Ba ignored her, and was extremely enthusiastic towards Xiaoyu, even wanting to get on the carriage and chat with her. Although Xiaoyu immediately refused, in Xiao Ru's eyes, she was a seductive vixen. Just like Xiaoyan Yang said, I must teach her a good lesson at the Qiulai. Xiaoyu ignored them, and continued on her way. Feng Qianyu angrily kicked his carriage. After the Qiulai is over, you'll go find the emperor and complain. The carriage arrived at the Qiulai venue. Xiaoyu and her younger brother, Lianju, both saw the ninth prince. Lianju was talking to the ninth prince. Xiaoyu heard a servant girl talking. 11th princess is competing, but her opponent is a live person. Xiaoyu didn't want to get involved with the royal family, and was about to leave with Lianju, but they were stopped. Wait. Someone has to represent the princess. On the other side of the training ground, a group of servants were kowtowing. 11th princess, Feng Linyu, stood on a high platform. And then shot an arrow down. Xiao Ru, who was accompanying the princess, seized the opportunity to instigate her, wanting the princess to kill Xiaoyu. Feng Linyu raised her bow and arrow, but she was interrupted. She turned around and saw a handsome young man. A cold arrow shot out on the Qiulai field, and its target was Xiaoyu. Could she dodge it this time? Xiaoyu stopped 11th Princess arrow, but Princess Feng Linyu was stunned. Admiring the handsome young man in her heart, Xiaoyu pleaded for the servant girl's life. Feng Linyu thought she was just a servant and her life wasn't that important. But in Xiaoyu's eyes, everyone's life was precious. These words moved the servants, and the princess suddenly understood the girl's feelings. Seeing her change of heart, Xiao Ru, who was beside Xiaoyu, hurriedly interjected, Lian Xiaoyu treats her younger sister and concubines so badly at home, why is she pretending to be kind here? Lian Xiyu treats her younger sister and aunt so badly at home. Why are you pretending to be so kind here? Lian Ju defended his sister and argued with the woman on the spot. The princess was very moved and asked her to release the servants. Xiao Ru quickly said that releasing them would ruin the Qiu Lai. Feng Linyu looked at Xiyu. Lian Ju blocked Xiyu just as the arrow was shot towards the training ground. Feng Qi pleaded with her to let him go. Seeing his older sister in danger, Lian Ju couldn't bear it anymore and jumped down. Since the princess wants to take a life, he'll take the hit. The bloody training ground suddenly became silent. Feng Linyu was even more interested. Why are they all willing to die for this woman? Fine, I'll grant your wish. He pulled his bow and shot an arrow at Xiyu. The next second, the arrow was knocked down. It turned out that LG had been hiding, and if they didn't release the servants, he would carry out the plan. The princess was furious. Who dares to interfere? But it was the 9th prince who responded. Seeing her older brother, Feng Linyu immediately put on an innocent act. 9th prince asked her to release the servants. Now that she had an excuse, Feng Linyu immediately released the servants and thanked the 9th prince. Xiao Ru angrily glared at Lian Xiyu. Why is your luck so good? I almost hurt her. Xiyu, who was safe and sound, gently stroked by Yu's fur, but the princess targeted her again, ordering Lian Ju to play with her, but Lian Ju politely refused. Xiyu and Feng Ming exchanged glances. There was only gentleness in Feng Ming's eyes. Watching Xiyu leave, Xiao Ru tried to please Feng Linyu. I can accompany you, princess, but the princess looked disgusted. You disgusting thing, get lost. If I see you again, I won't be polite. Xiao Ru didn't dare to offend the princess, and could only leave angrily. But she thought to herself, Lian Xiyu, you can run, but you can't hide. Next time, you won't be so lucky. Why did the horse suddenly go crazy? Can the woman on the horse save her life? Someone secretly sabotaged the horses. The horses at the royal hunting grounds were difficult to control. Xiyu took the opportunity to get on the horse, but the horse broke through the fence and rushed towards the crowd. Qing Da's face turned pale. If Miss falls, she'll be trampled to death. Xiao Sai and the others could only watch anxiously. There was nothing they could do. Xiyu struggled to hold on. Was she about to fall? At the critical moment, someone appeared. Feng Yanzeng flew onto the horse and held Xiyu tightly, then they rushed into the woods together. The worried Lian Ju immediately chased after them. It turned out that the horse ran from daytime to night. Xiyu blamed 9th prince for getting on the horse, but Feng Yanzeng said he couldn't just watch him in danger. Fortunately, his horse was already tired. He took the opportunity to force the horse to stop. Xiyu almost fell off the horse. Then, 9th prince helped Xiyu down. The horse ran a few steps and suddenly collapsed. Feng Yanzeng carefully checked Xiyu. After finding that she wasn't injured, he teased her. You called my name so affectionately just now. Xiyu blushed. She quickly changed the subject. This horse is Lian Ju's. It suddenly went crazy today. There must be a reason. Feng Yanzeng pointed to the horse's mouth. The herbs left inside can make a horse excited for days. It seems someone deliberately wanted to harm Xiyue. Xiyu's arm was broken. We must find out who did it. He will not let these people go. Suddenly, Feng Yanzeng pulled her into his arms. It was Xiyue. Don't be scared. As the only good news from Shuling, there's something wrapped in cloth on the overturned boat. Feng Yanzeng let Xiyue count the numbers. Xiyue turned around with a worried face. Zhou Huang smiled slightly, comforting them that it would be all right. Then he whistled, leading the wolves to charge. A pack of beasts still wants to play tricks in front of her. With a flash of cold light, the charging wolf was cut in two. Suddenly, a wolf leaped high, but he pierced its heart. Warm wolf blood splattered onto Feng Yanzeng's face. Xiyue, standing aside, was surprised. Feng Yanzeng didn't seem to have this skill in her past life. Under his fierce attack, the wolves dared not advance. The alpha wolf stood opposite Feng Yanzeng, looking for an opportunity, staring at him. Suddenly, the wolf pack attacked again. Feng Yanzeng put away his sword, ready to fight back. All sorts of dramatic scenes unfolded. Half an hour ago, Xiyue and Feng Yanzeng were surrounded by wild wolves. But the alpha wolf, under her murderous gaze, led the wolf pack to retreat. Xiyue ran to Feng Yanzeng's side, reaching out to wipe the blood off his face. The man's heart stirred. Are you concerned about me? Xiyue blushed. Because we're allies, right? Feng Yanzeng chuckled and pinched her cheek. It's getting dark and there might be other dangers in the forest. We need to get back to a safe place quickly. He pulled Xiyue's hand and headed out of the forest. LG, hiding in the dark, was about to appear. But Yefeng stopped her. Going out now is like lighting a lamp. Aren't you afraid of being beaten to death? Watching the two pass by, LG thanked Yefeng for saving her, but in the next second, Lian Ju caught up. The two sighed. The master's love life is really difficult. Lian Ju pulled Siyue aside. I heard you saved me from the wolves. I want to thank you. Feng Yanzeng said it was just a normal reaction. He would always protect Siyu's safety. Upon hearing this, Siyue felt awkward. Lian Ju also felt the unusual atmosphere between them. After a moment of awkward silence, the royal banquet was about to begin, and they had to hurry. The burning bonfire illuminated the venue. Dignitaries and nobles sat together. Xiaorong stared at the coming and going crowd, but didn't see Lian Siyue. She began to doubt her brother's plan, feeding the Lian family's horse with poison to make it go crazy. That idiot already fell off his horse and died. Xiao Shan was also anxious. A woman without martial arts skills is really easy to deal with. As if on cue, Lian Siyue appeared at the banquet. Xiaorong's face darkened as if she had eaten a fly. She never thought this person was still alive. Siyue stood at the Xiao family's table. The two were shocked to see her. Looking at their panicked expressions, Siyue was even more certain that today's incident was related to them. After sitting down, Lian Ju heard the news, and immediately wanted to confront them. But Siyue stopped him. There's no evidence now. Causing a scene at the royal banquet is not beneficial. At this moment, the eunuch's announcement interrupted them. The emperor arrived with the princes. Siyue followed the crowd, and saw the person she least wanted to see. She had never seen such a charming imperial concubine. Her beauty surpassed even the empress. The emperor had already taken his seat. Siyue stared at the woman. This was the emperor's newly favored concubine, Xuanji. She stood up and performed a dance for the emperor. Her sleeves flowed like water, her waist was slender and graceful, every smile and gesture exuded charm. But Siyu's hands clenched involuntarily. If her past life memory was correct, this woman was Feng Chanyuan's consort. He once served in the frontier, and frequented brothels. Later, he found out that the woman was a spy planted by the emperor, giving a used woman to his son. Feng Qianyuan was truly audacious. Xuanji danced while exchanging glances with Feng Qianyuan. Siyue felt disgusted. Feng Qianyuan also noticed Siyu's gaze and felt that she had seen through him. Just as Siyue left the crowd to get some air, he followed her. Siyue was leaning against a tree, when Feng Qianyuan interrupted her. The man grabbed her hand possessively, declaring that no matter what she knew, it didn't matter. In the end, Siyue would be his. Siyue slapped his hand away forcefully. Stop dreaming, I will never be with you. If you continue to pester me, we'll both perish together. Siyue turned to leave. Feng Chanyuan's eyes were filled with madness. Tomorrow, he would ask his father for her hand in marriage. Lian Siyue could only be his. Watching their backs, Xuanji, hidden in the dark, broke her nails. She had given everything for fourth prince, and would never allow anyone to threaten her position in his heart. The next day, the Xiao siblings returned to their residence, distraught. Xiao Ayu hoped her brother would reconsider harming Siyue. After all, Xiao Yinyang's death must be avenged. Xiao Shan saw through his sister's desire to simply use Siyue to gain Feng Chanyuan's favor, and warned her not to act rashly, otherwise, things would get out of control. Xiao Ayu smashed a cup in anger. As long as Siyue was alive, she would never have peace. At this moment, someone entered the room. Xiao Ayu was about to scold them, but the person who entered was Xuanji. She sashayed in, and went straight to the point. You want to kill Lian Siyue? Xiaorong, thinking the matter had been exposed, tried to play dumb, but Xuanji already had evidence against them. However, she wasn't there to interrogate them, but to offer a plan to kill Siyue. She needed the Xiao siblings' cooperation. Seeing Xuanji personally visit them, Xiaorong was still hesitant. He wondered what this plan was. A man and a woman meet secretly in the woods, just to eat a roast goose. Just now, Feng Yanzeng intercepted Xuanji's message. That vicious woman actually planned to shoot Siyue during tomorrow's hunting event. A moment later, LG brought Siyue to the woods. Feng Yanzeng handed her a blackened object, and said he wanted to treat her to roast goose. Siyue was speechless. Is this a goose or charcoal? The man smiled sheepishly. I'm still learning, the heat was a bit off. Siyue sat down by the fire. He must have discovered something to ask her here so late. Feng Yanzeng handed her the letter. Sure enough, it was Xuanji and Xiaorong plotting to kill Siyue. Xuanji overheard the conversation between Siyue and the fourth prince, and decided to take action. Feng Yanzeng grabbed Siyu's hand. He looked for you. What did he say? Siyue blushed and tried to avoid the question, but Feng Yunzheng's expression changed. The fourth prince's intentions towards Siyue are not pure. It seems he needs a good lesson. Looking at his serious expression, Siyue asked worriedly, "What are you thinking?" The next second, Feng Yunzheng's expression softened. He simply told Siyue not to worry and he would handle it. Siyue felt inexplicably reassured. The two continued to chat in the woods. Feng Yunzheng turned and ordered Yefeng to accelerate the elimination of the fourth prince's men. Since they wanted a bloodbath, he'd give them one. Yefeng glanced at Siyue, truly the master's woman. Early the next morning at the hunting grounds, the emperor, along with hundreds of soldiers, was ready to depart. The princes were eager to show off their skills. The noble ladies stood on the sidelines, watching the handsome men. Xuanji invited them to ride together, even asking the emperor to specifically clear a field for them. Xiao Rong, following the plan, tried to pull Siyue onto the field, but Siyue said she wasn't interested in riding. Even Xuanji was puzzled. Seeing the plan fail, the two became anxious. Siyue smirked, and finally agreed. After all, if she didn't go, the show couldn't go on. Inside the hunting grounds, the forest was dense. Indeed a good place to kill. At this moment, the 11th princess caught up with Siyue and wanted to ride with her. She also said that Siyue was Lianju's older sister and couldn't embarrass the family. Xiao Ayu, hiding in the dark, was a bit anxious. The 11th princess was too close, making it difficult for them to act. But Xuanji didn't care about the princess at all, because that arrow was meant for Siyue. Her men were already in position. They shot a poisoned arrow towards the princess. A cold arrow pierced the horse's rump. The princess' horse was startled and went wild. Siyue leaped onto the horse and grabbed the reins. She directed the horse towards Xiao Ayu and Xuanji. Xuanji quickly drew her sword and attacked. Then, Siyue seized the opportunity and jumped off the horse with the princess in her arms. With a loud crash, the three horses collided violently. Xiao Rong and Xuanji also fell to the ground. Xuanji quickly got up and glared at Siyue. HMPH. You fell right into my trap. Xiao Rong was confused. She didn't understand why the assassin had attacked her. You tried to harm the princess. Xiao Rong pointed at Siyue. How dare you harm the princess? Siyue sneered. If it weren't for me, who would have saved you under such circumstances? But Xuanji relentlessly wanted to report the matter to the emperor. Suddenly, the princess jumped out and shielded Siyue. She bumped into you because she was protecting me. It definitely has nothing to do with her. Everyone knows how much the emperor values me. With the prince's testimony, Xuanji couldn't say anything. Suddenly, a terrifying roar echoed through the forest. A ferocious white tiger emerged from the forest, bearing its fangs. The hunting ground was in chaos. Siyue quickly pulled the princess away. Only Xiao Rong and Xuanji were left in the forest. The two trembled with fear, turning to see their horses were long gone. The tiger didn't waste any time and pounced on them. Xuanji painfully crawled up from the ground. She didn't want to die and had to escape. Xiao Ayu chased after her. Your Highness, don't leave me. On the other side of the forest, the princess noticed the two hadn't followed and asked Siyue to turn back. Looking at the anxious princess, Siyue was truly speechless. Her kindness was truly unbelievable. She hesitated for a moment and turned the horse back towards the forest. By this time, Xiao Ayu and Xuanji were already exhausted. Xuanji knew she couldn't escape, so she pushed Xiao Ayu to the ground without hesitation. If Xiao Ayu could stall the tiger, she would have a chance to survive. Seeing herself about to become tiger food, Xiao Ayu finally realized she had been used. She grabbed Xuanji's leg tightly. If I die, you die with me. The two were wrestling when the tiger caught up. The tiger pounced on Xiao Ayu. The forest was filled with her screams. Facing the terrifying tiger, Xuanji yelled at the woman to let go, but Xiao Ayu held on tighter. We die together. Reliving her past life with cheat codes, the female lead transmigrates with a script. Can she rewrite her tragic fate? Feng Yunzheng led the guards to the scene. The woman was desperately struggling with the tiger. Fortunately, Siyue arrived in time with the princess. She shot the tiger with an arrow. Xiao Ayu was rescued by the guards. But Siyue didn't kill the tiger. Instead, she drove it towards Xuanji. Siyue knew this must be the Empress plan. It seemed she wanted to use this opportunity to eliminate Xuanji. Xuanji noticed the tiger charging towards her. She panicked and ran towards the cliff edge. Seeing the tiger about to pounce, Xuanji jumped off the cliff. Back at the hunting grounds, Yefeng reported to Feng Yunzheng, confirming that he had successfully driven the tiger towards Xuanji in the forest. Please instruct, Master. Fourth Prince, Xiaoyin, spoke these words and then requested the Emperor to give Sayu to him. Hearing this, Feng Yunzeng's face turned livid with anger. He flew into the forest and disappeared. Sai Yu was quickly delivered into fourth prince's hands. Feng Qianyu was having people load the carriage. This time, she would definitely. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew. A masked man appeared beside the carriage. He swept his eyes over the carriage and demanded everything. Feng Qianyu didn't expect anyone would dare to rob her. She directly ordered the guards to kill him, but the guards were easily defeated. Their bodies were thrown far away. This scene made Feng Qianyu furious. Who are you? How dare you kill my men? The masked man chuckled. Not only do I dare to kill them, I dare to kill you too. He unleashed a barrage of attacks. Each hit landed squarely. Feng Qianyu couldn't defend herself at all. The man easily dodged her spiritual energy attacks and slammed her heavily against a tree. The man casually looked at Feng Qianyu, who was struggling to get up. Remember this lesson, he warned her from above, guard your life well. One day, we will settle the score. Then another gust of wind blew. The man disappeared, leaving Feng Qianyu furious. I won't let you go. The man had already jumped into the dense forest. He muttered, this is Feng Yunzeng's gift. If fourth prince still dares to covet Sai Yu, then I'm sorry, I'll beat him every time. This woman had been killed by her husband and sister. The baby in her womb was also used by them as medicine. She finally got reborn, but before she could take revenge, she was caught by the imperial guards. Several decades ago, the guards drove away tigers on the hunting grounds, like Xiaoru and Zhuangji, but one of them lost a leg, and the other was paralyzed and bedridden. The emperor watched the insect turn into a butterfly. The eunuch beside him reported about Sai Yu. Sai Yu was brought to the main hall. She calmly greeted the emperor. The old emperor's face was gloomy. He ordered her to confess what she had done. Sai Yu's face remained calm. Your Majesty, this servant knows nothing. If you don't believe me, I'm willing to confront the empress. The emperor immediately summoned Zhuangji. Zhuangji cried, it must be Sai Yu. Sai Yu looked helpless. How could a weak woman like me kill a ferocious beast? Zhuangji continued relentlessly, you must have accomplices. Otherwise, where did the design for my palace trap come from? Sai Yu calmly explained that she had saved the princess when her horse went wild and knew nothing about any traps. Moreover, she had no grievances with Zhuangji, so why would she harm her? Zhuangji covered her scarred face and continued crying to the emperor. The emperor had a headache. He ordered Sai Yu to be dragged out and given 20 lashes. Suddenly, Feng Yunzeng barged in. He knelt and begged the emperor to release the killer he had found. Yi Feng escorted a man into the hall. Actually, he had long discovered the killer hired by Zhuangji. Before they entered the hunting grounds, he had captured him and hidden him in a cave. Later, Feng Yunzeng deliberately warned Zhuangji that she was exposed, and to stop the assassination if she wanted to live. The killer, wanting to survive, agreed. Now seeing the killer caught, Zhuangji's face paled. This idiot got caught. If he exposes her, she's finished. But under the emperor's questioning, the killer insisted he acted alone. Taking advantage of the emperor's distraction, Zhuangji suddenly attacked, intending to silence the killer. But Yi Feng was faster. He quickly subdued her. Yi Feng tore the man's clothes. On his chest was a tattoo of the former dynasty's rebels. Then, a golden hairpin was found on the man. The old emperor recognized it as the one he had given to Zhuangji. Could it be she colluded with the assassins to rebel? Zhuangji desperately denied it. I'm the Ice King. I just wanted to kill Feng Qianyu. The emperor's face turned ashen upon hearing this. Zhuangji pleaded with the emperor. She had been his beloved consort. Unexpectedly, ancient emperors were so fickle. One second she was his beloved, the next she was thrown into prison. Zhuangji was dragged on the ground, crying and begging for mercy. Sai Yu mocked her, you're ugly as a pig. Still want to see the emperor? Zhuangji desperately comforted herself, it's okay. Fourth prince will save me. At this moment, a young palace maid came in with water, wanting to help Zhuangji freshen up. Zhuangji waved her hand to find fourth prince. The palace maid exposed her identity, gazing tenderly at Zhuangji. She whispered in her ear, "I'm fourth prince's. You've caused him so much trouble. Fourth prince asked me to send you on your way." These words completely shattered Zhuangji's hope. She slumped down in despair. The palace maid put away the towel and returned to Feng Yunzeng. Feng Qianyu was casually holding a wine cup. Zhuangji is dead. I hope you don't blame me. Feng Yunzeng glanced at her coldly. Sai Yu appeared at the entrance. Your Highness, why are you still up so late? Shouldn't you be resting? Feng Qianyu said coldly. Don't think you'll always be so lucky. Sai Yu smiled faintly. I've survived until now. Do you think it's all luck? But it's getting late, you should rest. Watching Yu leave, Feng Yanzeng's eyes darkened. He was filled with anger and hatred. All of this was because of Yu. She was the cause of everything. From that day on, Yu began her plan. Everyone played their part. Now that the emperor was investigating Zhuangji, he would eventually suspect Feng Qianyu. And Feng Yanzeng, who had lost face because of Zhuangji, could regain his power. But Yu's revenge had just begun. The next day, Zhuangji's family received news that their properties were being confiscated. The emperor was watching Feng Yiqin at the horse track. Without Zhuangji's interference, his son's path to becoming crown prince was clearer. But there were still other obstacles. At this time, Feng Yiqin staggered. He hurriedly reached out his hand. It turned out Lian Zhu accidentally saved a child and had to come to 8th prince to exchange a shoe. Otherwise, this matter would be a big deal. The emperor noticed the red birthmark on Lian Zhu's foot. He smashed a cup on the ground. It turned out that the child was the one he had switched years ago, the empress' son. The emperor was shocked and speechless. Fortunately, those who knew about the switch had been eliminated. Wait, isn't the bone-setting technique a major plot point? The teenager ran away from home for a few days and hadn't even left the city. Is there still law and order here? Is there any justice? Yu returned to the manor with Lian Zhu. The first thing she did was to visit Xiao Inyang. Outside Qingyuan courtyard, Xiao Inyang was furious. Didn't they say Lian Yu would die in the hunting grounds? Xiao Ru's face was pale. She had made a deal with Xiao Inyang beforehand, but she didn't expect that Yu was so capable. At this moment, the door was suddenly pushed open. Yu walked in with LG. The mother and daughter's expressions changed drastically. Looking at Xiao Yinyang's flustered expression, Yu asked politely, without father's permission, Xiao Inyang shouldn't leave the west courtyard. Lian Shiye shouted angrily, how dare you control my mother? I will kill you. LG immediately shielded Yu. With a wave of her hand, Xiao Inyang was slapped hard. But today, Yu didn't want to fight with them. Instead, she wanted to tell them some good news. Xiao Ru was bitten in the head by a tiger during the hunt. She's now crippled. Xiao Inyang stumbled. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Yu sneered, you tried to harm me, and your only daughter almost died. Do you think Xiao Zeng will let you go? Xiao Inyang collapsed to the ground. She looked at Yu's back in horror. This woman was terrifying. She couldn't provoke her. Yu returned to her room and continued embroidering. Her sister's shoes were worn out and needed mending. In this life, she would accompany Lian Shiye and take revenge slowly. On the other side, Long Furen didn't know about the thrilling events at the hunting grounds. She was still questioning the old nanny about the baby she had sent away years ago. The old nanny hurriedly covered Long Furen's mouth, reminding her not to mention that again. Switching the baby girl for a boy was to protect your brother. Long Furen nodded. Then let's keep it a secret. At this moment, there was a crashing sound outside. The nanny quickly ran out. She saw the overturned teacups on the ground. Long Furen's face was pale. Who overheard our conversation? It was actually Lian Zhu's little attendant. He rode his horse and ran outside, disappearing into the chaos of horses. Who was he really? If he wasn't Long Furen's biological son, then wouldn't he and Yu be unrelated? Suddenly, several cold-faced assassins emerged from the forest. Without a word, they attacked him. The little attendant watched as his master was taken away. He hurried back to the manor to ask Yu for help. Despite being stopped by LG, Yu grabbed a dagger and decided to go find him herself. She vowed that whoever harmed her brother would pay the price. Wait, wasn't this supposed to be a light-hearted story? Why has it become so dark? The night forest was filled with a chilling wind. The smell of blood filled the air. Yu looked at the bloodstains on the ground, her heart sinking. Could something have happened to Lian Zhu? But her brother was so clever, perhaps he had left clues. Yu's face was cold as she asked the little attendant for details. The attendant knelt and explained, trembling with fear. He heard the masked men say they couldn't leave him alive. Yu said coldly, I want to see the body. Dead or alive? LG anxiously tried to dissuade Yu from going, fearing she would be in danger. The attendant led the way, visibly terrified. In another part of the forest, Xiao Sha and a masked man were arguing. Hair still useful. Keep him alive, the masked man said coldly. Then he ordered his men to hurry, wanting to bring Lian Zhu back before dawn. Suddenly, a flash of light appeared. LG attacked the assassins with hidden weapons. The masked man was busy dealing with her, so he dropped Lian Zhu on the ground. Lian Zhu quickly regained consciousness. He saw Yu running towards him. The assassins surrounded them. The leader sneered at the two girls, intending to kill all three. But Lian family guards arrived just in time. The two sides fought in the forest. Yu seized the opportunity and gave her brother a dagger. Just as she was about to take him away, she felt someone behind her. Lianju pulled Yu and took a blow for her, urging her to leave quickly. Seeing the killer about to strike again, Yu gritted her teeth. "I'm not leaving you. We live and die together." Suddenly, the masked man received a message from LG. He ordered his men to retreat. Yu quickly bandaged Lianju's wound. The killer's blade was poisoned. They needed to find an antidote quickly. Yu carried Lianju back to the manor. They were seen and pursued. Fortunately, the guards arrived to protect them. But ordinary families are not the target of thieves. LG's entire household, for the month of April, opened a few pieces. The three of them went left. April requested Yuji to remove the soundproof barrier and go to kill the assassin herself. Yuji's mission was to prevent death. "Of course I can't hit you," but Sayu's expression was serious. "If you still consider me your master, take Lianju back quickly. He is not the target. He will be safe staying here." Seeing her so determined, Elzeng had to carry Lianju on her back. Yu deliberately made a move to lure the assassins to another path. The thieves simultaneously chased after her, only to realize they had been tricked. He angrily pinned Jiang Wu against Sayu's house, demanding he hand over Lianju. Yu said that Lianjun had already been sent away. Hearing this, Wei Ji raised his sword to kill him. Seriously, classic CPC, always fails. Reborn female leads dangerous fate, which genius saved him. The assassin, Yu Dao, lost Lianju and was about to be killed on the spot. Facing the swords, Yu calmly said, "If you kill me, you will all die." The leader couldn't understand her meaning and hesitated. Yu pointed to the footprints on the ground. She had seen through the assassin's identity, but not many people can mobilize the hidden guards. "Who wants Lianju dead? If he dies, Ya Huan will immediately inform everyone. Then, everyone involved will be doomed." As a hidden assassin whose identity had been exposed, the leader felt ashamed and didn't dare to attack. He could only tie her up and take her back. At this time, Yu saw Hu Wei's horse nearby and pretended to cooperate with the assassins. While the men were analyzing the situation, Yu grabbed a pot and smashed it. She quickly escaped towards Hong Ma. Seeing this, the assassin raised his sword to kill Yu. Before his sword landed, someone attacked him from behind. He saw the white-haired Feng Yunzeng in front of him. Yu ran towards Jiu Dao. "Feng Yunzeng, you came to save me." At this moment, the other assassins saw their leader dead and decided to finish the job. They couldn't expose their identity. Feng Yunzeng was filled with anger. How dare they attack Yu's people? He single-handedly charged in. After taking a few hits, the assassin died. The remaining few were shocked and immediately fled. Feng Yunzeng won the fight. What we are talking about is Fi Portugal. The lecture is already welcome. There was also a similar incident in Xiangfu. Yu received a small piece of news. Lin Xia laughed in the west courtyard. "Great. That annoying couple is finally going to die. Once they are gone, I will be the most important child in Xiangfu." Xiao Yingyang was also pleased. She wanted to take her daughter to the main hall to see Rong Furen's despair. They bumped into Lianju and LG at the entrance. It seemed Lianju had recovered. LG told everyone that the eldest miss had taken the blame, and she had brought the young master back. Xiao Yingyang mocked, "The dead can't be resurrected." "Furen, you need to calm down." Lao Furen angrily retorted, "Nonsense. There's no news about Yu yet." "What are you talking about?" Lian Xia couldn't help, but add fuel to the fire. Eldest sister hasn't returned. "I'm afraid she's already." Suddenly, a voice interrupted, who said him dead. Wow, someone actually appeared to slap them in the face. How could the vicious sisters win against the reborn female lead? Just as Lin Xia finished speaking, Yu and Feng Yunzeng walked in through the main gate. Rong Furen held her hand, finally relieved. Xiangfu realized that it was the 9th prince who had saved Yu. Lao Furen excitedly knelt down and thanked him profusely. Feng Yunzeng even brought an imperial physician to treat Lianju's injuries. He did all this willingly for Yu. Seeing the prince's favor, Lao Furen realized the depth of the relationship between her daughter and the 9th prince's mansion. Moreover, the other princes treated her well. It seemed Yu was truly blessed. At this time, Xiao Yinyang, who couldn't stand it, claimed that Yu had offended some important figure, which was why the princes were being nice to appease them. Before she could finish, Xiangfu slapped her. Yu wouldn't let anyone bully her. The humiliated Xiao Yinyang could only leave in embarrassment. Lianju was receiving treatment. He told Yu that Lianju had been poisoned with Miaojiang Jiyu. If the poison wasn't removed within 3 days, he would die in agony. Fortunately, they returned in time, and he was now fine. Sayu then asked if his powers had been affected. He shook his head, saying he didn't know. It was obvious he was hiding something. He clearly had something to hide. Sayu asked him to step aside. Lian Zhu happened to come over. Zheng Cha told Sayu about his previous body. He wasn't the child born to the Feng family. Lian Zhu didn't need to protect him anymore. Hearing this, Sayu was shocked. This hadn't happened in her previous life. This assassination must be related to his brother's identity. This matter couldn't be investigated further. LG brought her to the 9th prince's mansion. Sayu had come to find him. Feng Yanzeng was surprised to see her. Yi Feng was shocked. His master had given his heart away, even allowing outsiders into his study. Sayu came to tell Feng Yanzeng about the assassination, and asked him not to pursue it further. The 9th prince thought she had encountered some difficulty, but Sayu politely declined, even turning to leave. Feng Yanzeng grabbed her hand. He would help her no matter what. Why couldn't she trust him completely? Sayu withdrew her hand. After all, they were just friends. Feng Yanzeng looked disappointed, but still kindly reminded her that Xiao Zhenhai was on his way back to the capital. No, big brother, your daughter is in constant danger. Can we not meddle in that woman's affairs? Sayu returned home from the 9th prince's mansion. Yao Huan Qingdai handed her a letter. It turned out that Lian Zhu had left with his luggage. Now that Xiangfu was in chaos, Sayu sighed. Her brother was determined to leave. She could only send people to look for him, hoping he would return one day. Suddenly, cheers erupted outside. It was Xiao Zhenhai's triumphant return. They had defeated the enemy, and the people spontaneously welcomed him. Xiao Zhenhai dismounted his horse, but as soon as he entered, Xiao Ru cried in his arms. She had lost a leg. Xiao Rong lied and said it was Sayu's doing. Xiao Zhenhai was furious. Lian Sayu had also suppressed Xiao Yingyang mercilessly. Xiao Ru hoped her father would kill that woman to avenge them. Xiao Zhenhai had just returned and wouldn't tolerate such slander. He ordered preparations for Lian Sayu's execution 5 days later. Qingbai panicked and ran in. Bad news, miss. The bodies of the remaining assassins have been identified. They are Xiao Yingyang's personal guards. Sayu looked at the situation, calmly. Xiao Zhenhai was arrogant, and would definitely not let her go for Xiao Ru. The Xiao mother and daughter were just his pawns. This game had just begun. Xiao Zhenhai didn't know yet. Suddenly, the door was kicked open. Lian Xia stood there arrogantly. With her new status, she naturally came to find Sayu. Everyone was talking about Lian Xia's arrival. Eldest sister, you know him here. Sayu calmly looked at her. There are only you two. Where is Xiao Yingyang? I haven't settled the score with her yet. Lian Xia was furious. She raised her hand to slap Sayu. Qingbai blocked it. She withdrew her hand and demanded Sayu slap herself. I'm a third-rank official now. Sayu sneered, make me. Lin Xia sneered, my mother is now the official wife. I have the final say. One day, I will make you pay. Sayu coldly replied, who will die is still unknown. Lian Xia wanted to teach Sayu a lesson, but gained nothing, almost biting her tongue in anger. The 4th prince's arrival interrupted their argument. Seriously, who sent him? It's like sending a plague. The 4th prince has really courting death, bullying my female lead. In Xian courtyard, Feng Qianyu personally brought a pot of flowers. He wanted to give the flowers he had cultivated for many years to Sayu. Hearing this, many servants gossiped. The eldest miss and the 4th prince were a match. Lian Xia mocked, I thought eldest sister was hard to get. Turns out she and 4th prince hit it off quickly. Sayu chuckled. Bring it here. As soon as the maid brought the flowers, Sayu mercilessly cut them down, shocking everyone. Feng Qianyu was furious. You dare destroy my flowers in front of me. Lian Xia seized the opportunity to complain. These are 4th prince's precious flowers. You clearly don't respect the royal family. Sayu rolled her eyes. If you like them so much, take the rest. Give them to her. Lian Xia wouldn't touch anything from Lian Ren. Sayu stuffed the flowers into her arms. How can you refuse? Do you also disrespect the royal family? The 4th prince was enraged and left with his people. He had planned to force Lian Sayu to choose between him and humiliation, but she was too unpredictable. Sayu indifferently ordered the maids to throw the flowers away. Don't let this trash dirty the place. Now Lian Xia was stuck with the flowers. Elder sister, you've offended 4th prince. It will affect our family. Sayu didn't care. I've offended him many times. If you're scared, throw the flowers away. The onlookers whispered, "It's a gift for the eldest miss. It's not right for third miss to take them." Lian Xia almost gnashed her teeth, but she had to take the flowers back. It was like shooting herself in the foot. After everyone left, Sayu sat calmly. "Xiao Zhenhai, I wonder what tricks you have up your sleeve." A cold breeze blew, and Feng Yanzeng appeared beside Sayu. "I heard the fourth prince sent you flowers during the day and visited you at night." Sayu smiled and told him about cutting down the flowers, infuriating Feng Qianyu. "He probably wants to kill me now." Feng Yanzeng looked at her seriously. "He can't kill you because he'll kill him first." "Seriously, just because of a flower pot? If it was a bonsai, I'd understand." Feng Yanzeng stroked Sayu's head. "He came with important news. The spies reported that Xiao Zhenhai will make his move in 3 days and hired a famous assassin. He whispered to Sayu, 'He'll give you something that day. Leave everything to me.'" Sayu blushed and stepped back. "Your Highness, you don't have to do this." Feng Yanzeng chuckled. "We are friends. Don't be so polite." He also patted her head, telling her not to overthink and to rest early. Patting her head and pinching her face, "Are they really just friends?" Sayu watched him leave. Touching her head and pinching her cheeks, "Are they really just friends?" Sayu watched him leave. On the third day, at the execution grounds, Xiao Yingyang and Lian Xia arrived dressed up. Lian Xia was confident her beauty would outshine everyone. As Xiao Yingyang and Lian Xia gloated, Sayu asked Qing Dai to lift the curtain. A luxurious carriage with the imperial emblem stopped at the entrance, stunning everyone with its magnificence. The onlookers whispered, "The eldest miscarriage is so grand." It instantly overshadowed the third miscarriage. Xiao Yingyang's face darkened. She wouldn't let Sayu steal the spotlight. Lian Xia aggressively blocked the way. "I'm a third-rank official. Only I am worthy of such a luxurious carriage. You're breaking the rules." Sayu looked helpless and yielded. Lian Xia triumphantly boarded the carriage. "This title is quite useful." Xiao Yingyang smiled smugly. "With you backing us, Lian Sayu will pay for what she did." Before she could finish, a sword pierced the carriage. The carriage came to a halt. A group of assassins swarmed the carriage and dragged Lian Zhu out. They demanded Lian Sayu show herself. Xiao Yingyang screamed, "You've got the wrong person. We're not Lian Sayu. She's in the carriage ahead." The stupid assassins immediately went after Sayu's carriage. Lian Xia was prepared and pulled out a hidden weapon. The white-haired young man also descended from the sky. As always, no one could touch Sayu. Seriously, can this vicious female lead be any more embarrassing? She wanted to show off, but ended up witnessing a large-scale arrest scene as soon as she got off the carriage. The general's mansion was surrounded. Xiao Zhenhai greeted the guests while ordering his men to secure the area. He assured the general that his elite guards would ensure Lian Sayu's death. He sneered, mobilizing an army for one woman. "She must be worth it." A servant announced, "The Shangfu's eldest miss has arrived." There were onlookers everywhere. "Ah, Sayu has become even more beautiful. I heard she saved Lian Zhu single-handedly. She's truly amazing." Sayu was temporarily safe from General Xiao Zhenhai's attacks for the rest of the day. Xiao Zhenhai's acting was exaggerated and dramatic. He glared at Sayu with a questioning look, but Sayu remained calm. He then called for Sayu. "How could you be here? Xiao Zhenhai's men haven't caught you yet," he thought. "Quickly, have someone bring Xiao Lang back down," he ordered. Sayu's late arrival was intentional. "Seeing my cousin like this, I feel sorry for her. I hope she recovers soon. When it comes to acting, Sayu isn't as good as her," she thought. A servant ran into the main hall. "Master, the carriage has arrived, but Miss Sayu is nowhere to be seen." Sayu acted as if she was surprised. Perhaps the carriage is too luxurious, and she's reluctant to come down. She deliberately walked outside to check. Sayu was indeed there by the carriage. Sayu asked loudly, "The general's clothes have arrived. Sister, why haven't you come down yet?" A weak voice came from inside the carriage, "I'm not feeling well. Leave me alone." Knowing something was wrong, the young general wanted to have the carriage taken to the back courtyard, but Sayu immediately stopped him and ordered a servant to pull Sayu out. Concubine Xiao tried to intervene, but was warned by Sayu. "You're now a respected concubine, you should act accordingly." Concubine Xiao didn't know what to do. If this continued, her daughter would become a laughingstock. Suddenly, Lian Xia stumbled out of the carriage, disheveled and covered in filth. The onlookers gasped as a foul odor emanated from her. Lian Xia was on the verge of collapse. She couldn't let anyone know she had been assaulted by an assassin. Sayu, feigning concern, held her. Even if you can't find Mao Fang, you can't lose your composure. Everyone now knew Lian Xia had been assaulted. The dignified young lady was now a laughingstock. Xiao Zhenhai was furious. Have you gone mad? Are you getting bolder recently? No, I didn't expect ancient people's tastes to be so peculiar, Sayu thought. The beautiful Lian Xia was unexpectedly assaulted. The second most beautiful woman in the capital, now reeked of, gossipers whispered. General Xiao wanted to find a hole to hide in. Sayu stepped forward, pretending to comfort Lian Xia. Everyone, please don't stare. Let's not make her feel worse. Lian Xia, enraged, pointed at Sayu. It must have been you. I'll change carriages because of you. Before she could finish, she was pushed to the ground by General Xiao. Concubine Xiao rushed to her daughter's side. Xiao Zhenhai, look what happened. Get her to the back courtyard. You've embarrassed us enough. Lian Xia, what were you thinking? At this moment, Feng Yi arrived. He greeted the general and pinched his nose. Why is there such a stench at the general's manor? Xiao Zhenhai could only glare at Lian Xia. Lian Xia became the laughingstock of the capital. Concubine Xiao hugged her daughter tightly. After such a scandal, Lian Xia's chances of becoming empress were ruined. Feng Qianyu suggested they go and change. But the man in the carriage wasn't actually a man, it was Sayu's maid, Sai Yuan. Sayu had instructed Sai Yuan, if it's fourth prince or third miss, I'll take care of it. Don't let them ruin this show. She let Sai Yuan handle the situation. The farce ended. Sayu sent LG to handle the aftermath. After suffering such humiliation, Lian Xia wouldn't let it go easily. Lian Xia was fuming in her room. Her carefully crafted image was ruined, and she blamed Sayu. She grabbed Concubine Xiao's hand. We must find a way to get revenge. Concubine Xiao calmed her down. Let's discuss this with the general. Lian Xia had lost all reason, wanting Sayu to be humiliated in front of the princes. She believed she could use this incident to her advantage. Just then, she overheard Xiaolang's mother talking about his lost leg. Lian Xia saw an opportunity to collaborate with Sayu, but Xiaoru mocked her. When will you learn to stop fighting with Sayu? You always end up humiliated. Facing the general's daughter, Lian Xia could only endure it. She assured Xiaoru she had a plan to ruin Sayu's reputation. Xiaoru finally acknowledged her, suggesting she arrange a wet nurse for Lin Siyuan. Isn't that little brat worth billion? Sayu thought, it's like a transmigration espionage novel. I wonder which idiot this time. Sayu attended General Xiao's banquet. Feng Wanye and Feng Qianyu were also present. As Sayu whispered to Feng Wanye, Feng Yanzeng interrupted them. He pulled Sayu away. The 8th prince was left fuming. Does Sayu really like the 9th prince? As they walked away, they encountered Xiao Zhenhai. Feng Yanzeng remained polite to him, but his eyes were cold. Xiao Zhenhai broke out in a cold sweat. He left hurriedly, but he couldn't shake off the encounter. She's just a favored concubine's daughter, what tricks could she have? He wondered. Feng Yanzeng was deep in thought. Xiao Zhenhai offended me earlier. Sayu's encounter was also orchestrated by him. This matter could be beneficial. Many thanks, General Xiao, he thought. Sayu tugged at his sleeve. Feng Yanzeng smiled and led her to a quieter area. The Dark Guards reported that Feng Qianyu is collaborating with Xiao Zhenhai, he said. He always pretends to be aloof and uninvolved. Then well, let the Emperor know about his secret dealings. Once his ambition is exposed, the Emperor will never trust him again. LG arrived with news. Lian Xia and Xiaoru have joined forces. They plan to frame Sayu. Hearing this, Sayu smiled. In that case, let's expose their plot and drag Feng Qianyu down with them. Let's send them all to their doom. Feng Yanzeng stood beside her, his eyes cold. It's time to teach these people a lesson. Lian Xia and Xiaoru shuddered. They had chosen the wrong targets. As soon as Sayu returned to the banquet, a maid spilled wine on her. She insisted on taking Sayu to clean up. Sayu followed her without protest. The maid, Ya Huan, appeared concerned but sneered inwardly. She thought Sayu was foolish. She led Sayu into a bedroom. As Sayu began to undress, Ya Huan offered to help. She pretended to clean the stain, but her real intention was to intimidate Sayu. As soon as the door closed, Yuji rushed in. Sayu quickly changed into the clothes Yuji brought. The show is about to begin. I hope my dear sister won't disappoint me, she thought. Isn't this prince too reckless? Someone whispered. He slept with the general's daughter. Where does that leave her father's face? An hour later, Ya Huan returned with the cleaned clothes. Lian Xia nodded in satisfaction. Sayu was now in the next room, only wearing her undergarments. It was her turn to act. She ordered Juan to bring the man. Soon, a foul smell filled the air. A pockmarked man with a disfigured face walked in. Lian Xia almost vomited. Juan quickly explained that he was a mentally challenged man from a brothel, chosen according to their plan. Lian Xia led the man to the room, planning to reward him handsomely afterward. The man leered at Sai Yu. Lian Xia watched with a cruel smile. After being defiled by this man, Sai Yu would have no face left. The man's eyes lit up as he saw Sai Yu. Sai Yu turned around, pretending to be startled, and ordered the man to leave. Before the man could react, LG whipped him. Then another person was brought in. LG handed the woman clothes. But Sai Yu had other plans. She wasn't going to let them get away with this. She had LG light the aphrodisiac incense. Its effect was powerful, causing anyone who inhaled it to lose control. Meanwhile, Feng Qianyu received a message from Lian Xia, inviting him to the back courtyard. She said it concerned Sai Yu. Feng Qianyu hesitated. The ninth prince urged him. The banquet isn't over yet. It wouldn't be good for fourth brother to leave early. His words worked. Feng Qianyu followed Juan. The ninth prince sneered. This trip will ruin his reputation. He won't come back unscathed. Juan led Feng Qianyu to the back courtyard. Lian Xia was standing outside Xiaoru's courtyard. Seeing Feng Qianyu, she frowned. Why are you here? Feng Qianyu asked impatiently, didn't you call me? Before they could react, they heard a woman's cries from a room. Lian Xia was overjoyed. The man must have succeeded. She wanted Feng Qianyu to see Sai Yu's disgrace. Feng Qianyu rushed into the room. He was embraced by a woman and inhaled the aphrodisiac incense, losing control. He began to assault the woman. Caution! NSFW content ahead, someone commented. The man and woman engaged in a passionate encounter. The cunning Lian Xia, thinking she had succeeded, prepared to enjoy the show. But she was brutally beaten. It was Sai Yu. I learned my lesson last time. One hit is not enough. Juan brought the man. How are you here? Lian Xia stammered. Sai Yu sneered. Do you think him a fool? You've played this trick so many times. Don't you think it's getting old? Lian Xia urged Feng Qianyu to check on Sai Yu. Sai Yu reminded him. Sai Yu must be enjoying herself right now. Looking at the man's muscular back, she felt a cruel pleasure. This couple was deeply in love in their past lives. I wonder what kind of drama they'll create now, she thought. Lian Xia's screams echoed. The servants thought something was wrong. Xiao Zhenhai rushed to the scene. Feng Yunzeng, knowing Sai Yu's plan had succeeded, led the guests to the room. Lian Xia was furious as she watched the couple on the bed. The fourth prince was on top of Xiaoru. He now regretted his actions. He was the perfect match for the princess, but he couldn't back down now. Lian Xia was about to leave, when the door burst open. Feng Yunzeng entered. Indescribable sounds filled the room. They saw the fourth prince, on top of Xiaoru. Are you blind? Sai Yu exclaimed. Sai Yu feigned shock. Feng Yunzeng covered her eyes. You're too young for this. Then he shot a dart, at the fourth prince's shoulder. The man finally regained his senses. Feng Qianyu had no idea what had happened. He realized the situation, when he saw himself naked with someone. Feng Yi pinched his nose. Sai Yu has quite the taste. The young Miss leg injury hasn't even healed yet. Feng Qianyu realized the woman was Xiaoru. He felt a chill run down his spine. He had slept with a disfigured woman. But there was no turning back. Xiao Zhenhai was furious seeing his daughter defiled. Feng Qianyu shifted the blame. Why is Juan here? He kicked Juan, demanding answers. It's not my fault. Who wouldn't want to sleep with the fourth prince? What does being a scapegoat matter? A knife was held to her throat. She stammered. Third Miss told me to invite the fourth prince. Lian Xia kicked her. You worthless idiot. Feng Yunzeng interjected. I was the first one invited, but third Miss was already in the room. Lian Xia panicked. She pointed at Sai Yu. It was all Sai Yu's plan. Our fourth prince was framed. The crowd began to gossip. Isn't this a serious crime? Framing a royal is punishable by death, but Sai Yu remained calm. Even if third sister dislikes me, she shouldn't resort to such malicious fabrication. Lian Xia, losing control, revealed everything about Juan staining Sai Yu's clothes and Sai Yu changing in the next room. Sai Yu innocently replied, I never set foot in that room. Lian Xia sneered, you're such a liar. You even have a witness. As long as Xiaoru testifies, Sai Yu will be doomed. But Xiaoru simply replied, no. I didn't see anything. I don't know. Lian Xia grabbed her hand. Cousin, you saw everything. Xiao Ru interrupted impatiently. I said no, means no. Lian Xia finally understood. Xiao Ru wanted to marry the fourth prince. Yu smiled. As expected, Xiao Ru would turn against her. Marrying the fourth prince was a good opportunity for her. The onlookers realized Lian Xia was lying. Lian Xia screamed, it was me. I was the one who was framed. It should be Yu. Suddenly, Xiao Zhenhai slapped her. You've embarrassed our family. Lian Xia tried to defend herself, but Feng Yanzeng stopped her. You tried to frame someone and now you want to hit them. Feng Wangye looked at Lian Xia with disgust. As a lady from a respectable family, behaving like this is shameful. Lian Xia collapsed on the ground, filled with hatred. Why is there always someone protecting Yu? Yu addressed the crowd. I'll ask father to discipline third sister when we return. Are all these princes suckers? Someone whispered. The fourth prince just had dinner, and now he has to take a wife home. The eighth prince could only lament his misfortune. Xiao Zhenhai sent someone to confront the fourth prince. Did you think you could just sleep with my daughter and walk away? Feng Qianyu could only endure it for now. Once the truth was revealed, he would resolve this scalding crisis. Siyu's face lit up. Then I must congratulate cousin in advance. Feng Qianyu stared at her. He had always been the one calculating others. He never expected to be calculated by Siyue. Although he knew she did it, why did his heart ache so much? His Siyue and ninth prince looked at each other. Feng Qianyu secretly vowed, he absolutely couldn't marry a girl like Duan Sui. He had to find a way to reject this marriage. Zhong Yinxing and Siyue walked to one side. The two of them had already calculated that as long as Feng Qianyu still wanted an alliance with the general's manor, even if Xiao Rong was a hot potato, he would have to swallow it. Siyue sighed. Mother Xiao Ru was too naive. Even if she could marry Feng Qianyu, would she be happy? Seeing the girl's sadness, Zhong Yinxing couldn't help but glance at Siyu's eyes. Just as he was about to say something, he was interrupted by Ba Yi. He insisted on pulling Siyue aside for a private talk. If Siyue didn't agree, he wouldn't leave. Zhong Yanzing's face turned cold. I'll only give you half a stick of incense's time. The two stopped beside the garden's pavilion. Ba Yi asked aggrievedly. We're friends who faced life and death together. Why are you suddenly so cold to me? Siyu's expression turned serious. Her marriage to Xingfei would harm Zhong Yinxing. In the future, they would definitely be enemies, destined not to be friends. She could only tell Ba Yi faintly, you'll thank me later. Being rejected like this by the person he admired, anyone would be heartbroken. Ba Yi spoke harshly before turning and running away. Lian Siyue, I will never look back for you. At this time, Zhong Yinxing asked what had happened. Siyue told him everything about her marriage. It wasn't Cheng Xiang's idea to make her a spy in the palace. Xingfei was the one who kidnapped the underground people that day. Zhong Yinxing reached out and gently touched Siyu's face. Don't worry about others, you still have me. Siyue blushed and stepped back. I'll find a way to break off the engagement. Luckily, she was caught by Feng Yinxing. The relatives who came to visit the young miss happened to see this scene. Siyue quickly pushed him away, and her face flushed red. Feng Yinxing secretly applauded himself. Siyue didn't push him away this time, meaning she still liked him. Their young master was smiling like a fool. Yefeng shook his head helplessly. Love is a scary thing. Miss, you must protect yourself outside. That Bian Taija is such a loser. He couldn't get her love, so he wants to ruin her halfway. How disgusting. Feng Qianyu left Jiang Juanfu and began his pursuit. He finally caught up to Siyu's carriage. Yu Jilin was waiting for him. Seeing Siyue, his eyes lit up. Feng Qianyu disregarded his manners and roared at him. Was it you who hurt Xiao Rong? Siyue acted confused. Fourth prince, what are you talking about? I don't understand. The man lost his patience and directly stopped Siyu's carriage. You clearly know I only want to spend the rest of my life with you. Why do you keep pushing me away? Looking at his fake sorrowful expression, Siyue sneered inwardly. Anyone who didn't know better would think Feng Qianyu was deeply in love. But he was a heartless playboy, and she couldn't trust him. It was just that Feng Qianyu made the first move. Siyue pushed him away, using a marriage to gain the general's manor's support. Isn't it a good deal? After all, you can't have both fish and bear's paw. Feng Qianyu's eyes widened in disbelief. Even if I marry Xiao Rong, I won't let you go. After saying that, he turned and left. Yu Jilin watched him go downstairs. Let's take the risky path together then. I will step on Feng Qianyu's corpse and climb to the top. He immediately calmed himself and rushed back to the city with LVG. Lian Xia was already causing a big fuss in Xian Pavilion. Xiao Rong, that bitch, dared to betray him. Concubine Xiao shook her head. Her daughter was still too impulsive. Now that they had lost their value, her daughter would become Xiaorong's scapegoat. Lian Xia tightly grasped Wu Qian's hand. If it weren't for Lian Xiyue, the fifth prince's consort position would definitely be hers. Concubine Xiao was still somewhat clever. She could only advise her daughter that Lian Xiyue was a terrifying person. They shouldn't provoke her for now, but wait for an opportunity to kill her. In the secret room of the ninth prince's manor, Feng Yinxing arranged for Yefeng to secretly investigate Lian Xia's background. The old nanny reminded him to sleep and urged him to get married. Other princes already had children, but their master, what kind of girl did he like? When Feng Yinxing mentioned Xiyue, his expression softened. He looked cold when he didn't smile, but when he smiled, the world brightened. The old nanny happily urged him to pursue her. It seemed their master had someone he liked. She also told him, to make a girl happy, he should give her clothes. Feng Yinxing's eyes lit up. This time, he wouldn't just give a piece of clothing. He would give the whole shop. While Xiyue was shopping with Qing Dai, Lian Xia had been quiet recently, but it was unusual. He wanted to see what his third sister could do. A letter from the owner of Jingxi Qingi cloth shop arrived, inviting Xiyue to visit. Xiyue didn't dare delay and went with Qing Dai. She also discovered Lian Xia was following them. Upon arriving at the shop, Xiyue was personally greeted by the owner, Molin Yang. The noble ladies and misses at the door were stunned. What was this girl's identity? Not only did she not have to queue, but the owner personally welcomed her. Xiyue was about to follow Molin Yang. When she saw Lian Xia also arrive, Lian Xia pointed at a dress and exclaimed, "Oh my god, this dress is so beautiful." Molin Yang apologetically explained that the dress was reserved for a noblewoman, but if the miss wanted it, they could immediately make another one. Xiyu's eyes flickered. She asked the owner to help promote this dress in the capital. Then she went upstairs. Lian Xia also wanted to go upstairs to eavesdrop, but was stopped by Chancellor's at the stairs. "Lian Xia, stop right there. Get out of my way. Do you know who I am?" Chancellor sneered, "Aren't you the third-rank county mistress? But in our shop, everyone has to queue." Lian Xia shouted at the girl walking upstairs. Chancellor rolled her eyes. "That young lady is the owner's guest, of course she's different from you." The commotion attracted other customers. The gossiping crowd started chattering. "Isn't that Miaogizi's county mistress? She's trying to use her power to suppress others, how shameless." Lian Xia didn't dare to force her way through and could only hide downstairs, secretly waiting for Xiyue to come down. Xiyue came down, and learned that the person behind the huge Jingxi Qingi cloth shop was Feng Yinxing, and the owner was his subordinate. Xiyue secretly admired him in her heart. Ninth Prince was secretly helping her. In her past life, she had dragged him down. Feng Yinxing looked at her serious face. He knew Xiyue must be thinking about her past life again. She couldn't change anything, but Xiyue felt empowered. She wondered if he knew about her rebirth. Feng Yinxing lifted her chin, and was about to kiss her, when Yefeng burst in. Under Feng Yinxing's murderous gaze, Yefeng threw down something, and ran away. Feng Yinxing picked up the item and gave it to Xiyue. Xiyue looked down and saw that it was the deed to Jingxi Qingi cloth shop. Had he given her the whole shop? "Didn't I tell you many times not to play mind games with him? Now, the lives of the Wei family are at stake." After returning from Jingxi Qingi cloth shop, Xiyue invited the capital's noble ladies to a tea party at Cheng Xiang's manor. Qing Dai didn't understand why she was doing this. Just as she was about to ask, Lian Xia barged in. "Elder sister, you didn't even tell me about the tea party. Are you afraid it'll steal your limelight?" She walked in proudly. The haute couture dress from Jingxi Qingi cloth shop attracted everyone's attention. Xiyue observed her coldly. She was finally showing her true colors. This dress was the most expensive one in Jingxi Qingi cloth shop, and it was a custom-made piece that no one else could buy. Xiyue casually reminded her, "Third sister, you shouldn't wear this dress." Her words attracted everyone's attention. Lian Xia immediately rebuked Xiyue, "I'm a third-rank county mistress, you must kneel and apologize to me." Everyone looked at each other. Was Xiyue inferior to her? Lian Xia's rank was indeed higher than hers, but Xiyue remained unfazed. "I usually don't kneel to you. It's you who should show respect." Lian Xia couldn't stand being contradicted by someone of lower status, and immediately slapped Xiyue, but Xiyue caught her hand. This woman is truly unbearable. Just as the two were in a stalemate, Princess Angua suddenly arrived. Xiyue bowed with the others, but she was looking forward to the upcoming show. Even Princess Angua wouldn't recognize the altered dress on Lian Xia. She had deliberately provoked Lian Xia yesterday. As expected, The shop owner immediately recognized the dress. Princess Angua always looked down on others. Today, Lian Xia wouldn't get away easily. Cheng Xiangfu quickly knelt on the ground, not knowing what to do. The princess said sarcastically, "Cheng Xiang, you really don't take me seriously." Cheng Xiang knelt on the ground, not knowing what to do. The princess continued, "For 11th princess birthday, I specially ordered a dress, but someone stole it." Lian Xia's scalp went numb. Was the dress she was wearing the one Princess Angua had ordered? She trembled and wanted to escape. Siyue seized the opportunity and grabbed her. This caught the princess' attention. Princess Anguo's face darkened. The previous screen incident hadn't been resolved yet, and now she was being provoked again. Lian Xia's legs went weak, and she knelt on the ground. Cheng Xiang kicked Lian Xia. He also wanted to send her to a brothel. Couldn't ancient times achieve freedom of dressing? Lian Xia knelt on the ground, begging for mercy. She didn't expect the dress she stole belonged to Princess Angua. Cheng Xiang kicked her over. Ji Ming apologized to the princess. This account would be settled later. Princess Angua thought Cheng Hua was too kind. After all, his good daughter had spoken arrogantly, forbidding anyone in Jingcheng from wearing the same dress as her. Lian Xia cried and begged for mercy, saying she was just talking nonsense. A glint of coldness flashed in Princess Anguo's eyes. "Since that's the case, I'll teach you a lesson. Lian Xia, from now on, you're not allowed to wear any fox fur. And at your wedding, you're not allowed to ride a white horse." Lian Xia's arrogance was instantly extinguished. Concubine Xiao rushed forward to plead for her daughter. Princess Angua didn't recognize her. She heard this woman was Cheng Xiang's concubine. "A lowly concubine, how dare you speak to me? Someone, teach her some manners." Concubine Xiao was slapped. Seeing the mother and daughter still wanting to argue, Cheng Xiang immediately ordered them to be dragged away. He even asked the princess to take Lian Xia back to the palace and lock her up. Princess Angua was furious. How dare Cheng Xiangfu look down on her? However, Lian Xia dared to retort. She was a county mistress appointed by the emperor, and couldn't be humiliated at will. Hearing this, the princess was amused. "Even my dog was given a title by the emperor. I wonder if your county mistress title was also given by the emperor." Lian Xia's face flushed red. The title she had worked so hard for was not even as good as the princess dog. Princess Angua didn't bother to continue arguing with her, and immediately ordered her to be tied up. Lian Xia glared at Siyue. "You set me up. Lian Siyue, I won't let you go." Seeing her daughter being taken away, Concubine Xiao knelt before Cheng Xiang and begged him to save her. Cheng Xiang was furious. They had completely embarrassed him. Seeing Cheng Xiang's bias, Concubine Xiao immediately accused Siyue of being involved in the dress incident. She claimed Siyue had instigated the princess and caused Lian Xia trouble. Could it be that her eldest daughter had deliberately set her up? Siyue spread her hands. "How would I know whose dress it is?" Cheng Xiang was present. Whose words would he believe? The crowd also thought Concubine Xiao was framing Siyue. Cheng Xiang immediately ordered Concubine Xiao to be dragged down. He gave her 20 lashes in front of everyone. Now, Concubine Xiao and Lian Xia were completely ruined. Siyue's expression remained calm. She would watch her enemies fall into the abyss, and would never show mercy. However, there were still some people with a sense of justice. Two grown men dragging a young girl away in broad daylight, and no one stepped forward to help. Ever since Lian Xia offended Princess Angua, old Madam valued Siyue even more. Even when going out to burn incense, she insisted on Siyue accompanying her. Just as Siyue and old Madam were about to go out, someone crying stopped them. Qingdai recognized him as 11th Princess Eunuch. Siyue immediately got out of the carriage to check. The eunuch was kneeling on the ground and crying, "My princess is missing. Please help me find her." Siyue comforted him while asking for details. It turned out 11th Princess wanted to see Lian Ju, so she sneaked out of the palace with the eunuch, but in the time it took to buy her a tang hulu, she disappeared. Siyue arranged for Qingdai to go with old Madam first, while she and LVG stayed behind to search for the princess. Fortunately, they had just lost sight of the princess, so she should still be nearby. Suddenly, a whimpering sound came from a nearby alley. Siyue looked over and saw a flash of a silk skirt. She immediately chased after it. On the other side, Cheng Xiangfu. Two vagabonds were holding Shi and dragging her on the ground. This little girl, Shi, wearing gold and jade, must be a young miss from a wealthy family. This time, they can make a fortune. Shi stood in the dilapidated temple, unafraid. She opened her mouth and addressed the two men. "I am the princess. You've gone too far." The bandits burst out laughing. If she's the princess, then I'm the emperor. Princess Shi knew these scoundrels didn't recognize her. She could only let them take her purse. The scarred bandit looked at Shi's fair skin, his wicked heart stirring. This proud young lady is truly tempting. As he spoke, he reached out and lightly stroked her chin. The princess was immediately disgusted, seeing the scarred bandit about to make another move. A wooden stick suddenly struck his head. Shi's tears welled up. When she looked back, she saw Sayu. Sayu smiled. Today, I was really close to being useless. Then, she turned and walked towards Sayu. Sayu pulled her up protectively. The scarred bandit felt even more excited. This little lady is quite feisty. She dared to come here alone. As he spoke, the other bandits surrounded them. Sayu calmly assessed the situation. She whispered to Shi, "Don't worry. I've already sent someone to inform Zhu Huangzi." The scarred bandit laughed mockingly. What backup? I'm not scared. Sayu stood in front of the princess. She took out a golden token from her body and held it in front of the men. I am Xiang Pudinu. Who dares touch me? Wait, is this man's mouth magically effective? She spoke her doom into existence. In the end, she successfully talked herself to death. Sayu threw the genuine token to the men, letting them take a good look. The jade and gold token was indeed not something ordinary people could possess. The bandits hesitated and started to retreat. Sayu seized the opportunity to persuade them. If you let us go now, Xiang Fu will definitely reward you handsomely. The scarred bandit was unwilling to let go of this big fish. He grabbed Shi's neck and threatened. Have you ever seen anyone who saw my face and lived to tell the tale? Shi understood. For the sake of their daughter's reputation, they definitely couldn't let this matter get out. But in her heart, she swore to make these people pay dearly. But the scarred bandit then heard that Xiang Fu's enemy, Yishi Qianshan, was also among the bandits. How could they let go of such a person? It was better to capture them and sell them off. Shi was truly scared this time. She desperately asked Sayu, what now? Sayu's face remained calm. She asked back, did you really think I came here alone? In fact, Sayu had long prepared for this. She could only stall for time. The man laughed. If the miss has brought people, then let's see them. He felt a sharp pain in his chest as a figure appeared behind him, accompanied by a dog. Seeing the newcomer, the other bandits turned to flee, but they were all killed by the dog-wielding man. But he was not sent by the ninth prince. The dog-wielding man picked up Shi and handed her to Sayu. His build and voice felt very familiar to Sayu. Shi, with a prince's demeanor, asked the man to reveal his identity. She insisted on knowing who he was, but the dog-wielding man still refused to reveal himself. Suddenly, a hidden weapon flew towards Sayu. Watch out, miss. The dog-wielding man only had time to shout, Jijia, be careful. The old woman who threw the weapon was instantly knocked down. The attacker's skill was impressive. Someone with such internal strength was not to be trifled with. Feng Yanzeng then rushed to Sayu's side. He worriedly asked if Sayu was injured. Shi complained, ninth brother, why don't you ask me? I was the one kidnapped. Feng Yanzeng scolded her, if you hadn't sneaked out, none of this would have happened. Shi felt wronged. She could only vent her anger on the remaining bandits. She ordered the guards to take them back to the palace and torture them. The bandits who were just arrogant were now crying and begging for mercy. The guards kindly advised them, it's not easy to stay alive. Learn your lesson. Just then, the girl who had been saved turned to the dog-wielding man. Do you know what it feels like to worry about someone? The man hesitated for a few seconds and only uttered two words, heart pain. Princess Shi thought this man was just like Lianju, taciturn, and like an old man. So, she broke her jade pendant in half, and forcefully gave him one piece. This is a reward for saving me. Suddenly, the man became tense because Sayu was walking towards them. He was about to leave when Sayu stopped him. The man's hand holding the dog trembled. Could she have recognized him? Sayu pointed at the bloodstain on his clothes and asked, why did you call me Jijie just now when you protected me? The man hurriedly explained that she had misheard. Looking at the young man's back, Sayu was certain he was Lianju. Could it be that he still couldn't accept the fact of his rebirth? Feng Yanzeng saw Sayu's serious expression and asked her what was wrong. He knew that Lu Linan was very important to her. He just didn't know who was more important, him or this person. Sayu blushed and stammered, you're different. Shi, as the third wheel, almost choked on the dog food and protested. Feng Yanzeng chuckled. There was nothing he could do. He could only take everyone back to Xiang Fu. Half an hour later, Shi was brought back to Xiang Fu. Feng Yanzeng's eyes were fixed on Sayu. Sayu asked uncomfortably, why are you looking at me like that? Feng Yanzeng put away his usual playful demeanor, took Saiyu's hand, and said seriously, "Don't be so reckless in saving people in the future. Your safety is the most important. Fortunately, you weren't injured this time." Saiyu blushed, her heart racing uncontrollably. Just as the two were creating sparks, Shi barged in, interrupting them. Seeing their clasped hands, she exclaimed dramatically. Saiyu hurriedly explained that they were just talking. The princess immediately retorted, "Does chatting require holding hands? No wonder ninth brother thought of Saiyu when I was in danger. Saiyu must want to be ninth brother's wife." Saiyu blushed even more. Feng Yanzeng asked the guards to take the princess back. Shi rolled her eyes. She only asked 2 questions, and her brother already felt distressed for Saiyu. Truly biased, Feng Yanzeng glared at her, urging her to leave quickly. Shi made plans with Saiyu to go out together during the Lantern Festival. Then she could go out and play with the third princess. "I'll leave now and not disturb your loved other time," she said teasingly. Saiyu, blushing, couldn't stay any longer and practically ran out of the room. Feng Yanzeng smiled. So, everyone could see his affection for Saiyu. Have you ever fought for someone's life? Even if they don't love you, even if they want to kill you. After Lian Shiwei was taken away, the house became much quieter. Saiyu sat in the courtyard, lost in thought. She was startled when Zitong suddenly appeared after a long absence. Zitong teased her, "Are you thinking about your lover?" Saiyu, both embarrassed and annoyed, chased after Zitong. Just as they were playing around, a sharp voice shouted from outside the courtyard, "Lian Saiyu, get out here." Zitong stopped abruptly. It was Lian Shiya's voice. She was back. Lian Shiwei had survived Bo Prince's harsh training. Now, all she could think about was Saiyu, and she couldn't wait to tear her apart. Lian Shiwei stood in the courtyard, smashing pots and pans. She even destroyed the flowers Saiyu had carefully cultivated. Wei Huan tried to persuade her to calm down, but Lian Shiwei pushed her away. Could it be that even a maid could bully her now? As she said this, she raised her hand to hit Wei Huan again. Saiyu walked out of the room and asked coldly, "What did you learn at the princess residence?" Seeing Saiyu, Lian Shiya's eyes burned with hatred. She rushed over to attack her. "If it weren't for this bitch, I wouldn't have suffered so much at the princess residence." Saiyu effortlessly caught her wrist. She kindly reminded her, "The princess teachings are for your own good. If people knew how the princess tormented you, would you still be able to stand here?" At this moment, Xiao Inyang arrived, looking different from her usual gentle demeanor. She not only slapped Lian Shiwei to sober her up, but also made her apologize to Saiyu. Lian Shiwei could only grit her teeth and force out an apology. Then, Xiao Inyang politely led her away. Saiyu watched their retreating figures, her expression complex. It seemed that this mother-daughter pair had changed their tactics. On the other side, Lian Shiwei threw herself at her mother, crying and complaining. "Why didn't you let me kill that bitch? Why did you make me apologize?" Xiao Inyang angrily told her to shut up. "After all this suffering, you still haven't learned anything. Are you really that stupid?" Harsh words hit the hardest. Lian Shiwei was stunned into silence. Then she burst into tears and complained about the humiliation and beatings she suffered at the princess residence. If she didn't make Saiyu pay for this, she wouldn't be able to live with herself. Xiao Inyang comforted her daughter. "It's not wise to confront Lian Saiyu directly right now, but when Xu Fei returns for her visit, we'll have the chance to make Lian Saiyu suffer. How can a soft swan feather become a deadly weapon? Can a loser really overturn the winner?" Lian Shiya's face lit up with excitement. "So there's really a chance." Xiao Inyang maintained a mysterious smile. "As long as Xu Fei gives Lian Saiyu a gift made of swan feathers during her return visit, she won't be able to escape her fate." Lian Shiwei hurriedly asked, "But how can we make her fall into the trap?" Xiao Inyang smiled confidently. "I've already planted someone by Lian Saiyu's side. I didn't expect Lian Saiyu to go to Ziyuan. After all, who wouldn't want a loyal maid?" Lian Shiwei then remembered the maid who took care of the flowers and plants. She was her person. Perfect. Saiyu did indeed find Wei Huan scolding Xiaozu. In order to reward her for protecting the flowers, Saiyu made Xiaozu her personal maid. Xiaozu knelt on the ground, pretending to be surprised and grateful, but inwardly, she sneered. This young miss was so gullible. A little acting was all it took to fool her. Xiaozu put on the fine clothes of a personal maid and returned to the main hall. Saiyu was pondering what gifts to send to Xu Fei and the 13th princess upon their return. Zitong suggested that Saiyu embroider a cloak for Xu Fei. Xiaozu seized the opportunity and suggested, if Miss gives the princess a personally embroidered cloak, it would show her sincerity. Yu thought her suggestion was good. It would be even better if there was a swan feather embroidery competition. Xiaozu's eyes flickered. Swan feathers are rare and precious, befitting the princess status. Yu pondered in silence, tapping her fingers. In the end, she agreed and even instructed Xiaozu to find swan feathers. Seeing the plan going smoothly, Xiaozu happily went to inform Xiao Yinyang. She hoped that Lian Shiye would suffer more. Just then, the door was pushed open. Xiaozu presented the swan feather cloak to Xiao Yinyang. Xiao Yinyang's expression turned serious. The 13th princess is the emperor's most beloved daughter, but she was born with a strange illness. Contact with swan feathers can trigger her illness. If the emperor finds out who gave her the swan feathers, he won't spare them. This is a closely guarded secret, and outsiders definitely don't know about it. Fortunately, my brother told me this news. Otherwise, there would be no way to get rid of Lian Xiyu. Lian Shiye worriedly asked, but Xu Fei is Lian Xiyu's older sister. What if she intentionally covers up the matter? Xiao Yinyang already had a plan. As soon as the incident occurred, she would spread the news and inform General Xiao. By then, even if Lian Xiyu had 100 mouths, she wouldn't be able to explain herself. She would end up rotting in jail. Pay attention. This woman has prepared 2 identical cloaks. She's planning to turn the tables. She'll let Xiao Yinyang know what it means to be outmaneuvered. Yu asked Zitong to wrap the swan feather cloak, and then called Xiaozu in. Zitong hesitated. Miss, are you sure you want to keep her by your side? Yu gently stroked the swan feather cloak. If I don't let them taste some sweetness, how can I catch the bigger fish? We can't let down the good show that's about to happen. Although Zitong didn't understand what her mistress meant, she still obeyed and left. Yu muttered to herself, since I was reborn, I've encountered countless schemes. The princess tip last time was quite helpful. It was kind of that little girl to tell me the news. This time, I wonder if it will be Lian Shiye or me who will have the upper hand. Soon, Xiaozu returned. Yu glanced at the tray. Xiaozu lowered the tray and retreated. Yu thought to herself, with such a simple trick, you really think you can fool me? Let me show you what real scheming is. Yu gently held Xiaozu's hand and asked with concern, did Lian Shiye hurt you in the past few days? Xiaozu was relieved. This fool finally remembered to ask. She was already deemed a traitor. Seeing no injuries on her face, Yu continued, tomorrow, Xu Fei will return. You can deliver the cloak to the princess. Xiaozu was overjoyed. She knew that the cloak would harm the princess. Xiaozu was ecstatic. She knew that the cloak would be disastrous for the 13th princess. Xiaozu was thrilled. She understood that this cloak would bring ruin upon the 13th princess. Whoever delivered the item was the one who spilled it. Thinking of this, Dong Benishing knelt on the ground, wanting to give the opportunity to Qingdan. But Siyue persuaded other maids who were truly concerned about her. Opportunities to show your face in front of the princess are rare. Don't let me down. Xiaozu couldn't refuse and had to agree. Xiao Yinyang was worried seeing him leave. Does that woman know the piefing is poisoned and will still obediently deliver it? Siyue was determined. Even if he doesn't go, someone will persuade him to. Inside Shiyuan, as expected, a one-eyed maid came. Xiaozu knelt on the ground, begging Xiao Yinyang to save her. Xiao Yinyang calmly said, once the princess gets the piefing, it will take a while for her to have a reaction. By then, I will take the opportunity to send him out and give him tails of silver. Xiaozu's eyes lit up upon hearing this. Xiao Yinyang was afraid she'd reveal the truth, her delivering the poisoned item. Xiaozu then returned to prepare with peace of mind. So hungry, Xiao Yinyang revealed a fierce look. Once tomorrow's matter succeeds, Xiaozu will disappear from this world forever. One day Emperor Experience card, here you go. So ancient role-playing is this beautiful. The streets of Shangyuan Festival's capital suddenly encountered a disturbance. Hundreds of protesters came over. The servants of Cheng Xiang Mansion knelt down. Third young master, it's up to you. It's better to have a collection. Siyue was cooking in the courtyard. Qingdai ran in anxiously, saying other masters had gone to the gate to receive Xu Fei. But Siyue unhurriedly instructed him to cook the fodder on the table and add more medicine. Qingdai was confused. What are you still cooking at a time like this? At this time, Cheng Xiang arrived with his whole family. A golden 8-carrier sedan chair appeared. A woman dressed in luxurious clothes stepped down. The young girl she held wore a purple dress. She also had a beautiful white complexion. Xu Fei held 13th princess, preventing her from being curious. Cheng Xiang's family knelt to greet her. Xu Fei greeted Cheng Xiang's brother. But Cheng Xiang said state affairs are paramount. Xu Fei smiled with satisfaction, allowing everyone to rise. But Lian Xia was worried. She noticed Siyue wasn't in the crowd. Could the peefing matter have been discovered? Xiao Yinyang whispered to her, still so impatient. Before they could finish talking, they saw Siyue coming with a gift. Xu Fei noticed she looked unwell. Siyue bowed and explained she was presenting a gift. Yang Ian then asked the princess to enter the hall. Lian Xia was afraid she'd offend the princess and ruin her plan. Xiao Yinyang was still composed. The princess always values gifts and wouldn't expose someone who gave her one. A moment later, Cheng Xiang accompanied Xu Fei into the main hall. Xu Fei mentioned the incident with the princess staying at Siyu's place, saying she was grounded and couldn't leave the courtyard. Xu Fei looked at Cheng Xiang's wife kindly. Lian Xia was jealous. She wanted to impress Xu Fei and let her know she was more deserving than Siyue. Cheng Xiang's wife instructed the servants to bring the gift. Lian Xia immediately stood up to show off. I have prepared an agarwood incense burner from Donghai City for your ladyship. The scent is fragrant and has beauty benefits. As she spoke, two young maids carried the item forward, but Xu Fei didn't appreciate her gesture. Instead, she reprimanded her, saying the incident of ruining the princess' dress had spread throughout the palace. It made her lose face in front of the empress, hoping the young lady would reflect on her actions. Lian Xia wanted to show off, but was scolded instead. All the other concubines were laughing at her. Cheng Xiang slammed the table, telling her to leave. Xiao Yinyang stepped in to smooth things over. After pulling her daughter away, she took the opportunity to ask Siyue what gift she had prepared. Siyue smiled faintly and had someone bring the peefing. Xiao Yinyang's suspicion grew. Lian Siyue, you will die today. Go see Yang Wang with your wretched daughter. Look at this woman, she deserves it. As the saying goes, people die for wealth, birds die for food. Xiaozhu carried the peefing on her path of no return. All she could think about was taking the tails of silver and running away after completing this task. Siyue cooperated and stood up when she saw her enter. Your ladyship, I'm not feeling well. I'll go take my medicine and return later. Xu Fei, concerned about the maid, told her to rest and come back later. Siyue turned to leave, just as Xiaozhu entered. Both thought to themselves, everything is going according to plan. At the gate, they saw the maids carrying food. They went up to report to the princess that the meal was ready. Siyue nodded with satisfaction. The 13th princess allergy must be triggered for the plan to work completely. After the princess is poisoned, she'll settle the score with Xiao Yinyang. She wondered if Xiao Yinyang would cry when she failed right before succeeding. Xiaozhu had already arrived at the banquet. Upon hearing it was a gift from Siyue, Xu Fei personally received and inspected it. The dark red peefing was soft and exquisite. The young princess immediately wanted to try it on. Xiaozhu took the opportunity to praise her. The princess looks even more beautiful in the peefing. The 13th princess smiled happily, clutching the peefing and refusing to take it off. She wanted to wear it back to the palace to show the emperor. Xu Fei smiled dotingly. She was even happier, and let Xiaozhu stay. Xiao Yinyang and Lian Xia exchanged glances. Everything was going smoothly. Xiao Yinyang also took precautions. She arranged for her daughter to stay close to the princess. If the princess had an allergic reaction, she was to be notified immediately, and she had to go back and prepare a good show. When everyone was occupied inside the hall, Xiao Yinyang saw Xiaozhu outside. Xiao Yinyang got straight to the point. The 13th princess will have a reaction soon. She hoped the maid would keep her promise. Xiao Yinyang handed her a bag of silver, telling her to leave the city immediately and not let anyone discover her. Xiaozhu's eyes shone with the silver in hand. Without a word, she turned and left. With this money, she could live comfortably for the rest of her life. She hoped Lian Siyue wouldn't die too quickly. It was her own bad luck. But Xiaozhu didn't know Xiao Yinyang had already decided to kill her. The woman instructed her servants with a sinister expression. Once Xiaozhu left the city, have the assassins kill her and make it look like a suicide. LG, standing on the wall, heard everything. He followed Xiaozhu into the garden. While Xiao Yinyang was reveling in her joy, someone came running from afar. It's true, Chuxing didn't lie to me. Chuan Yunjian really came with his army. He's truly reliable. Lian Xia ran to tell Xiao Yinyang. The princess allergy is acting up. Xiao Yinyang excitedly ran out of the hall. Bright fireworks lit up the sky. They exploded with a loud bang. Xiao Yinyang smiled triumphantly. Next, it's Xiaozhen's turn. Xiao Zhenhai had been waiting outside the palace. He saw his sister's signal and was about to enter the palace, but was stopped by Feng Yunjin. The prince bowed and asked to see the emperor. Feng Yunjin grabbed his hand. I also have something to discuss with father. Let's go together. Xiaozhen knew the 9th prince had a connection with Lian Xia, so he didn't agree. Feng Yanjin asked, What? What I can say to father, you cannot hear. Xiaozhen pretended to be modest, and had to accompany the prince. Yifeng whispered to his master, News from Cheng Xiang Mansion says Miss Siyue is in trouble. Xiao Zhenhai requesting an audience at this time is likely to add insult to injury. Feng Yanjin nodded. Xiao Yinyang is his wife. She's likely the mastermind behind framing Cheng Xiang. Yifeng was worried. Isn't Miss Lin in danger? Feng Yanjin glanced at him. Siyue can handle it herself. No need for others to worry. Yifeng grumbled inwardly. He's clearly worried to death, yet won't let others speak of it. On the other side, Xiao Zhenhai entered the palace and knelt down. He reported to the emperor that the 13th princess was having an allergic reaction. The emperor, who doted on the 13th princess, immediately asked for the reason. Xiao Zhenhai seized the opportunity to accuse Lian Siyue of giving the princess dragon skin, which triggered the allergy. Feng Yanjin stepped forward to interrupt Xiao Zhen, hoping the emperor would investigate before making conclusions. The emperor felt he had a point and immediately rushed to Cheng Xiang Mansion. Cheng Xiang Mansion was in chaos. The princess' face was flushed red. Xu Fei held her daughter and asked why the medicine hadn't arrived. Cheng Xiang sent someone to urge the physician, also puzzled by the princess' sudden reaction. Xiao Yinyang stood up from the ground. She pretended to be alarmed. Could there be something wrong with this peefing? The princess had trouble breathing after putting it on. She then pointed at the largest peefing. The dragon scales inside must be the cause. Xu Fei screamed. Take these things away quickly. My Xiaoxi-san can't stand it. Cheng Xiang's expression darkened. Could Siyue really be harming the princess? At this moment, Siyue entered with a bowl of medicine. Are you talking about me? What's it like having an emperor for a dad? Hugging daddy while being poisoned. Can Siyue escape his wrath? 13th princess allergy relapsed, and I was waiting for news. Lian Xia pointed at the peefing and yelled. Lian Siyue, the peefing you gave has harmed the princess. Siyue looked wronged. She had just gone out and hadn't even given the peefing yet. Seeing Siyue's calm denial, Lian Xia insisted. Everyone saw your maid deliver it. How could it be fake? Siyue didn't bother arguing with her. She stepped forward, claiming she had a way to cure the princess. Xu Fei looked at her hesitantly. Lian Xia couldn't help but mock her. The 13th princess is so fragile, what if the medicine of unknown origin makes her worse? Siyue walked past her coldly. If something happens to the 13th princess, I'll take responsibility. Lian Xia was speechless. Xiao Yinyang pulled her daughter out. Siyue fed the princess the medicine. Lian Xia complained. Mother, why did you pull me out? I wanted to see Lian Siyue humiliated. Xiao Yinyang scolded her brainless daughter. Lian Siyue will die today, there's no need to rush. Xiao Zhen will bring the emperor soon. Did Lian Xia really think she could bring the emperor? A voice announced the emperor's arrival. They looked up and saw the emperor arriving with Xiao Zhen and the 9th prince. Xiao Yinyang pulled her daughter down and knelt. She reported that the 13th princess was being treated by Siyue. The emperor was furious. That wench. How dare she treat the princess? Seeing the emperor's anger, Xiao Yinyang finally revealed a triumphant smile. Lian Siyue would definitely die. Let's just wait and see. Seeing the emperor arrive, Xu Fei hurriedly greeted him. The emperor asked about his daughter's condition. The 13th princess' breathing had stabilized and she was getting better. Lian Xia knelt, not daring to look up. The emperor pointed at Siyue and angrily said, You are quite bold. How dare you give the princess random medicine? Siyue calmly explained that the medicine could treat her own respiratory illness, so she dared to use it. The emperor didn't want to wrongly accuse her, and called the imperial physician. The experienced imperial physician checked the princess' pulse. He then knelt and congratulated the emperor. The 13th princess' condition had significantly improved. The emperor was overjoyed. The imperial physician excitedly explained. This is a miracle. The princess' illness has hope of being cured. Ancient miracle doctors have formed a team. The female lead has appeared. We just need to wait, don't panic. There's more to come. Bad guys. Siyue successfully saved the princess, curing the ancient disease of Shaochuan. The imperial physician knelt and praised her. Siyue's prescription amazed him. The emperor asked where the prescription came from. Siyue simply said Lian Zhu found it from a wandering physician. This wasn't a lie. The emperor was overjoyed and smiled brightly with Xu Fei. Lian Xia glared at Lian Siyue, and couldn't help but curse Xiao Yinyang in her heart for failing again. But Xiao Yinyang wouldn't give up so easily. The higher Lian Siyue climbs, the harder she'll fall. The emperor, impressed by Siyue, decreed to bestow upon her the title of Nguo. Feng Yunjin reminded Siyue to thank the emperor when she was too stunned to react. Siyue finally knelt to thank the emperor, who laughed heartily. She was quite amusing. Xiao Zhenhai interrupted them. He knelt with a serious expression, and said he had something important to report. If he didn't speak now, His Majesty might be deceived. The emperor coldly told him to rise. The old fox pointed out that the pifeng was given by Xiao Yinyang. He claimed that the harmful and healing items came from the same person, who clearly wanted to use the 13th princess. Xiao Yinyang stood there smugly, telling her daughter to listen carefully. Ginger is still old and spicy. The more praise Lian Siyue received, the greater her suspicion. Let's see how Lian Siyue handles this. The emperor also agreed with Xiao Shen. Xu Fei quickly knelt down to plead for mercy. It was reasonable. Yu and he had already helped each other. He didn't need to deliberately compete. Feng Yansheng also stood up and said, Lian Siyu's reputation in the capital is impeccable. She definitely wouldn't do such a thing. I suspect someone framed her. Many people echoed in agreement. Perhaps it was Lian Xia, who had gone too far, but Xiao Yinyang was still furious. The evidence is conclusive. Lian Siyue is definitely. At this time, Yu stepped forward and requested a chance to defend herself. The emperor admired her composure. He looked down on Xiao Yinyang and immediately left the bedroom with his entourage. Yu's eyes narrowed. Xiao Wanyu had gone too far this time. Don't blame her for fighting back. This woman is such a pig teammate, she thought. Her mother was almost killed by her. The emperor wanted to personally interrogate the 13th princess, unless Xu Fei grabbed Yu's hand as everyone was leaving. No matter what, I will plead for you. Yu knew her aunt was genuinely worried for her, and comforted her not to worry. Feng Yunzeng lazily glanced at Yu. As long as she asked, he could make Xiao Wanyu die any way she wanted. Yu blushed and swatted his hand. The play had already begun. It was better to watch it unfold. Feng Yunzheng's gaze deepened. Although he knew Yu was cunning, he still wanted to protect her. He didn't want any filth near her. On the other side, the emperor granted Yu's request to defend herself. Yu calmly asked, just now, someone said I sent the poisoned cloak. I was busy with the princess and didn't pay attention. Can the person who said that come out and identify themselves? Those words Xiao Yinyang, Lian Xia. Yu's face remained calm. She instinctively felt something was wrong. She absolutely couldn't speak up now. At this moment, Lian Xia impatiently shouted, it's her. Looking at her idiotic daughter, Xiao Yinyang wanted to die. It wasn't me who said Lian Siyue had anything to do with it. He should be living well. Xiao Yinyang accusingly pointed, the princess fell ill because of the cloak you made. Yu smiled and denied it. I haven't even sent out the cloak yet. Lian Xia was stunned. Could there be two cloaks? Impossible. It must be Lian Siyue lying. But Yu immediately ordered someone to bring the cloak she had made to prove her innocence. It was Li Shi who delivered it. The emperor also sent Feng Yunzeng. Lian Xia's face turned ugly, but she still held onto a sliver of hope. Even if Lian Siyue and the 9th prince colluded, they couldn't have guessed Nyang Ji. But the emperor had already seen through her supposedly clever scheme. He now felt Yu was intelligent and discerning. He was very impressed. The emperor comforted Xu Fei, just watch. Soon Feng Yunzeng returned with the cloak. Inside, there was indeed. Yu stepped forward and explained, I originally wanted to use more precious one down, but it was also used in His Majesty's cloak, so I couldn't use it. Lian Xia shrieked, you're still lying. It was clearly your poison. Li Shi immediately knelt. Miss never lets me touch the gifts she sends to the palace. Yu reminded her, a servant touching gifts is disrespectful to the royal family. Li Shi is a servant. Don't you even understand this basic rule? Xiang Fu's daughter started her act. Have you ever seen a live-action ancient version of framing someone with poop? The origin of the poisoned cloak is unknown, Xiao Yinyang falsely declared. As long as Yu admitted to sending the poisoned cloak, the matter would be resolved. Yu nodded, seemingly agreeing with Xiao Yinyang. Xiao Yinyang was secretly delighted. As long as Lian Siyue admitted to sending the poisoned cloak willingly, then the blame couldn't be shifted. Unexpectedly, Yu said, I've never seen that poisoned cloak. This made Lian Xia anxious. I can have Xiao Zhu testify. She's right beside you. Yu looked confused. She didn't know anyone named Xiao Zhu. Lian Xia was stunned by this acting. Just as she was about to retort, she was stopped by Xiao Yinyang. How can you call out the poisoner's name? Could it be third sister has a connection with that Xiaozu? Lianxia stammered, saying she had only heard rumors. Seeing her daughter losing ground, Xiao Yinyang anxiously interrupted. Finding Xiaozu is a waste of time. She sneered. That girl has already been silenced. Lianxia can never clear her name. Suddenly, Fang Yanzeng entered. I found the poisoner. She was sneaking around in eldest Miss courtyard. Xiao Wanyu's face drastically changed. Saiyu's eyes lit up. The poisoner behind the man was Xiaozu. Saiyu had anticipated Xiao Yinyang's attempt to silence Xiaozu. She had already sent LG to protect Xiaozu and arranged for her to meet with the assassin. When Fang Yanzeng rejected the cloak, he must have noticed the poison. He warned Xiaozu to tell the truth to the emperor. Xiaozu knew Xiao Yinyang wanted her dead. To survive, she had to cling to Saiyu. She followed the prince to the main hall. Lianxia was shocked to see Xiaozu. How is this possible? Wasn't Xiaozu already killed? Xiao Yinyang glared at her, telling her to shut up. Saiyu stepped forward and asked, Did you send the poisoned cloak to the princess? Xiaozu hesitantly replied, Someone instructed me to do so. The emperor ordered her to reveal the mastermind. Xiaozu pointed at Xiao Yinyang. It was her. She told me to do it. Xiao Yinyang was instantly stunned. This little wretch had betrayed her. Cheng Xiang was also shocked. Xiao Yinyang hurriedly knelt beside him, seemingly greatly wronged. I've never met her. How could she harm the princess? It must be Saiyu and Xiaozu acting together. Xu Fei probably secretly told the emperor. El Chu could testify. Saiyu knew that if she was caught, she wouldn't survive. But Xiaozu declared, I have evidence. The truth is always singular, she added for emphasis. A thrilling court case unfolded. Xiao Yinyang denied knowing Xiaozu, but Xiaozu produced the deed of sale and a banknote given to her. Xiao Zhenhai retorted, anyone could have given you those. They don't prove Xiao Yinyang's involvement. Saiyu gave him a strange look. The emperor finally couldn't resist taking action. He wanted to use this opportunity to strike a blow against the Xiao family. He had a secret agreement with Fang Yanzeng. The man stepped forward. Your Majesty, I have a jade pendant. It was found on Xiaozu. It might belong to. Xiao Yinyang's face paled. Cheng Xiang's face drained of color. My dear, that's not what I gave you. Xiao Yinyang was speechless. The onlookers started gossiping. With both witness and evidence, the woman is guilty of harming the princess. Saiyu pressed on, since Xiao Yinyang doesn't know Xiaozu, then how did your jade pendant end up on her? Xiao Yinyang struggled, she must have stolen it. You're framing me. She turned to Xiao Zhenhai, brother, save me. But Xiao Zhenhai slapped her across the face, shutting her up. Lianxia couldn't believe the evidence against her mother. Xiao Zhenhai glared at her, you're still claiming innocence. Do you think the 9th prince's manner would wrongly accuse a servant? Xiao Zhenhai was furious. You idiot. You gave away the evidence of your identity. Saiyu inwardly sighed. It was settled. Xiao Yinyang was the mastermind. The emperor was furious. A noblewoman dared to harm the 13th princess. She was truly audacious. Cheng Xiang pleaded for leniency. He could only beg the emperor for mercy. But the emperor only ordered Xiao Yinyang imprisoned pending further investigation. Xiao Yinyang was completely over. From a villa to a cell, Lianxia hugged her mother and begged, Your Majesty, please spare my mother. Xu Fei coldly warned, harming a royal is a serious crime. Xiao Yinyang cannot be spared. Saiyu revealed a slight smile. Lianxia was about to cause trouble, when Xiao Yinyang secretly signaled her. It was time to protect herself. Only Xiao Zhenhai could salvage the situation now. Saiyu then spoke, the princess is filial, but the royal family's reputation. Who is behind all this? Someone whispered, Isn't Saiyu too naive? A dark and cunning female lead. She doesn't fit the image. I enjoy the way you hate me, but can't do anything about it. The poisoned cloak incident was seemingly resolved, but Saiyu delivered one last blow, hinting to the emperor that Xiao Zhenhai was involved. Xu Fei angrily questioned Xiao Yinyang. I didn't tell anyone about the 13th princess. Who told you? Xiao Yinyang knew she couldn't escape. She refused to speak. Xiao Zhenhai quickly knelt. My sister committed such a grave crime. Please allow me to investigate and restore justice to the royal family. But Fang Yanzeng interrupted his act. The suspect is General Xiao's family member. The general should recuse himself. That was right. Seeing his plan fail, Xiao Zhenhai glared at the 9th prince. The emperor decided to hand the case to Fang Yanzeng. He also told Xiao Zhenhai, you are old. You don't need to handle such matters. Xiao Zhenhai dominated the court. Xiao Zhenhai kowtowed and thanked the emperor. He knew the emperor was suspicious of him, and he needed to be discreet. The emperor was even more impressed with Sai Yu. He even granted her permission to enter the palace freely. Upon returning to the palace, he would bestow upon her the title of Princess Anyang. The emperor left the Cheng manor with his entourage. Feng Yanzeng immediately ordered Xiao Yinyang arrested. He would personally interrogate her. Seeing her impending doom, Xiao Yinyang wanted to scream. She clung to Xiao Zhenhai's leg. "Save me!" Xiao Zhenhai was unprepared. "Hurry and drag her away." His men immediately pulled Xiao Yinyang away. Lian Xia cursed Sai Yu for harming innocent people. Xiao Zhenhai finally snapped. "The emperor has already decided on the case. Who are you to question him? From now on, stay silent." Lian Xia nodded fearfully, not daring to speak. Xiao Zhenhai earnestly apologized to the emperor. As he left, he cursed his bad luck for helping those two idiots. Cheng Xiang also felt relieved. Today's incident would greatly weaken the Xiao family, but Feng Yanzeng comforted Yu Fu. Only Xiao Yinyang is involved. No one else in the Xiang family. Cheng Xiang wiped his sweat and relaxed. Sai Yu approached Lian Xia. "Third sister, no one can help you this time." Lian Xia glared at Sai Yu hatefully. Sai Yu innocently tilted her head. "You look so pitiful, it makes me want to comfort you. This girl is so fake." Someone thought, only by acting pitiful could she appear innocent. Xiao Yinyang failed to frame Sai Yu and was imprisoned instead. Sai Yu deliberately provoked Lian Xia. "You must keep hating me. Only then can I smoothly gain power." Sai Yu's words made Lian Xia tremble. She yelled, "You demon! Stay away from me." Sai Yu retreated dramatically. Feng Yanzeng rushed over and hugged Sai Yu. Sai Yu leaned against him and complained, "I just wanted to comfort third sister." But she suddenly flew into a rage. Lian Xia was furious. This woman was stealing her lines. She screamed, "It's all your fault. Lian Xiyue, you're so cunning." Cheng Xiang impatiently told her to shut up. "Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough?" But Lian Xia refused to listen and grabbed Cheng Xiang. "Father, don't believe her. She harmed my mother and wants to harm me too." Cheng Xiang slapped her across the face. I blind? How could I have fathered such an idiot?" He grabbed his teacup in fury. Lian Xia screamed as he threw the tea at her. She was covered in tea, humiliated. Lian Xia realized she had become a laughingstock. Anything she said would be disbelieved. Sai Yu pretended to be concerned. "Third sister, are you so upset that you're speaking nonsense?" Lian Xia bit her lip, not daring to speak. But Sai Yu wasn't going to let her off. She reminded Cheng Xiang that Lian Xia slandering her within the manor was one thing. If she did so outside, it would cause trouble for Cheng Xiang. Thus, Cheng Xiang immediately ordered Lian Xia confined to her courtyard. No matter how much Lian Xia protested, Cheng Xiang ignored her. Two guards dragged Lian Xia away. Lian Xia's cries gradually faded. Sai Yu smiled coldly. This was just the beginning for this mother-daughter pair. Lian Xia would soon taste the despair she had sown. She would make this woman die in despair. "This guy is really straightforward," she thought. "Should I dodge or enjoy the pain?" The poisoned cloak incident resolved, Sai Yu excused herself and returned to her courtyard. Feng Yanzeng followed her. Cheng Xiang watched them leave, pondering. The ninth prince was currently favored by the emperor. If Sai Yu could forge a connection, then he thought about his own sons. The seventh and eighth were the most promising. He needed to remind his sons not to get too close to Sai Yu. Sai Yu stood alone, deep in thought. Feng Yanzeng's voice came from behind. Your brilliant plan brought down the Xiao family. You even took down Xiao Zhenhai." Sai Yu turned to see Feng Yanzeng bathed in moonlight. He was truly a handsome young man. She said, "I couldn't have succeeded without your help." Feng Yanzeng purposely put on a pitiful expression. "We've been through life and death together. You still call me your highness. It's hurtful." Sai Yu awkwardly replied, "We must maintain decorum." But Feng Yanzeng grabbed her hand. "Decorum is for outsiders. You can relax with me." Sai Yu blushed and pulled her hand away. Feng Yanzeng leaned closer and sighed, "It seems you don't like me." Sai Yu immediately relented, remembering the past. She looked at him shyly. Feng Yanzeng smiled and patted her head, suggesting she call him brother when they were alone. Sai Yu blushed. "When we're alone?" That could be easily misunderstood. Feng Yanzeng placed his hand on a pillar. Jiang Xiyue trapped Feng Yanzeng with a question. "In your heart, what exactly is our relationship?" "My Deng Xiyue Hui Lai." The man's cherished features haven't diminished. He muttered to himself, "We are allies, right? I, Feng Yanzeng, can read. How can a name be misunderstood?" The word allies immediately pulled Siyue back to reality. He turned to look at Feng Yanzeng. Has your highness already gone back to rest? Feng Yanzeng grabbed her hand. Jiao Ren Kai Hui Lai. You emphasized that we are allies, yet now, you are the one who is angry. Siyue bit her lip. She was indeed uncomfortable with this situation, but his highness wasn't someone else's business. At this moment, their fingers were intertwined. Siyue's heart was indeed racing. Pay attention. Watch the fiery confession scene of this young man kissing. Everyone, watch carefully and learn. Feng Yanzeng took the initiative to hold Siyue's hands, his voice gentle as water. Are we allies, confidants, or soulmates bound by life and death? Hearing this, Siyue's face flushed. Feng Yanzeng, what are you saying? The man used his finger to seal her lips. I originally wanted to wait until you fell in love with me before confessing my feelings for you. Siyue quickly pulled away from his embrace. She was completely unprepared for Feng Yanzeng's feelings. Feng Yanzeng lowered his head. Perhaps it's the beautiful moon tonight that made me impulsive. Siyue looked at his embarrassed appearance and couldn't help but ask, when did you start liking me? Feng Yanzeng's eyes were firm. In both past and present lives, from the first moment I saw you. Siyue was shocked. It's been that long, but Feng Yanzeng caressed her beautiful face. Perhaps in the endless cycle of reincarnation, we have already met countless times. Whether you are alive or dead, I will always be devoted to you. These earnest words surprised Siyue. Feng Yanzeng mentioned a past life. Did he know something? But Feng Yanzeng interrupted her thoughts. He unnaturally cleared his throat. He told her they could be friends first, and she could consider other relationships later. Stroking her back, Feng Yanzeng muttered to himself, Siyue, I will not miss you again in this life. Then, he swore under the night sky, that he would be Siyue's shoulder to lean on, and he would handle all difficult matters for her. Yefeng couldn't help but sigh, the master is truly hopelessly in love with Miss Siyue. Siyue returned to Xiu courtyard, her mind full of Feng Yanzeng. She didn't even have a cup of tea. Qingdai came in to report, and told her that Lian Xia had been imprisoned and hadn't seen anyone for days. Siyue looked out the window. For the sake of her family, she had to see him. Lian Xia might go to others for help. Qingdai immediately understood that the third miss wanted to see Xiao Inyang. Siyue then instructed, if the third young master wants to run, let him run. To appease Xiang Zhenghai, the emperor won't kill Xiao Inyang. If Lian Xia runs around and causes chaos, I might find another opportunity. Qingdai's eyes widened. Miss, does this mean Xiao Inyang can come back? Siyue gently shook her head. Feng Yanzeng is so smart. Xiao Inyang won't die easily. Qingdai didn't understand. Miss, why are you blushing? Siyue coughed awkwardly. She wondered why she thought of Feng Yanzeng again. So, ancient times also had hypothetical questions. What if I can't ask directly? Siyue carefully asked Qingdai, I have a friend. Today, someone confessed to her. Do you think my friend should refuse? Qingdai replied readily, if she doesn't like him, she should refuse. Siyue pulled a long face. But I don't know if she likes him or not. Qingdai was indeed perceptive. If she didn't refuse, she must have some feelings for him. Siyue's hidden thoughts were exposed, and she anxiously denied, no, she doesn't like him. Seeing that she had misspoken, she fell onto the bed and said angrily, I'm going to sleep. Qingdai nodded her head as she left. The miss must be thinking about the ninth prince. Siyue buried her face in the quilt, but her eyes gradually softened. Feng Yanzeng died for her in the previous life. This time, she only wanted to protect him, completely. After all, the him of the past life was destined to be a blood-soaked demon, no longer worthy of her. If Feng Yanzeng was innocent and met her, how wonderful would that be? She thought sadly. She rolled over and huddled in the corner of the bed, determined to completely reject Feng Yanzeng the next time they met. On the other side, in the torture chamber of the ninth prince's mansion, the firelight illuminated the man's face. Wei Bing brought Xiao Inyang in. The woman was disheveled and looked nothing like her previous elegance. Feng Yanzeng helped her up and ordered Wei Bing to tie her to a pillar. Xiao Inyang looked at Feng Yanzeng in terror, shouting like a madwoman, what do you want to do? I am Cheng Xiang's daughter, the general's sister. You dare to lay a hand on me. I am Cheng Xiang's daughter, the general's sister. How dare you privately harm me? Kei ta hua demai. Ha, Feng Yanzeng sneered, for the fourth time, you mentioned your family background. These people can't wait to sever ties with you. It's clear you're useless now. These people couldn't wait to cut off all ties with her. The news had already spread that she was now useless, but Xiao Inyang remained stubborn. She let out a sharp laugh. Don't you just want me to reveal the person behind this? I'll tell you, they're ISNT1. I didn't even plot against the princess. Feng Yanzeng emotionlessly pierced a needle into the woman. You think that if you don't talk, the person behind this will come to save you. Xiao Yinyang cried out in pain. Your Majesty, I've been wrongly accused. Seeing her struggling desperately, Feng Yanzheng's interest was piqued. He liked this kind of prisoner who still had hope, because after they were completely broken, they would bring great satisfaction. With that, Feng Yanzheng waved his hand and someone brought over a black iron tool. Amidst the scraping sounds, the branding iron was heated over the fire. It was a branding iron specifically designed not to burn flesh, but to sear the skin. The moment it touched Xiao Yinyang's body, it emitted a sizzling sound. Xiao Yinyang stared at the branding iron in horror. The Emperor has already pardoned me. The woman's screams echoed in the small room. This ancient torture technique was truly terrifying. Feng Yanzheng raised the branding iron, which was almost red hot. At the very bottom, there was a small ball. Since Xiao Yinyang relied so much on her family name, then he would brand it on her pretty face. This mark would stay with her for life. Xiao Yinyang screamed, No. Don't disfigure me. You dare to privately harm me. Feng Yanzheng looked at her coldly. What do you mean by privately harm? I'll kill you right here. And the Emperor won't even bat an eye. The branding iron was about to touch her face. Xiao Yinyang closed her eyes and screamed, Don't you want to know who's behind this? If I die, you'll never find out the truth. Feng Yanzheng paused. Did this woman dare to bargain now? Xiao Yinyang squeezed out a smile. If the ninth prince asks nicely, I might reveal some information. She stared at Feng Yanzheng, whose expression had changed, and thought, if I can take advantage of this opportunity and enter his world, I can definitely manipulate him. But Feng Yanzheng just chuckled. Xiao Yinyang swore, and cried even louder. The next round of torture was even more painful. The smell of burning flesh filled the air. Amidst the screams, branding her face, only a charred mess remained. Xiao Yinyang screamed hysterically, My face. My face. Feng Yanzheng watched her emotionlessly. Your suffering is not even a fraction of what Siyue endured. Xiao Yinyang had completely lost her mind. She wouldn't reveal anything about the true culprit. One day, she would send them all to hell, but Feng Yanzheng was indifferent to her threats. It doesn't matter whether you talk or not. I already know who's behind this. Xiao Yinyang burst into laughter. You're trying to trick me. Revealing the truth. You're dreaming. Feng Yanzheng casually threw the branding iron aside, and warned the woman not to overestimate herself. Tonight, in just teaching you a lesson for Siyue. Hearing Siyue's name, Xiao Yinyang's eyes filled with hatred. Lian Siyue. Lian Siyue. I will kill her. Yefeng, who had been enjoying the show, whispered to his master, the suspect has completely broken down. Should I finish her off? Yefeng thought gleefully, Miss Siyue's enemy is my master's enemy. This time, I definitely flattered him correctly, but was there a more pathetic flatterer than him? He excitedly wanted to do something for his master, but he was rejected. Yefeng went to finish off Xiao Yinyang, but Feng Yanzheng said that Xiao Yinyang's life belonged to Siyue. If he acted, it wouldn't be appropriate. Seeing that his attempt to flatter had failed, Yefeng could only sulk. Feng Yanzheng walked out of the torture chamber and explained to him. Besides, Xiao Yinyang can't die now. Her brother controls troops. Now, the Mengjiang tribes are restless. The emperor still needs Xiang Zhenghai to defend the country. Yefeng suddenly understood. His Majesty wouldn't touch Xiao Yinyang even for Xiang Zhenghai's sake. Feng Yanzheng nodded. But this punishment for Xiao Yinyang is also a warning to Xiang Zhenghai. The emperor wants to remind the general not to act rashly. Yefeng nodded. His Majesty's consideration for the bigger picture is correct, but Xiao Yinyang still harmed Siyue. Are we really doing nothing? Feng Yanzheng's eyes flashed. Of course not, but compared to directly killing her, there's a method that makes people suffer more. He picked up a brush and quickly wrote something down. He ordered Yefeng to immediately send the memorial to the palace, and by the way, amputate Xiao Yinyang's left hand and right foot. The next morning, the emperor received the memorial. After reading it, he smiled. Yanzheng is becoming more and more capable. At this moment, Consort Shu came to serve the emperor tea. The emperor handed the memorial to her, and said that Xiao Yinyang should die for her crimes. Consort Shu, with her clear mind, immediately understood that the emperor didn't want to make a big deal out of this. She had to follow his lead. Therefore, Consort Shu ignored the memorial and gently said, Your Majesty, this matter involves many people. Since the 13th prince is handling it, perhaps we shouldn't involve too many others. The emperor's eyes lit up. He was pleased that she was so understanding, but he couldn't wrong his beloved consort either. The emperor immediately decreed to promote consort Shu to noble consort, and reward the third princess maternal family with a mansion. Consort Shu knelt down and said that she was unworthy of such rewards. The emperor personally helped her up. I want everyone to know that you and the 13th prince are my most beloved. News spread quickly in the palace. Qingdai rushed to Siyue. Miss, it's bad. Xiao Inyang wasn't executed. The emperor only banished her. Siyue, who was tending to her flowers, heard the news, and remained remarkably calm. She had expected this outcome. Qingdai stomped her feet angrily. That Feng Yanzheng's affection for Miss is fake. He even said he would avenge you. Now, Xiao Inyang has gotten away scot-free. Siyu's face suddenly darkened. Where did you hear these things? Look at this woman who was beaten half to death, and is still smiling so miserably. She's truly a cockroach that can't be killed. A few days ago, Siyue had ordered Qingdai not to gossip about Feng Yanzheng behind his back. Qingdai guiltily retreated. Siyue stood by the window, smiling. She believed that Feng Yanzheng must understand her. Xiao Inyang wouldn't have it easy under his control. At this time, a small stone hit the window. Siyue took the note from the stone. It was indeed a message from Feng Yanzheng. It read, meet at Lanqiao at Zishi. After getting ready, Siyue went to the designated location alone. She saw a figure approaching. Feng Yanzheng walked straight towards her. Upon seeing him, Siyue became speechless. She could only curse herself inwardly for being so nervous around an acquaintance. Feng Yanzheng noticed her strange expression, and gently held her shoulders, asking, are you blaming me for only banishing Xiao Inyang? Siyue quickly forced a smile to hide her thoughts. She had known that Xiao Inyang wouldn't die. If the emperor wanted her dead, he would have executed her at the Xiang residence instead of handing her over to Feng Yanzheng. The 9th prince looked at Siyue with adoration. Yue is truly kind-hearted, but where did you hear about her being banished? Siyue thought for a moment and said, Mengjiang. Feng Yanzheng was surprised that Siyue knew the situation so well. He assured Siyue, even if Mengjiang is Xiang Zhenghai's territory, I will make him pay. He took a step forward and held Siyu's hand. Xiao Inyang is leaving the city tonight. I've arranged something special. I hope you'll come with me. Siyue stared into his eyes. The words of refusal were on the tip of her tongue, but she nodded involuntarily, seemingly unable to resist the allure of love. In the general's mansion, Xiang Zhenghai was furious about his sister's banishment. It seemed the emperor still cared about him. Suddenly, the door burst open, and Lian Xia stumbled in. She knelt on the ground and cried, please save my mother. Xiang Zhenghai coldly asked how she escaped. Lian Xia cautiously replied that she had snuck out. Hearing this, Xiang Zhenghai's face darkened. He slapped her hard. Lian Xia was stunned, but Xiang Zhenghai was almost angered to death by this stupid daughter. Countless eyes were watching them. Sneaking to the general's mansion was simply reckless. Lian Xia still didn't understand the gravity of the situation, and only wanted to save her mother. Xiang Zhenghai threw the imperial edict at her and said coldly, your mother won't die. The woman picked up the edict and read it. She was both relieved and sad. As long as her mother lived, there was still hope. Xiang Zhenghai sighed and looked at his daughter. He apologized to her sincerely. After all this, I hope you've learned something. In times of crisis, you must stay calm. One wrong step could lead to irreversible consequences. You can't be so impulsive anymore. Lian Xia was stunned by these words. She finally understood something. Every time she tried to harm Lian Siyue, she ended up in trouble. It was because she was blinded by hatred. Perhaps it was time for some self-reflection. But, is this ancient drama too dramatic? Chopping wood in the forest in the middle of the night. Xiang Zhenghai learned that his sister was being banished tonight, and decided to take Lian Xia to see her. Lian Xia couldn't believe it and asked, can I really see my mother? Xiang Zhenghai walked out the door. Feng Yanzheng will send people to guard your mother tonight. He won't send assassins ahead of time. Just come with me. Lian Xia was overjoyed. Lian Siyue, you're so cruel. You really want to kill my mother. Then, fear turned into intense hatred. She had to avenge this deep-seated grudge. On the other side, Yefeng found Feng Yanzheng with a horse. Because of the sudden situation, there was only one horse left. Feng Yanzheng frowned and told him to find another one quickly. But Yefeng's face was full of embarrassment. Can I go back to the mansion to get one? But that would take an hour. Xiao Inyang will be long gone. At this moment, Siyue spoke up and offered to share the horse with Feng Yanzeng. Yefeng thanked Siyue profusely. Then he'll have to trouble Miss and Master to ride together. He was ecstatic. Master will definitely reward me handsomely when he sees this divine intervention. But Feng Yanzeng glared at him. What's so troublesome about Siyue being with me? Then, he carefully helped Siyue onto the horse. Siyue sat on his lap in April, coaxing his leg. The two passed through the forest under the cover of night, and there were also people shrinking behind them. Feng Yanzeng suddenly said, Xiao Zhenghai will definitely protect Xiao Xianmin with his elite troops. We can't touch the inner officials now, but we can make Xiao Zhenghai feel the pain by targeting these elite troops. Siyue nodded thoughtfully. At the same time, she felt the big hand on her waist. She smiled dryly and said, Your Highness, shouldn't we dismount? Feng Yanzeng reluctantly let go of her, and could only brace himself and say perfunctorily, It's dangerous to set up camp later. It's more convenient to escape on horseback. Siyue could only lower her head and agree, cursing herself 1,000 times in her heart. You believe such a lame excuse. At this moment, some people appeared on the road ahead. Several Yae soldiers were escorting Xiao Xianmin. The leader of the Yae soldiers wanted to search the prisoner's belongings according to the rules, but his subordinates didn't want to break the rules. As a result, he was scolded by his superior. The woman they were escorting was the general's younger sister. The young general had given orders that she should not be insulted. The Yae soldiers could only unlock her belongings. Xiao Inyang looked through the water glass and whispered, I must find a chance to turn things around. One day, I will return all this suffering to you. Siyue, hiding in the dark, saw everything and thought, I didn't expect Xiao Zhenghai to even speak Yae language. Feng Yanzheng's expression was alert. This old fox's influence is indeed widespread. It must have taken him years to cultivate it. At this time, Yefeng and LVG jumped out of the forest, and reported to their master that their men were in place. Look closely, this was originally a simple farewell. But if it's a farewell, then it's a farewell. Why did they kill the island lord? In the woods outside the city, Yefeng reported to the hidden Bumen's hen. Xiao Zhenghai's men are all dead, but even Lian Xia came along. Siyue was right. He really couldn't resist sneaking out of his house. Feng Yanzheng suddenly lowered his head and said, Should we kill him? Although the news prevents us from making a move, Lian Xia no longer has any value in existence. After hearing these words, Siyue clenched her hands tightly. Feng Yanzheng held her hand, but Siyue ignored his persuasion and almost shouted, No. I can't let him die so easily. I want him to fall into my hands and slowly die in hatred and torture. Feng Yanzheng was shocked by her fierce words. Siyue turned her head with burning eyes. You must think him terrible, right? She closed her eyes. If a man knew all my feelings, he might be afraid. However, Feng Yanzheng gently embraced her in his arms. I have already seen the human fox and persuaded the human to be kind. Whether you are a demon or a Buddha, I will be by your side. His gentle words were like a spring breeze, blowing into Siyue's poisoned heart. Feng Yanzheng turned his head and instructed his subordinates, You have to take good care of Lian Xia. At this time, the sound of fighting came from the forest. It seems that Xiao Zhenghai's men have arrived. On the other side, Xiao Xianmin saw hope. It was like seeing a savior. She pointed excitedly at Lian Xia. The two Yae soldiers knelt on the ground, trembling with fear. Unexpectedly, Xiao Zhengjun killed them on the spot. The Yae soldiers didn't even have time to resist before they died. Xiao Xianmin rushed into her brother's arms and cried. The general saw her disheveled appearance and asked, What happened to you, Liana? Xiao Xianmin covered her face and cried, It was Feng Yanzheng who did it. My Liana can't see anyone anymore. Xiao Zhenghai's face changed drastically. He didn't expect that even a prince would dare to touch him. Xiao Xianmin suddenly vomited on him. Brother, you have to avenge me. Feng Yanzheng broke my limbs. I want him dead. But Xiao Zhenghai quickly dodged the attack. Sister, calm down. This matter needs to be considered in the long run. Xiao Xianmin grabbed his sleeve tightly. How can I calm down? I'm already a useless person. But Xiao Zhenghai coldly withdrew his hand, watching the woman fall to the ground. He warned her impatiently, It's already not bad that you can save your life. Besides, someone is taking care of Meng Jiang. Xiao Xianmin lay on the ground, her eyes full of unwillingness. I did so much just to enjoy wealth and honor. If I can only be an ordinary person, I might as well die. Xiao Zhenghai saw through her thoughts and reminded her to keep a low profile in the future. He had lost all his men and needed her to lead the way carefully. Don't forget, there's still Xiyang in the capital. Xiao Xianmin nodded silently, thinking, Shi Yang is so beautiful. If I'm in the mortal world, can't I make a comeback? Notice, teacher Tuor Ni is online ahead. Even great principals can be so vulgar. Lian Xia walked out from behind his uncle. He was shocked and angry when he saw his mother's face. Xiao Xianmin whispered that it was all Feng Yunzheng's fault. She wanted Lian Xia to make Feng Yunzheng die a horrible death. Xiao Xianmin touched her daughter lovingly. You must be mature and prudent in the future. Without the general's instructions, you absolutely cannot act rashly against Lian Xiyue. Xiao Xianmin's face regained its composure. Xiao Zhenghai gave instructions in Yi language, escorting Xiao Xianmin all the way. If anything happens, they will not be able to see him again. A gust of wind blew through the forest, and hundreds of cold arrows shot out at once. Someone discovered the attack, enemy attack. Protect the young miss, but their reaction was too slow to defend against the sudden attack. After a fierce battle, Xiao Zhenghai's elite troops suffered heavy casualties. Looking at the casualties around him, Xiao Zhenghai's face was extremely ugly. Shi Yang huddled in his arms in fear. After the ranged attack, killers with scimitars quickly approached. The remaining soldiers were quickly eliminated before they could even react. Xiao Zhenghai stood still, pretending to be calm. These people didn't attack him. Then, Lian Xia's scream came from beside him. A masked killer grabbed her hair and dragged her away. The woman looked at the fierce methods and begged for mercy, but the killer ignored her. With a flash of sword light, Lian Xia fell to the ground heavily. The killer cut off her veil. The man looked down at her. Cherish the present days. Someone will come to take your life. Lian Xia fainted from fear before the battle even began. Xiao Inyang desperately protected the girl. Lian Xia cried in her arms, Mother, someone wants to kill me. Xiao Zhenghai clenched his teeth. He didn't expect Feng Yunzheng's methods to be so ruthless. Then a cold light flashed. He grabbed the sword with one hand. The imperial guards surrounded him. Is this the emperor's doing? Xiao Xianmin asked her brother in a panic, what's going on? Xiao Zhenghai replied helplessly, this is the emperor's warning to me. Feng Yunzheng, who had successfully launched the sneak attack, left with Xiyue. After this incident, Xiao family's forces were reduced by more than half, and Xiao Zhenghai's years of hard work were ruined. Xiyue smiled and praised him, Your Highness is indeed brilliant. Feng Yunzheng gently scraped the girl's nose. How can I compare to Xiyue? Xiyue shyly buried her head in his arms. Why didn't she feel disgusted by Feng Yunzheng's intimacy? What's the longest road you've ever traveled? Naturally, it's Feng Yunzheng's. After dealing with Xiao Zhenghai's matter, this couple finally had time to be romantic. Feng Yunzheng held Xiyue's waist. He whispered and rode his horse away. He rode faster and faster, shouting, Xiyue, do you like this speed? This extraordinary feeling made Xiyue's heart beat faster. She felt that freedom was within reach. Feng Yunzheng held her and laughed. You are destined to be Feng Huang who soars in the sky. You shouldn't be burdened by hatred. You should enjoy life. Yefeng was left behind by the horse, covered in dust. He complained dissatisfiedly, we're still here. Why did the master leave? LVG looked at him as if he were a fool. The master only has the young miss in his eyes now. How could he remember you? Let's go back to our respective residences. Yefeng stamped his foot angrily. If he likes her so much, he should just marry her. On the other side, the two had already returned to the Prime Minister's residence. Feng Yunzheng was afraid that someone would see them, so he stopped near the Prime Minister's residence with Xiyue. In his arms, he reached out to help Xiyue down, but accidentally pulled her hand too hard. Xiyue fell into the man's arms. He held the girl and smiled. I think this is a faster way to dismount. Xiyue blushed and pushed him away. So Feng Yunzheng was so frivolous. The man rubbed his nose embarrassedly. His frivolity was only directed at Xiyue. Xiyue sorted out her emotions and prepared to return to her room alone. But Feng Yunzheng stopped her and asked, I asked you something last time. Do you have an answer now? But when she remembered the past, she lowered her head and apologized to Feng Yunzheng. I'm sorry. Although you said that no matter what I am, you are willing to stay by my side, I am already deeply involved in hatred and covered in filth. I'm worried that I will taint you. Feng Yunzheng smiled heartily. Do you really think I'm a piece of white paper? Xiyue blinked and nodded. Feng Yunzheng's eyes darkened. You're wrong. In this vast world, being born in the royal family, I have countless lives in my hands. I not only secretly planned and cultivated my forces, but also killed many of Feng Qinyu's men. How could I be a piece of white paper without being stained with blood? Xiyue hurriedly defended him. As a prince, if you don't kill others, others will kill you. If you don't fight, you can only become someone else's stepping stone. Feng Yunzheng took a step closer, shortening the distance between them. Since you see it so clearly, you should understand that we are destined to be each other's only. What is a surprise? Transmigration and rebirth can also be done in groups. Siyu's biggest secret was finally revealed. The two people holding the script shouldn't hide it anymore. Siyu's eyes reddened as she rejected Feng Yanzheng's apology, fearing that her revenge would affect him. But Feng Yanzheng gently wiped her face. Even without you, those people won't let me go. This time, Siyu couldn't help but tell the truth. I've always felt guilty, afraid that you will. Feng Yanzheng suddenly interrupted her. He looked at Siyu seriously. You're afraid that he'll misunderstand, and you're afraid that he'll ask you to choose again. Hearing this, Siyu's eyes widened in shock. Feng Yanzheng smiled gently. That's right, Siyu, you were reborn. No matter the past or the present, staying by your side is my own will. Tears welled up in Siyu's eyes. It seemed that Feng Yanzheng hadn't really died in his previous life. The man gently wiped away her tears. God gave us a second chance. You can avoid the mistakes of your previous life. Siyu finally threw herself into Feng Yanzheng's arms, sobbing. You're still alive. Feng Yanzheng gently patted her back. We're both alive. Siyu raised her head tearfully. Why didn't you tell me earlier? You mean you knew from the beginning that I was reborn? Feng Yanzheng smiled helplessly. I originally wanted to quietly protect you, but seeing that you have too much regret for me in your previous life, I can only reveal everything. Siyu pushed Feng Yanzheng away shyly. I'm the one who should feel guilty. Who told you to offer yourself up to be killed by Feng Qinyu? Feng Yanzheng knocked her head playfully. When I heard that I wasn't dead, someone cried like a kitten. Siyu, who was exposed on the spot, was held by the man's hand. Feng Yanzheng pulled her into his arms and embraced her tightly again. We have common enemies and a blood feud. Now you are not alone on this bloody path. I will always be behind you. Are you willing to accept me? Siyu leaned against the man's chest and really relaxed. Feng Yanzheng answered firmly, in this life and the next, it can only be you. The two embraced tightly, and a loving atmosphere was brewing. But someone ruined the moment. Yefeng asked shamelessly, Master, haven't you sent the young miss home yet? Siyu's face instantly turned red, and Yefeng continued fearlessly, why are you still hugging? Fortunately, LVG covered his mouth. We were just passing by. You guys continue. Outside the Prime Minister's residence, Siyu bid farewell to Feng Yanzheng. She had to return to her room with LVG. Feng Yanzheng chased after her. You haven't told me the answer yet. How about Siyu? Siyu took out a jade pendant from her sleeve and handed it to Feng Yanzheng. That was her personal imperial jade pendant. Watching the girl leave, Feng Yanzheng held the jade pendant and giggled foolishly. The jade pendant has the meaning of a token of love. Siyu's gift must be a token of love. Yefeng leaned over and asked curiously, Master, what did Miss Siyu give you? Feng Yanzheng glared at him. Didn't I tell you to take LVG away? Why are you here? Yefeng, who was stared at, stammered and quickly excused himself. But LVG's eyes flickered, silently indicating that he was going to protect Siyu. But Feng Yanzheng called him faintly. He instructed LVG to remind him after he returned. Xiao Zhenghai suffered a heavy loss this time. He will definitely not give up. Moreover, his son will return to the capital soon. We must be careful. LVG's face changed. Could it be the bloodthirsty Zuluo Cha, who has killed countless people on the border? Feng Yanzheng nodded silently. It is Zuluo Cha, Xiao Zhenghai's son. In the general's mansion, Feng Qinyu held a teacup and sneered. I heard that the general secretly escorted Xiao Xianmin, but lost many men on the way. Xiao Zhenghai suppressed his anger and replied calmly, they were just ordinary soldiers. This small loss won't hurt my foundation. Seeing his insincere words, Feng Qinyu slammed the teacup on the table and reminded him. Since you have already submitted to me, you must be careful in your words and actions in the future. Xiao Zhenghai hurriedly bowed and apologized. I was humiliated by Feng Yanzheng this time. I will definitely get my revenge in the future. A thick killing intent flashed in Feng Qinyu's eyes. His good younger brother had become a mad dog at some point. He had suffered too much at his hands. He really couldn't be kept alive. Xiao Zhenghai saw through his thoughts and sat down beside him with a flattering smile. Don't worry, I have a plan. Then he turned his head and shouted towards the door, come in. A handsome man with a sword walked in. He knelt down and greeted Feng Qinyu. Zuluo Cha greets your highness. Xiao Zhenghai looked at his son proudly, and Feng Qinyu also nodded with satisfaction. I heard that your family has a second young master, who is brave and good at fighting, known as the bloodthirsty killer. Seeing you today, you indeed live up to your reputation. General Zhu, please rise. It turned out that he was not completely useless. No matter how handsome a man is, As long as he is sexually harassing, he will be driven away by Siyue. In order to deal with Feng Yanzeng, Xiao Zhenghai not only offered his son Zuluo Cha to Feng Qinyu, but also came up with a vicious plan. There is a Silver Fox Valley near the capital. It is rumored to be haunted and good for ambushes. If Feng Yanzeng is lured there, he can be eliminated. Feng Qinyu tapped his fingers on the table. This idea is not bad, but how can his ninth brother be easily fooled? The old fox Xiao Zhenghai suggested again, use the sixth prince's hunting competition. This prince is frivolous and incompetent, and no one will suspect him. Xiao Zhenghai tapped his fingers on the table. This idea is not bad. But how can his ninth brother be easily fooled? The old fox Xiao Zhenghai suggested again, use the sixth prince's hunting competition. This prince is frivolous and incompetent, no one will suspect him. I suspected him. Feng Qianyu barely managed to stand with his father-in-law's help. The general's words make some sense. If the assassination succeeds and the Six Kingdoms are plunged into chaos, with Feng Yanzeng incapacitated, Xiao Zhenghai will help Feng Qianyu regain his power. But his life's ambition is to live a life of ease. He then excused himself. If you need my help, I will be ready. But I dislike conspiracy, so I'll leave this investigation to you too. Xiao He turned and left. He remembers his father being unwell. Don't be impudent in front of the fourth prince. Come back. But Xiao He didn't turn back. Xiao Zhenghai could only say humbly, Feng Qianyu is a promising young man. I appreciate his ambition. If he succeeds, I will definitely support him. Staring at Xiao He's back, he muttered, this boy is too kind. He will be a disaster for the Xiao family. Early the next morning, Sayu sat in the courtyard embroidering. Elji kept reminding her to be mindful of her manna consumption. Sayu put down her needlework. Even God has a soft spot for Xiao He. Despite the difficult situation, he's still kind. It's truly admirable. I don't understand his intentions, but I wish him well. Sayu shook her head and smiled. Xiao He dislikes schemes, but he was born into the Xiao family, a pit of vipers. I should visit him. Elji was surprised that Sayu, a noble lady, cared so much for Xiao He. Looking at the embroidery, she recalled the past. Feng Yanzeng and Feng Qianyu used to fight side by side. Unfortunately, after the rebellion, Feng Yanzeng was implicated, and Xiao He was killed by Feng Qianyu along with his Blood Shadow army, a classic case of killing the donkey after it has done its work. Elji interrupted Sayu's thoughts. Miss, what are you thinking about? Sayu tossed the embroidery aside. Since the Xiao family has pledged allegiance to the fourth prince's manor, then Xiao He is also a threat to me. Tell Feng Yanzeng that if he encounters this person, he must eliminate him as quickly as possible. Absolutely do not let him live. Yuji nodded, feeling uneasy. She was supposed to ask the miss to improve their relationship, but she didn't even get to see his face. She reported that Lian Shiye had been locked up. Sayu sighed. It must be terrifying for her. As her older sister, I should comfort her. Bai Yi, it seems your retribution is me. Sayu deliberately took Elji to watch Wang Mian's experiment. Elji thought, with Xiao He gone and only Lian Shiye remaining, the miss can control her completely. Inside Lian Shiye's locked courtyard, sobs could be heard. She huddled in fear. Why did that person say I don't have many days left? Who wants me dead? It must be Lian Sayu. That vicious woman harmed my mother and now wants me dead too. I must strike first. At that moment, the door was kicked open. A sarcastic voice echoed, is third sister missing me? Everyone else would be scared to death seeing me. Lian Shiye glared at Sayu, her eyes burning with hatred. Sayu remained calm, teasing her, you look so enthusiastic, it seems you miss me dearly. Lian Shiye lunged forward, Lian Sayu. I really miss you. I miss you dying immediately, but Sayu wasn't intimidated. Don't speak nonsense. If anyone's going to die, it will be you. After all, your days are numbered. These words echoed the countless threats from the imperial assassins. But Sayu acted confused, what are you talking about? I don't understand. This enraged Lian Shiye further. She frantically attacked with scissors, stop pretending. I'll kill you now. Elji swiftly kicked Lian Shiye away. She fell hard, unable to stand. Sayu's cold voice echoed, you've attacked me repeatedly, and each time you've escaped unscathed. Why haven't you learned your lesson? Lian Shiye struggled to get up, her head clearing. Mother was right to warn me about her. There's no point in being impulsive. If I continue, I'll definitely die at Lian Saiyu's hands. But Saiyu seemed to see through her thoughts, smiling slyly. Why aren't you talking back? Are you planning something? Do you still want to harm me? Lian Shiwei gritted her teeth, shouting, I am the daughter of the protecting general. You can't kill me. One day, you'll pay for this. Although she yelled defiantly, she was frantically calculating in her mind. Lian Saiyu was too cautious. She needed to find a way to lower her guard. Saiyu watched her with amusement. Your mother said the same thing, and she ended up imprisoned. Whether you live to see that day remains to be seen. She then grabbed Lian Xiao's hair, her expression darkening. I hope you live a long life, so I can slowly torment you, and let you experience what it truly means to live a life worse than death. Lian Shiwei trembled, screaming and running towards the door. Lian Saiyu is a devil. I've seen your true face. She thought, only if I appear weak and impulsive will Lian Saiyu relax her guard. Then I'll have a chance to turn the tables. Yuji wanted to chase after her, but Saiyu stopped her. Let her struggle. When every counterattack fails, Lian Shiwei will realize she can't escape my grasp. This woman is pretending to be weak, but it's a clever act. The biggest drama queen has finally made her grand entrance. Lian Shiwei ran out of the courtyard, tears streaming down her face. She sobbed as she ran, Mother, my life has been so miserable since you left. Lian Saiyu is forcing me out. Such a dramatic display naturally attracted a crowd. The guards looked at Lian Shiwei in shock. Third miss, your hair, is it cut? Did the first miss bully you? Cheng Xiang rushed from his study. Lian Shiwei burst into tears upon seeing him. Cheng Xiang's face darkened. What happened to your hair? Lian Shiwei sobbed dramatically. Father, Mother, please get justice for me. Cheng Xiang helped his daughter up, urging her to speak clearly. Lian Shiwei clung to her father's hand, feigning distress. I know I've made mistakes in the past, and I sincerely wanted to change. But elder sister won't let me go. She barged into my courtyard and cut my hair to humiliate me. Cheng Xiang's face turned livid. He stroked Lian Xiao's unevenly cut hair. Your body and hair are gifts from your parents. How could you let someone cut your hair? It's disrespectful to your ancestors. Cheng Xiang gripped his daughter's hand again. Are you sure your sister cut your hair? Lian Shiwei nodded vigorously, clinging to her father's arm. At that moment, Saiyu emerged from the shadows. I'd like to hear how my dear sister has been wronged. Seeing Saiyu, Lian Shiwei hid behind her father. Cheng Xiang looked at his two daughters, bewildered. Who is telling the truth? Lian Shiwei pointed at Saiyu. She pinned me down and cut my hair. You saw her coming out of my courtyard, facing her father's questioning gaze. Saiyu explained sadly, I heard that mother had been banished and was worried about third sister being upset, so I went to comfort her. I didn't expect her to misunderstand me so badly. Lian Shiwei shrieked, pointing at Saiyu. Lian Saiyu, stop pretending. My mother was banished because of you. You're just putting on an act. How is cutting my hair comforting? Saiyu's expression changed. If I forced you to cut your hair, there should be some cut hair in your room. Why don't we let father check? This will ease third sister's mind as well. This made Lian Shiwei panic. She stammered, if there's no hair, does that prove anything? Maybe you already cleaned it up. Saiyu raised her eyebrow. How could I hide so much hair in such a short time? Unless third sister cooperated with me and shaved her head. Lian Shiwei was speechless. Saiyu urged their father to check. If there's no hair inside, then who knows where third sister cut her hair? Lian Shiwei was terrified. If Cheng Xiang investigated, her secret of sneaking out would be revealed. Before Cheng Xiang could send someone to check, she suddenly knelt down and banged her head on the ground. There's no hair inside. I cut my hair in the courtyard. This whole thing is a misunderstanding. Isn't this the best acting of? Nominate this sister for an Oscar. I'm the first to disagree. Lian Shiwei admitted to cutting her own hair. Not only the onlookers, but even Cheng Xiang was confused. What was going on? LG whispered to Saiyu, why didn't you insist on checking? Saiyu smiled coldly. The haircutting story was full of holes. Lian Shiwei just wanted to start a fight. LG, you're too kind. She's clearly manipulating everyone. Why bother with her? Saiyu simply said, you'll see. Cheng Xiang scolded his daughter. Do you know what you've done? You cut your own hair to frame your sister. Lian Shiwei knelt on the ground, weeping. Father, mother has been banished, and I'm all alone in the manor. Eldest sister keeps picking on me. I'm so sad. Cheng Xiang, a seasoned general, felt a pang of sympathy seeing her pitiful state. Lian Shiwei seized the opportunity, kowtowing repeatedly. Cutting my hair was wrong. I shouldn't have blamed eldest sister. I'll confine myself to my room and never see anyone again. Cheng Xiang finally relaxed. Even if you're wrong, you don't need to punish yourself so severely. But Lian Shiwei continued her act, weeping. Father, I must reflect on my sins. Please grant my request. Seeing her sincere remorse, the surrounding servants began to pity her. Cheng Xiang didn't know what to do and turned to Sayu. Sayu said magnanimously, since third sister has repented, I will forgive her. If she wants to stay in her room, she can. If she wants to come out, no one will stop her. Cheng Xiang was relieved. We're family. There's no need to dwell on this. He told Lian Shiwei to apologize to Sayu. The matter was considered settled. Lian Shiwei even insisted that her father send someone to supervise her self-reflection. Cheng Xiang could only agree and assigned someone to watch her. Lian Shiwei returned to her room, weeping. Cheng Xiang sighed to Sayu. Shiwei has finally grown up. Sayu smiled faintly. Her change is truly reassuring. She saw her father off. LG finally asked, why didn't you expose her when she admitted to cutting her own hair? Sayu chuckled. She cried so convincingly. Didn't you see father soften? He just couldn't lose face by forgiving her outright. Why should I bother? If I had pressed the issue, it would have seemed like I was bullying her. LG was surprised. Did Lian Shiwei anticipate this? Was this all an act? Sayu glanced towards Lian Shiya's courtyard. As long as Lian Shiwei puts her mind to it, manipulating people is easy for her. They reached the courtyard gate. Cheng Xiang had indeed assigned guards to Lian Shiya's courtyard. Sayu sneered. She's pretending to be remorseful, but she's probably just using the guards for protection and waiting for a chance to poison me. LG wanted to enter the courtyard and check on the guards, but Sayu stopped her. Only when Lian Shiwei becomes as vicious and manipulative as she was in my past life can I truly break her spirit, bit by bit. Lo, come and see the ancient drama queen. Who doesn't love a backstabbing sibling? After the morning court session in the imperial palace, the princes emerged from the main hall. The sixth prince, Feng Yu, complained loudly, standing for hours is exhausting. I shouldn't have to attend court. Hunting is more my style. The eighth prince, Feng Yi, teased him, if father heard you, he'd beat you. Feng Yu nodded in agreement. I was just joking. Don't tell father. Feng Yi and Feng Yanzeng exchanged glances. Feng Yanzeng remained expressionless, and didn't join their conversation. But Feng Yu stopped him. Why are you leaving so quickly? Feng Yanzeng turned slightly. Is there something you need? Feng Yu, undeterred by his cold demeanor, said cheerfully, I'm hosting a hunting competition. You all have to come. Don't embarrass me. Feng Qian, you spoke first. This sounds great. It's been a while since we've hunted together. Ninth brother, you're not scared, are you? Feng Yi retorted, of course not. Let's see who wins this time. Feng Qian, you looked pointedly at Feng Yanzeng. Ninth brother, you wouldn't want to miss this, would you? Feng Yanzeng glanced at him, his eyes cold. But the sixth prince suddenly interjected, you can bring a guest. Is there anyone you'd like to bring? Hearing this, Feng Yanzeng paused. He turned and left without a word. Feng Yu watched him go, muttering, I wonder if he'll come. Feng Qian, you stared in Feng Yanzeng's direction. He will come. Such a public event attracts a lot of attention. If he doesn't come, it will damage his reputation. At Cheng Xiang Manor, Sayu was unaware of the trap being set. She strolled in the garden with LG. Lian Shiwei has been quiet lately. The atmosphere in the manor is much more peaceful. Is she wearing a mask? A sudden noise interrupted their conversation. A figure jumped down from the roof, calling Sayu's name affectionately. It was Feng Yanzeng, sneaking in again. The guards were knocked unconscious. Sayu glared at him playfully. Feng Yanzeng looked embarrassed. He was afraid someone would see and cause trouble for Sayu. Sayu couldn't help but tease him. If you're so worried about being seen, you shouldn't have come. Do you really think my manor is your backyard? Feng Yanzeng shamelessly replied. I haven't seen you for days, and I missed you so much. I couldn't help but come see you. Sayu chuckled at his sweet words. Then you should thank the jade pendant for making you miss me so much. Feng Yanzeng grabbed her hand. That jade pendant has no other meaning. Sayu, you're so beautiful and kind. Why would I give it to anyone else? Besides, we're in the garden. This is inappropriate. Feng Yanzeng guiltily released her hand. Sayu thought to herself, he should be more careful in the future. The word future made Sayu's mind go blank. Can't we have something new instead of the usual bickering? When Feng Yanzeng mentioned the hunting competition, Sayu feigned indifference. There are so many noble ladies to choose from. Why me? Feng Yanzeng's eyes softened. Sayu, are you jealous? Her thoughts exposed, Sayu stammered, trying to explain. Feng Yanzeng took the opportunity to hold her hands again. I only have eyes for you. Sayu shyly looked away, her heart pounding. Feng Yanzeng finally released her hands and got to the point. He wanted to invite her to the hunting competition. Although the sixth prince enjoyed such events, his enthusiasm seemed unusual. Feng Qianyu's behavior was also strange. He was overly eager to ensure everyone attended, almost as if he was goading them. Sayu felt uneasy. Feng Qianyu has caused us a lot of trouble. This hunting trip might be a trap. Feng Yanzeng decided to attend this potential trap. He didn't want Sayu to go because it was dangerous, but Sayu insisted. Of course I'm going. Do you plan to bring another woman? Feng Yanzeng held her hands tightly. He just didn't want Sayu to risk herself for him. Sayu gently pushed his hands away, turning towards the inner courtyard. Who said I'm worried about you? I just enjoy these events. She declared that if Feng Yanzeng didn't take her, she would never speak to him again. Looking at her retreating figure, Feng Yanzeng couldn't help but smile. She's so stubborn, yet so kind. He then called LG. Since Sayu insists on going, you must stay by her side at all times. If anything happens, come to me immediately. LG replied firmly, I will protect the miss with my life. Feng Yanzeng looked towards the garden, pondering. I wonder what tricks Feng Qianyu has up his sleeve. Perhaps he'll just send assassins. Sayu, walking towards the inner courtyard, had similar thoughts. If Feng Qianyu plans to ambush Feng Yanzeng, then the recently returned Xiao He is the perfect pawn. That day, Cheng Xiang visited the protecting general's manor. Xiao Zhenhai instructed his son to prepare to ambush Feng Yanzeng with the Blood Shadow army. But Xiao He hesitated. Father, ninth brother is a righteous man. Should we really do such a dishonorable thing? Xiao Zhenhai slammed his cup on the table in anger. Dishonorable? What do you mean by dishonorable? The Xiao family is in a precarious position. We've decided to support the fourth prince. This is our destiny. Do you want the Xiao family to perish? Xiao He knelt down and apologized. His father continued to persuade him. You have a marriage contract with the fourth prince. We're on the same boat. If the fourth prince fails, the Xiao family will be doomed. Xiao Zhenhai finally convinced his son. Although Xiao He agreed to the ambush, he wanted to face Feng Yanzeng in an honorable duel. Shi Cheng's holographic face turned green. Xiao He repeatedly emphasized that using the Blood Shadow army uniform was his last resort, and hoped his father wouldn't make any other independent decisions. Cheng helplessly let him go prepare. This son was probably driven silly by the war. Looking at Xiao He's back, the old father couldn't help but sigh. His stubbornness would definitely cause him trouble later. This was Xiao Shan's first time out in a long time. He was worried that something unexpected would happen during the hunting event. Xiao Zeng happened to think the same. To deal with Feng Mingzeng, the old tiger also secretly sent Xiao Shan to the event. He also asked him to bring two men to investigate. If Xiao He lost control there, then he would deal with Feng Yinzhong. Wow, how awesome is it to be a historical drama female lead? Not only can I experience the attention of various princes, but I can also change outfits at any time. A few days later, the weather was fine, and Zhongwei's princes gathered at the hunting grounds. Feng Jianyu couldn't help but speak. I've been injured by the 6th Earth Formation I. Jude is Dr. Isnt coming, is he? The 8th prince also chimed in. Fourth brother, why are you so concerned about Yanzeng? Are we not worthy of being your opponents? Feng Qianyu explained with a fake smile. I just think it's more interesting with more people. He had already decided in his heart that even Lao Ba dared to challenge him. After dealing with Feng Yanzeng, the next one he would deal with was him. The 6th prince came out to mediate. Yanzeng will come with Miss Lian. At this time, the sound of horse hooves was heard in the distance. Sitting in the carriage was Sayu. Ba Wangye, Feng Yi, watched them attentively. Sayu also began to observe the princes. There were only 4 princes here today. If Feng Qianyu made a move, they would have to distract the other 2. The carriage stopped. Sayu appeared in a red dress. Feng Yi enthusiastically went to greet her. He wanted to help Sayu out of the carriage, but Feng Yanzeng stopped him. Helping Sayu out of the carriage was something he should do. Seeing the two at a stalemate, Sayu suddenly said, "Thank you, but I'm fine. With Yanzeng helping me, I'm fine." Sayu's straightforward statement made Feng Yansheng a little anxious. Feng Yi, the older brother, was now more sour than a lemon. Sayu and Zhu Di were so affectionate, it was like directly cutting off his thoughts. The sixth prince looked at the two with some envy. I didn't expect ninth brother and Miss Sayu to be so close, even coming to the hunting event together. Feng Qianyu, on the other hand, had a sullen face. Sayu greeted them politely and said, "Let's discuss this." Feng Qianyu pretended to ask knowingly, "I wonder who Miss Sayu will be hunting with this time." Sayu's eyes were icy cold as she looked at Jianan. Naturally, in with Yanzeng. Jianan unexpectedly spoke, "My hunting skills are not bad. I can also take you with me." But Sayu rejected him on the spot. Feng Qianyu forced a smile. "Since Miss Sayu insists on being with Zhu Di, then let her be." Feng Yanzeng also came over. "Sayu, I'll protect you, so you don't have to worry." Feng Qianyu's face darkened as he said coldly, "Sixth brother, I think the hunting can begin." Feng Yu, however, couldn't see the tension between the three. He excitedly pointed to the woods and announced the rules. From now until evening, whoever hunts the most prey in the forest wins. Sayu was the first to mount her horse and rush into the woods. "Women will only affect the speed of my sword drawing. After all, Buddha said Jianan is not worthy of love." Feng Yi looked at Sayu's back, feeling a pang of jealousy in his heart. At this time, Feng Qianyu deliberately reminded him, "Sixth brother, eighth brother, the north side of the forest is a cliff. Be careful not to go there." Feng Yu foolishly agreed and then turned his horse south with Feng Yi. Seeing the two leave, Feng Qianyu stared at Sayu and Feng Yanzeng heading north, a sinister smile spreading across his face. He originally intended to give Sayu a chance to live, but she insisted on being with Feng Yanzeng. Such a person couldn't become an obstacle in his quest for the throne, not even the woman he liked. He turned to ask Shen Hua, "How are the preparations?" It turned out that to prevent the Blood Shadow army from failing, Feng Qianyu had sent his own assassin, Shen Hua. Even if Xiao He's Blood Shadow army failed, Feng Yanzeng wouldn't be able to escape this forest. In the depths of the forest, Sayu urged her horse forward while reminding Yanzeng, "This time, Feng Qianyu has a killing move. If Xiao He's Blood Shadow army attacks, we might not be able to defeat them." Feng Yanzeng, however, was not worried at all. After all, his opponent was not a coward. Xiao He always fought openly, and would definitely confront him directly. And now, he was not alone, but Sayu felt that the most dangerous person was Feng Qianyu. This insidious and cunning person definitely had other tricks up his sleeve. Feng Yanzeng chuckled, "Has arranged assassins for me. I'm delighted." Sayu's eyes widened in surprise. It turned out that Zhu Weng had predicted that Feng Qianyu would personally command the hunt. His assassins in the capital were all useless. Yi Feng had already secretly taken them out. Sayu couldn't help but pause for a moment. Sayu deliberately participated in Shifei just to lure out these assassins. Feng Qianyu will be furious when he finds out. Zhu Wang was well versed in the current political situation, as if he could see through everything. The surface seemed calm, but underneath, the currents were turbulent. Who would be the winner? No one knew until the very end. Although Sayu felt relieved, she still felt uneasy. In the northern part of the forest, Xiao He and the Blood Shadow soldiers were already in ambush. He saw Shen Hua approaching Xiao Shan, and was very dissatisfied, but he spoke seriously, "In case of any accident, I can rely on my brother." Xiao He could only warn him, "This time, no one except me can attack Feng Yanzeng." Xiao Shan agreed readily, "I know your temper best." Suddenly, two figures appeared in their field of vision. Feng Yanzeng and Sayu walked into the carefully laid ambush. Don't all handsome guys like to show off these days? If you can't beat the shadows yourself, you even drag others down with you. The northern part of the forest was unusually quiet. Feng Yanzeng and Sayu stopped. He clearly felt that there might be danger around. Sayu turned her horse around according to his judgment. The next second, the two separated. Seeing the prey escape the encirclement, Xiao He couldn't help but admire. The ninth prince is indeed courageous. But his brother, Xiao Shan, was too close to the Blood Shadow soldiers, and wanted to capture Sayu to threaten Feng Yanzeng. But Xiao He didn't want to use such underhanded tactics. Taking a woman hostage was despicable. The ninth prince was already beneath him. Without waiting for his brother to respond, Xiao He gave the order. The elite Blood Shadow soldiers drew their bows. Hundreds of arrows flew towards Feng Yanzeng. Hundreds of cold arrows were aimed at Feng Yanzeng. Hearing the sound of the bowstring, Yu understood instantly. But Feng Yanzeng, who was in another direction, saw the arrows flying behind him. He quickly drew his sword. His swordsmanship was elegant and full of power. In an instant, the sound of wind filled the air. When he landed, the arrows had all been broken in two. Feng Yanzeng shouted towards the forest, "Mere arrows can't hurt me. The people inside might as well come out." A rustling sound came from the forest, and Xiaohe, leading the blood shadow soldiers, stood in front of him. Feng Yanzeng cupped his hands towards the young general. "I've always heard of General Xiao's prowess. Seeing it today is truly an eye-opener." But Xiaohe only had his father's mission in mind. He immediately returned Feng Yanzeng's polite greeting. "Your Highness, I don't understand what you're saying." The blood shadow soldiers charged forward with their swords. Feng Yanzeng spat out a few words. "Dark cloud guards, attack." From the seemingly empty forest behind him, a large number of dark cloud guards suddenly emerged. The two sides clashed fiercely. Xiaohe was shocked. He had known about Feng Yanzeng's hidden strength for a long time. Feng Yanzeng raised his sword and pointed at Xiaohe. "You've been hiding your identity too. Come and fight me face to face." Xiaohe instinctively drew his sword. Although he said, "You've mistaken me for someone else," his body had already instinctively rushed forward. His sword light flashed past Feng Mingzeng's face. Feng Yanzeng retaliated without hesitation. The two masters exchanged several blows in a flash. Yu watched anxiously from the side, comforting herself that Feng Yanzhong would be fine. LVG felt that the situation was too dangerous, and wanted to take Yu away. Yu also understood that staying there would only become a burden to Yanzeng, so she quickly left with LVG. Xiaoshan, hiding in the trees, saw that Xiaohe's attack had failed, and still wanted to capture Yu to threaten Yanzeng. As Yu followed behind LVG, the unease in her heart grew stronger. She suddenly stopped. LVG almost turned around to ask, "Miss, why aren't you leaving?" Seriously, the disguise techniques in ancient times are too poor. The mask is practically a magnifying glass. Yu stood still and looked around. The Xiao family didn't just have Xiaohe as a son. Xiaoshan might also be involved in this mission. Yu wanted to turn back to find Feng Yanzhong, but she knew the situation was too urgent. Although LVG was protecting her, it would be difficult to escape if they encountered Xiaoshan's assassins. Suddenly, a sinister laugh came from behind them. "Is it too late to go back now?" Then a group of assassins rushed towards them. Seeing the mask on the assassin's face, LVG immediately understood. Yu gritted her teeth. "We've fallen into his trap. He really does have a backup plan." LVG fought back desperately while telling Yu to go find Yanzeng quickly. But before Yu could leave, Xiaoshan suddenly appeared behind her. Xiaoshan grabbed Yu's neck with his blade. "Aren't you worried about Feng Yanzhong? I can take you to him." LVG wanted to rush over, but Xiaoshan dragged Yu back and warned, "Don't move." Seeing that Yu's acupoints had been sealed, LVG could only fight these assassins to protect her. Yu angrily shouted at the approaching Xiaoshan, "Aren't you afraid that your brother will hate you for doing this?" The man behind her wanted to cover her mouth, but Yu mocked him. "We're all smart people. There's no need to act like rats. Even if you capture me, you can't kill Feng Yanzeng." Xiaoshan pushed Yu forward impatiently. "Lian Yu, you don't need to provoke me. Whether I can kill the 9th prince or not, we'll see." Yu had no choice but to follow Xiaoshan and his group. While they weren't paying attention, she secretly pressed her acupoints. Xiaoshan knew she didn't know martial arts and didn't pay much attention to her. In another part of the forest, Feng Yanzeng and Xiaohe were fighting fiercely. The area was filled with the fighting of the blood shadow soldiers and the dark cloud guards. Suddenly, Feng Yanzeng kicked Xiaohe's sword away. He gasped in shock. He lost his balance and fell to the ground. Feng Yanzeng pointed his sword at him. "You've lost." Xiaohe coughed up blood. He admitted defeat generously. "Your Highness' martial arts are superior to mine. I'm at your mercy. Kill me." Xiaohe's eyes were filled with sadness. He had been a hero since his youth and had never experienced defeat. It wasn't a loss to die at the hands of a stronger opponent. The remaining blood shadow soldiers wanted to rush over to rescue their leader, but were held back by the dark cloud guards. Although Feng Yanzeng admired Xiaohe, letting him go would be like letting a tiger return to the mountain. He raised his sword over his head, preparing to finish Xiaohe off. Suddenly, someone shouted from behind, "Stop." Both turned towards the voice. They saw Xiaoshan holding Yu hostage. Feng Yanzeng's eyes instantly filled with fury. Seriously, this might be the most tragic villain, blinded and forced to witness a public display of affection. Yu was being held hostage to threaten Feng Yanzeng. He immediately revealed Xiaoshan's identity. Xiaoshan quickly shut her up. He even cut Yu's neck with his sword. Feng Yanzeng immediately shouted anxiously, "Bastard! I warn you, don't mess around." Xiao Shan arrogantly stated his condition, "As long as you kill yourself in front of me, this woman can live." Feng Yanzeng didn't dare to act rashly, his mind racing. At this time, Xiao Shan mocked him sarcastically. Could it be that His Highness is hesitating? "I heard you promised Lian Xiaoyu your undying love. I didn't expect you to lie to the girl in the end." Feng Yanzeng frowned and drew his sword. "If I kill myself, will you let Xiaoyu go?" Xiaoyu, disregarding her own safety, desperately tried to stop Feng Yanzeng. "Don't listen to Xiao Shan. Even if you die, he won't let me go." Feng Yanzeng certainly knew that Xiao Shan wouldn't keep his promise, but for Xiaoyu, he had to do this. Xiaoyu suddenly cursed angrily. "The only decent person in the Xiao family is Xiao He. The rest are despicable cowards. Using a woman as a hostage, I'm truly ashamed for you." She did this not impulsively, but to sow discord between the brothers. Xiao Shan was enraged by her insults and wanted to kill her on the spot. Xiao He actually told his brother to let Xiaoyu go. Xiao Shan, caught between two sides, roared, "She almost killed you, and you're asking me to let her go. Whose side are you on?" But Xiao He was resolute. He would rather die gloriously than threaten someone with an innocent woman's life. Seeing that he was unmoved, Xiao Shan threw up his hands angrily. How could the Xiao family raise such a stubborn fool? Xiaoyu noticed that his grip had loosened. She seized the opportunity and stabbed him with her hairpin. The cold blade pierced Xiao Shan's eye. A scream echoed through the forest. Feng Yanzeng and Xiao He were stunned. Xiao Shan clutched his bloody face and screamed, "My eye! My eye!" Xiaoyu took the opportunity to run back to Feng Yanzeng's side. Xiao Shan, enduring the immense pain, shot an arrow at Xiaoyu. "You dare sneak attack me? You're all going to die." But Xiaoyu was unaware of the danger behind her. At the critical moment, Feng Yanzeng stepped forward and shielded Xiaoyu in his arms. The arrow instantly pierced his chest. He was only concerned about the girl's safety. Xiaoyu almost cried, "You idiot! Why did you block the arrow for me?" Feng Yanzeng gently stroked Xiaoyu's face. "As long as you're safe." Xiao Shan, blinded and forced to witness this display of affection, furiously yelled at Xiao He, "What are you waiting for? Feng Yanzeng is injured. Kill him quickly." But Xiao He couldn't bring himself to attack the two. Feng Yanzeng whispered to Xiaoyu, "I might not be able to defeat Xiao He now. Let's leave while he's distracted." With that, he took Xiaoyu and flew onto his horse, disappearing into the forest. Xiao Shan pointed at his subordinates angrily. "Do you want to disgrace the Xiao family? Hurry up and chase them." Hearing this, Xiao He immediately led his men in pursuit. Xiaoyu and Feng Yanzeng fled all the way, only to find a cliff at the edge of the forest. Don't all historical dramas love cliff jumping scenes these days? The male and female leads even exchanged a few words after jumping. Who knew this cliff was so high? Feng Yanzeng forcefully pulled on the reins. The horse neighed and the two stopped at the edge of the cliff. But Feng Yanzeng swayed. Xiaoyu quickly helped him down. Feng Yanzeng leaned against her, sweating profusely. "Xiaoyu, the arrow was poisoned." Xiaoyu tore open his clothes to examine the wound. The blood flowing out was black. The poison needed to be treated immediately. The sound of horse hooves came from behind them. Xiao He led his men to catch up with them. Feng Yanzeng, after saying he would meet Xiaoyu again in 4 months, looked at the injured Jiula. "Even though he's injured, Xiao He won't be able to keep me here." He turned to comfort Xiaoyu. "It's okay. We're even now." Xu Yao approached with his sword drawn. "Normally, I wouldn't have much of a problem. But now, you're severely injured and have to protect your beloved. I'm afraid it will be difficult to escape unscathed." Xiao He, unable to bear the innocence in Xiaoyu's eyes, turned and ruthlessly cut a path for the two of them. Hundreds of elite soldiers charged towards the two. Feng Yanzeng instantly felt a surge of pain. Shuzan's army is indeed worthy of its reputation. In the blink of an eye, blood splattered everywhere. The soldiers at the front were already scattered. Feng Yanzeng, covered in blood, protected Xiaoyu, but in the next second, he couldn't hold on any longer, kneeling on the ground and coughing up blood. Xiaoyu looked at him helplessly. "You're already injured, yet you still used your internal energy." Feng Yanzeng smiled weakly at Xiaoyu. Then he stared at Xiao He coldly. "If you want to kill me, you have to do it yourself." Xiao He's fighting ability was formidable. If they weren't on opposing sides, Hatutu would have admired him. At this time, Xiao Shan arrived on horseback. He told his brother to stop wasting time and act quickly. Feng Yanzeng was riddled with wounds, his life hanging by a thread. "That villain didn't even bother to kill me himself." Addressing Xiao Shan, Lan Lafu said, "I'm here for revenge. How dare the ninth prince still act so arrogantly in these times? You're at your wit's end, but Feng Yanzeng calmly replied, don't worry. The path we take will definitely be a dead end. Feng Yanzeng once again carried Sayu on his back. He whispered in her ear, do you trust me? Sayu instantly understood what he meant and nodded firmly. In the next second, the two jumped off the cliff. Feng Yanzeng held Sayu tightly as they plummeted towards the bottom. Feng Yanzeng held Sayu's head tightly. Are you afraid? Sayu leaned against his chest. In my past life, you died for me. In this life, being able to die with you, I'm willing. No one expected things to turn out this way. Everyone stared blankly at the cliff, unable to believe that the two had actually jumped. But Xiao Shan felt a pang of pain in his heart. He hoped they would enjoy the feeling of being shattered to pieces, as revenge for his blindness. Xiao He rode away on his horse. He looked at Xiao Shan with disdain. You blinded yourself. I don't even want to be your brother. Berated by his younger brother, Xiao Shan's face turned livid. If it weren't for him, the assassination mission would have failed long ago.